small and deliberately reveals the flat belly. The slender thighs attracted the attention of the three men in the room. There was a hint of anger on the equally delicate face. Under the confused gaze of the three men in the room, the figure in white who bore the brunt of the attack spoke coldly. "Give my man back to me, or I won't mind killing him." Chapter 117, A Daring Try. Liu King, Biaizumo? Why are you here? When Zhu Hua saw the two women clearly, he was stunned and exclaimed. That's right, wasn't the one who violently kicked open the door of the box and then spoke nonsense at this moment. The Ice Lotus Empress Liu King. The next moment, Liu King moved lightly to block in front of Zhu Hua. Stand behind me, don't be afraid. If anyone plans to harm you, I will take action. What? Who will harm me? Zhu Hui was stunned. I always feel like this is a sign of something going wrong. The next moment, before Zhu Hui could think about it, NBA Zumo on the other side said calmly. Boss Shen, didn't you say Zhu Hua was your brother? What does it mean to suddenly kidnap him by tricking him? You kidnapped someone by tricking him? Faced with the questioning, Shen Sanjin's mouth twitched. When did I kidnap Zhu Hui? It was obviously just a joke. And he was just going out with his arm around Mr. Zhu, who was reluctant to go downstairs. In B.E. Zumo's mouth? It feels like a kidnapper? Wait a minute, did the two beauties misunderstand something? Chen Shenjin looked a little confused. Huananhai quickly stepped forward and said. We invited Zhu Hua here today just to have a meal and chat it. It's not what you think. Besides, if it was kidnapping, who would tie someone up in the private room of Jiang Bian Pavilion for no reason? In Miss Bi's eyes, are the security measures of our Huananhai territory so poor? South China Sea. Ba Zumo and Liu King's attention was all on Zhu Hua. It was not until Huananhai introduced himself that Ba Zumo noticed the simple richest man in Zhongcheng. The next moment, Ba Zumo was shocked. Mr. Hua, why are you here too? Did Shen allude with you to kidnap Zhu Hua? What's the purpose? Is it just to vent the anger of Mr. Shenyu, or is Mr. Shen trying to avenge his youngest son, Shen Yangon? Although Ba Zumo and Liu King are not on good terms with each other, but in the past 10 days or so, Liu King liked to go to Shengxi Entertainment whenever she had nothing to do. Not to see this love rival, but to see her old friend Lin Kingle and Ji. During this period, Liu King also caused Ba Zumo a lot of trouble. However, after these two encounters, although the relationship between Ba Zumo and Liu King could not be described as passionate, there was a hint of familiarity between them. After all, we deal with each other every few days. So when Ba Zumo occasionally interrupted her, Liu King simply told her everything she knew about what happened at the Shen's pharmaceutical factory. To avenge Shen Liang Palace, to vent Shen Yu's anger? Shen Shanjin finally understood it. Wait. You two should listen to Zhu Hua himself. Tell me, did they kidnap you? Are they taking out their anger on Shen Yu and Shen Liang Gong? Liu King glanced at Zhu Hua. Hearing this, Zhu Hua's mouth twitched wildly, and he smiled bitterly and waved his hands. Without. Really? This is really a misunderstanding. Mr. Shen did invite me to have a meal and introduce me to Mr. Hua. And why did Hu Zaiji tell me that Shen Sinjin took you away, and why did you keep resisting? Liu King raised her eyebrows suspiciously. Zhu Hua suddenly realized that it was no wonder that the two women appeared here. I'm afraid it was Hu Zaiji in the monitoring room who subconsciously believed that Shen Sinjin was going to do something bad to him. Thinking of this, Zhu Hua scratched the back of his head and said awkwardly. That's because I was playing snake and didn't really want to go out. That bastard Hu Zaiji, is he deliberately taking revenge on me and torturing you just because I found an excuse to deduct 100 yuan from him? Zhu Hua cursed angrily. The corners of Shen Sinjin's mouth twitched wildly again. Snake? So it seems like you, as a boss, really have nothing to do every day? At this moment, Bi Zumodi, who was standing aside, could no longer hold back his excitement. A woman had already understood what was going on first. It seems that Zhu Hua is indeed not in any danger. Just because the richest man Huananhai is in the room. I think if Shen Sinjin really wanted to take revenge on Zhu Hua, he would not bring him to Jiang Bian Pavilion. Otherwise, if something happens to someone in the South China Sea, Mr. Hua will be the first one to be unable to escape. If it's just a misunderstanding, forget it. The next moment, Liu King curled her lips. Anyone with a discerning eye seemed to be able to sense the disappointment in the woman's tone. If Zhu Hua didn't understand Liu King's temper, he would have known that the Ice Lotus Empress, who had been itching to take action for half a month, was just upset that she didn't have the chance to take action. Not that she had a grudge against him. Zhu Hua had to suspect that Liu King had been displeased with him for a long time and was hoping that a human trafficker would drop from the sky and take him away. Bang! The next moment, Liu King threw away the brick hidden behind her back. Now the atmosphere in the room became weird. Even with Huananhai's personality, he couldn't help but look at Liu King twice more. It's not like he hasn't seen beautiful women before. Even Liu Zuking's appearance surprised the richest man in Zhongcheng. He was shocked by Liu Zuking's action of hiding a brick behind her back. Huan Anhai murmured to himself, if Brother Zhu Hua was really in danger, I'm afraid we would both be in big trouble today. On the other hand, in order to cover up the awkward atmosphere, Bai Zumo took the initiative to find a topic. Speaking of which, why did Elder Hua invite Zhu Hua to come over for a chat? Elder Hua must have a lot of things to do recently, such as the upcoming Zhongcheng Business Alliance conference and dealing with the menacing Leng family. Hit the nail on the head. It really hits the soft spot of the South China Sea. Hearing this, Huan Anhai coughed. In fact, I invited young friend Zhu Hua to come here for the Business Alliance meeting. Although we don't interact much, your father and I are old friends. I think you are also aware of the nature of my work, which is very busy. The Merchant Alliance is really too busy. Hearing this, Bai Zumo keenly sensed a sense of foreboding. So I asked Shenshin to help me find a suitable rising star in Zhongcheng to take over my position as the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Shenshin Jin happened to recommend Zhu Hua to me, so I made time to come and meet him today. What the hell? Bai Zumo was shocked. Introducing Zhu Hua? It is understandable that Huan Anhai, the richest man in Zhongcheng, stepped down due to work reasons. But is he going to give up the position of chairman of Zhongcheng Business Alliance to Zhu Hua? The next moment, Bai Zumo was surprised. You want Zhu Hua to be the president of the Chamber of Commerce? Chen Qianjin nodded. Niece Ba, you should also know that this is nothing more than a sinecure. Old man Hua is indeed too busy to handle it. In addition, more and more new blood has entered the Merchant Alliance in recent years, and the trend of younger people is inevitable. The president chooses a young person to be the guild leader, which will naturally lead to better communication between the upper and lower levels. While Shen Sinjin and Huan Anhai were coaxing and deceiving Ba Zuo into trusting them. On the other side, Zhu Hua quietly hooked his finger at Liu Zuking and silently uttered 2 words. Thanks. Although today was an own goal. However, this is enough to illustrate his position in Liu Zuking's heart. Under normal circumstances, even if there was an emergency, Liu Zuking probably would not lose her mind, and at least would find the person involved to verify it. But I haven't received a single call till now. As soon as she heard Hu Zaiji's report, Liu Zuking rushed to Zhangbian Pavilion in a hurry. This alone is enough to feel a woman's deep care. Why thank me? If you want to thank someone, thank your lover, Mr. Ba. As soon as I heard that you might be in danger, I hurriedly dragged me downstairs if it weren't for me being too lazy to argue with mortals. And Lin Kingle and Ji's current earthly training has not yet ended. She has to rely on Ba Zumo's care. Just because she pulled me, I will make her pay the price. Liu Zuking didn't respond and changed the subject. Then he glanced at Shen Sinjin and the other man. I don't think that fat guy is a good person. You better try not to have too much contact with him. And I have a feeling that she has no good intentions. Hearing this, Zhu Hua smiled and nodded slightly. Indeed. Although he didn't understand why Shen Sinjin chose him, when he heard about the Chamber of Commerce president, the first thought that flashed through his mind was uneasiness. But I couldn't tell what was wrong for a while. But maybe I have to promise him. Why? For you. For me? To be precise, it's for us. We? Then I will support you unconditionally. On the other side, Shen Sanjin had already explained it to Bai Zumo. Of course he would not fully explain his plan. He just mentioned it in passing, claiming that Zhu had many connections with powerful people from all over the world and was very suitable for this position. Chen Qianjin chuckled. Brother Zhu, what do you think? Bai Zumo frowned slightly and pushed up her black-framed sunglasses. Don't agree to him. I always feel like something is wrong, Mr. Chen, let me go back and contact a few people, and then let Zhu Hua give you a reply. Boss Shen, Mr. Hua, since there is nothing else, I will take my people away first. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhu Hua interrupted him with a wave of his hand. Boss Ba, thank you for your hard work today, but you don't need to think about it. I agree. Since the 2 seniors think so highly of it, I will give it a try. Take a seat as the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce. Hearing this, a smug smile flashed across Shen Sinjin's face. Chapter 118. Zhu Qian. A genius? The silver Porsche Panamera shuttled through the roads of Zhongcheng. The atmosphere in the car was somewhat depressing all the way. Are you crazy? You know what it means to be the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce? Hey, I've been telling you all the way, at least give me some reaction. Liu Zuking, your man is about to jump into the fire pit, so why don't you do anything? Since Zhu Hua agreed to take this position, Shen Sanjin and Huan Anhai naturally strongly supported it. The 2 of them spared no effort to say that this matter would soon spread throughout the circle of Zhongcheng entrepreneurs. By then, the threshold of Zhu Hua's house would probably be trampled down. After all, there is absolutely no one before or after a Chamber of Commerce president who is in his early 20s. But Bai Zumo still felt something was wrong. Although this position is not considered to be very popular, it has caused countless people to fight over it and get bloodied. Everyone knows that sitting in this position can give one a panoramic view and overlook the Zhongqing business district. Resources and connections are at your fingertips. Even if Huan Anhai really wants to give up his position, he will never give up this position to an outsider like you just because of Fatty Shen's recommendation. Besides, how long have you been in the industry? You are a stranger to all the wealthy people in Zhongcheng. There are many young people who are more famous than you. Bi Zhu Mo was not jealous, she just couldn't figure out the reason. When something is abnormal, there must be something wrong. She was worried that Su Hu would be used as a tool again. I know that the two of them are probably trying to trick me, to put it bluntly. They probably want to use me for some reason, but the benefits are too great and I couldn't resist. Bi Zhu Mo was shocked when she heard this. Benefit? What's the benefit? Did they give you money? No, that's not right. You're not a money-loving person. Are you doing this just for the benefit of gaining connections? The next moment, Zhu Hua did not answer. Bi Zhu Mo said with some regret. Do you think a president who is not recognized and sits in this position can really convince people? Huan and I can easily coordinate the overall situation and let others share resources with him. But you are an unknown newbie, and there is a huge gap between you and Huan Anhai. You can't intimidate those old foxes with just the research and development department of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory. There must be a conspiracy behind this. At this moment, Liu Zuqing suddenly spoke inferently. With me here, no one can hurt Zhu Hua. Besides, he said he did it for me. You still don't forget to give me some dog food at a time like this. You are really something. Bi Zhu Mo rolled her eyes. However, I also know that Liu Zuqing's confidence comes from her strength. Previously, when Lin Qingdelinji was filming a martial arts scene, she accidentally injured her arm. Liu Zuqing immediately flew into a rage and rushed up to beat up the martial arts instructor. The Ice Lotus Empress, with her bare hands, managed to beat several national-level martial arts instructors without giving them a chance to fight back. The conspiracy I'm talking about is not at this level, Liu Zuqing. Even if you are a good fighter, can you beat an eye for a gun? Zhu Hui, listen to my advice and return the identity card of the president of the Chamber of Commerce. As she spoke, Bi Zhu Mo glanced at the colorful little card in Zhu Hui's hand through the rearview mirror. Inscribed on it were for large characters, Zhongqing Merchant Alliance. Written in a flamboyant style. All members of the trade union have this card. However, the number on the Chamber of Commerce president's certificate is 1. Bi Zhu Mo wanted to say a few more words of comfort, but unexpectedly Zhu Hui suddenly received a phone call. What? Zhongcheng High-Speed Railway Station? Oh, I'm not busy. I was wondering why you haven't come yet since school is about to start. Hang up the phone. Zhu Hui raised his eyelids and asked Bi Zhu Mo. Boss Ba, if you are not busy this afternoon, let's go to Zhongcheng High-Speed Railway Station to pick someone up. I will give you a chance to redeem yourself. What? Although Zhu Hui and Bi Zhu Mo don't communicate much, they are still friends. Zhu Qian's clumsy operations, including the trick she used on last Chinese Valentine's Day that tricked both sides, Zhu Hui had already seen through it. I haven't dealt with her before because I haven't had the time recently. Unexpectedly, when I was with Ba Zhu Mo today, Zhu Qian called me and told me that the girl had come to Zhongcheng. A playful smile flashed across Zhu Hui's lips. Little Dai, where can you hide today? On the other side, in an office of the Shen family's Zhongcheng assembly line, Master Shen was throwing things in anger. Didn't you say that in 2 or 3 days, the Shen family pharmaceutical factories or D department would impeach Zhu Hui because he cancelled the cooperation with us? It's been 2 fucking weeks and Zhu Hui is still fine. Don't worry. Second Master, I have figured out what the situation is. You can't blame me if you want to blame someone. You can only blame your ex-sister-in-law. Wang Yang coughed. During this period, he had also been paying attention to the affairs of the RD department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory. He found that he had underestimated his cousin Zhu Hui. Wang, my ex-sister-in-law, Han Ziye? Yes. The RD department has indeed shown signs of transformation. I heard that they have reached $1 billion skincare cooperation with Mr. Han's company. It is precisely because of this huge business order that the top management let Zhu Hui go. As soon as these words came out, the veins on Master Shen's forehead jumped. Why would this woman Han Ziyi get involved in our Shen family's business? What's more, for $1 billion collaboration, how can such a small RD department be justified? Is Zhu Hui qualified? Is he qualified? Mr. Shen only heard the news today. Ever since Mr. Shen took over the responsibility and held a regular meeting for the RD department. Although Zhu Hui was not afraid of him jumping out to throw dirty water, if Mr. Shen came into the company every day to spread rumors, it would still cause panic among the people. So Zhu Hui simply had someone upgrade the company's security system and issued a clear ban on bringing family members or friends into the company on days when the company is not open to the public. Therefore, Mr. Shen was completely in the dark about the news about the R&D department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory. Does Han Zhi think so highly of Zhu Hua? The next moment, Mr. Shen thought of this problem. Second master, don't forget how this kid Zhu Hui got in touch with your eldest brother Mr. Shen. Chen Chenjin. As soon as these words came out, Master Shen's expression became stern. Because he helped Shen Wenwen restore her appearance. Could it be that this kid really has some special medicine for facial care? Wang Yang analyzed and spoke seriously like a military strategist. I suspected this before, but now it seems that this is probably why President Han chose to cooperate with Zhu Hua. That's why when he was talking to you, he also threatened to enter the skincare industry. Hearing this, Mr. Shen frowned even deeper. But I have investigated Zhu Hua's family background. No one in his family has been practicing medicine for nearly 3 generations apart from his father's somewhat strange resume. Or he was in his 30s and was preparing for a civil service exam. Everything else about him can only be described as ordinary. If this kind of person had a secret recipe, shouldn't he have used it long ago? Master Shen frowned. If he can get Han Zhichai's approval with just a formula, he won't even need the Shen family pharmaceutical factories or D department as a springboard. If you have a secret recipe that works wonders, you can go get investment and start your own business. Hearing this, Wang Yang licked his lips. So this formula must not have been given by his parents, but was acquired recently. It has to be said that Wang Yang's analysis so far is well organized and basically consisted with the facts. You acquired it recently. Mr. Shen was stunned. The next moment, Wang Yang sneered. In fact, you have overlooked one person. It's not that Zhu Hua's family has no doctors in the past 3 generations. She has a cousin on his mother's side who is studying in medical school. I'm studying nursing, but I haven't graduated yet, so you ignored this when you investigated. What? Are you fucking kidding me? A student who has not yet graduated from the nursing major. Is it possible that you can develop some amazing skincare products on your own? You don't mean to say that the formula was provided by his cousin? Wang Yang nodded and said seriously. In fact, when I first analyzed this possibility, I was also very surprised, but then I investigated it carefully and found that there is only this possibility at present. If Zhu Hua were present at this moment, hearing Wang Yang's serious nonsense, I'm afraid you would laugh out loud. It's their loss if Detective Conan doesn't invite you to make a live-action version. The next moment, Wang Yang said seriously. Do you know why Zhu Hua went to the hot spring resort that day? It was because his cousin bought him a ticket to the resort. Zhu Hua went to the resort on Chinese Valentine's Day, ran into Mr. Shen, and then treated Shen Wenwen's disfigurement, and made friends with Mr. Shen, who was grateful to him. Wang Yang finished speaking these words in one breath, gritting his teeth with great certainty. I checked it specifically, it can't be wrong. Zhu Qian was the one behind all this. The tickets were bought for Zhu Hua by that girl Zhu Qian. Maybe it wasn't a coincidence that Zhu Hua ran into Mr. Shen that day. When these words came out, Mr. Shen was shocked. I didn't expect the process to be so tortuous. However, after listening to Wang Yang's description, he began to doubt whether Zhu Hua's encounter with his elder brother was a coincidence. Thinking about it this way, it's true, why would a stay-at-home guy who never leaves his house go out on the Chinese Valentine's Day and even go to a hot spring? Yes, if Zhu Hua hadn't shown up at the resort that day, none of the things that happened later would have happened. It turns out that all of this was because of his cousin. Master Shen slapped his thigh. He secretly sighed that he was so slow to realize it. And he had chosen the right military advisor, Wang Yang. The most important thing is that Zhu Hua's cousin also left in Zhongqing that day, as if she deliberately didn't want others to notice and suspect her. Gurgle. Master Shen swallowed hard. I have never dealt with Zhu Hua's cousin. He couldn't help but flash through 8 words in his mind. This girl is so steaming. So what should we do now? Wang Yang raised his eyebrows. I found Zhu Qian. I checked with the Industry and Commerce Bureau and the Food and Drug Administration. Zhu Hua and Han Zhi's new product, Beauty of the Moon, has not yet been registered for listing. You can find a way to get the Food and Drug Administration to delay giving them a production license, and then I'll find a chance to get the formula out of Zhu Qian. Good idea. If this secret recipe could fall into their hands first, they would be able to produce it. Master Shen's eyes lit up. No need to be so polite, Xiao Wang. I'll teach you a lesson. When benefits are in front of you, you should learn to give them up. You can only gain if you give. Anshai has invested 1 billion to produce this product, which shows that it has unlimited potential. Since President Han has verified for us that the product will definitely make money, what does it matter if we spend 100 million to buy the formula? The next moment, Mr. Shen slowly stood up, patted Wang Yang on the shoulder, and said with joy, "You did a good job. You've worked hard investigating these yuan. I'll go get the money from the finance department later. The bonus is 300,000 yuan. I'll leave the matter of contacting Zhu Hua's cousin to you. I believe you can do it." Wang Yang nodded with a smile. Thank you, master. Don't worry. Oh, by the way, we must be nice when we meet with Zhu Hua's cousin. We may need her help in the future. It's hard to find a genius who can develop this kind of skincare product. We must keep the relationship stable. Chapter 119. The experts are right. At Zhangcheng High-Speed Railway Station, Zhu Qian was standing on the roadside in jeans, playing with her mobile phone out of boredom. Waiting for someone on the roadside in the hot summer was simply a torture. Especially when the ground temperature is around 30 degrees. At this moment, Zhu Qian was sweating profusely from the heat, and her dragon whisker bangs on both sides were stuck to her forehead. At this moment, the little girl suddenly sneezed several times in succession. But QIU. Strangeness. It's not cold today, and my mom forced me to wear jeans. Why am I still sneezing? Could it be that I caught a cold from using the air conditioner too much recently? Zhu Qian rubbed her nose. She glanced around but didn't see the familiar brother, so she continued to play with her phone with her head down. But at this moment, a silver-white Porsche stopped not far away. Zhu Qian happened to notice the car out of the corner of her eye, and her expression suddenly froze. Why does this car look familiar? A bad premonition flashed through her mind. However, she had only ridden in B.A. Izumo's car once, so she was not familiar with the license plate number. It wasn't until Zhu Hui got down from the back seat that the girl realized. I was tricked by my brother. This time, Zhu Qian didn't even want her luggage anymore and just ran away. At this moment, Zhu Hui's cold voice sounded from not far away. I'll give you two choices. Either you take the beating now or you get beaten out by my parents and your sister-in-law when I get back. It's your choice. It looks like there's no way to escape this beating. One meal is always better than three. Thinking of this, Zhu Qian thought about it. It sounded as if getting beaten now was a little more worthwhile, so she slowly stopped. Brother, what are you talking about? I was just planning to go to the supermarket to buy you some drinks. It is so hot. You two sisters-in-law must be tired from driving, right? I haven't seen you all for a whole summer. I missed you all so much. Zhu Hui sneered. The little girl's mean and bad temper hasn't changed. Seeing that he couldn't escape, he actually planned to divert the trouble to someone else. The purpose of the two sisters-in-law's words was to ignite the anger between Liu Zuqing and Ba Zumo, and then let the two women confront each other. At that time Zhu Hui will have to let her go temporarily. Unfortunately, she overthought it. Because in the past half-month, Biali Zumo and Liu Zuqing met almost every day. Even though their relationship wasn't exactly warm, it wasn't like they used to have arguments as soon as they met. Hey, aren't both of you sisters-in-law happy to see me? After such a long time of separation, shouldn't we have a big hug? Seeing that she failed to divert the blame, Zhu Qian laughed it off and tried to get away with it. In this situation, her brother must be very angry. And if he starts beating her, he will definitely make her scream. Although she couldn't run away, she couldn't help but hope that her two sisters-in-law would come out to stop her for a moment. Unfortunately, her idea still failed. Among these two sisters-in-law, who ranks first and who ranks second, me or her? Is this what you can hear from my beautiful, elegant, dignified and graceful sister-in-law Yuzukin? Zhu Qian took a deep breath. Sister-in-law, you have become a bad person. There is no way to answer this question. No matter who is the eldest sister-in-law, it will offend the other. Zhu Qian could only look at her brother dejectedly. Brother, they say that an elder brother is like a father. Father should be tolerant of the little mistakes I make, right? Yes. The next moment, Zhu Hui walked towards Zhu Qian with an expressionless face, but picked up a sanitation worker's broom from the roadside. Zhu Qian was horrified when she saw this. Sister-in-law, save me. Sister-in-law, save me. Call 120.110 is also fine. My brother actually used his weapon. She didn't dare to dawdle any longer and jumped up and down trying to escape. At this moment, the girl remembered that she had brought a book called How to Deal with Family Relationships in her luggage. Don't do it yet. Education experts say that corporal punishment should not be used on children now. We should replace corporal punishment with book-based punishment. If you don't believe me, I'll show you a book. As she spoke, Zhu Qian quickly took out a book titled How to Deal with Family Relationships from her suitcase. Zhu Qian was obviously thinking of giving it her all, but she didn't expect Zhu Hui to be stunned when he heard this. Is there anything else? Yes. We must listen to what the experts say. If you teach me through books and explain the truth to me, maybe I will listen to you and change my ways in the future. Ouch. Before he could finish his words, Zhu Hui picked up the book and slapped Zhu Qian on the butt. The aggrieved Zhu Qian instantly burst into tears. Brother, why are you still doing this? Don't you want to listen to the experts? I think what the experts said is right. We all know that hitting someone with a stick will cause hand vibrations. It turns out that it's much better when it's replaced with a book. The next moment, Zhu Hua threw away the broom and nodded with satisfaction at the book on how to deal with family relationships. Immediately afterwards, Zhu Qian's screams of "Wuuu" could be heard continuously from the roadside. Zhu Hua became more and more excited, and invited Liu Zuking and Ba Izumo. "Baby, Mr. Ba. You two should try it to what the experts said really makes sense. Book-based education is indeed much easier." 5 or 6 minutes later. Ouch. Zhu Qian jumped up and down, holding her little butt. If Liu Zuking couldn't bear to watch it anymore. The little girl was afraid that she would be pinned to the ground and beaten for more than an hour by her cruel brother Zhu Hua. That's enough. That's enough to educate the child. Ba Izumo took the book, How to Deal with Family Relationships from Zhu Hua. By the way, he also stood between Zhu Hua and Zhu Qian. Brother and sister. Zhu Hua then smacked his lips in dissatisfaction. In fact, he hasn't fought enough. Of course, he finally understood why Yu Zuking didn't even like to be onto with him. This is a hieroglyphic character, but liked to beat people to vent her anger. Being a human sandbag is really cool. Brother, you are so shameless, you bully a baby of over 200 months old in public. Sister Ba. What kind of pants do you think will make you look younger? My mother always forces me to wear jeans. I am short, and it would be weird to wear a skirt. Just wear diapers, you will definitely look young. Zhu Qian originally planned to go and get close to her sisters-in-law. Unexpectedly, as soon as the words came out, his brother Zhu Hui responded mercilessly. Ba Izumo had been planning to give a serious answer, but now she couldn't help laughing out loud. Zhu Qian was made fun of and couldn't laugh at all. He glared at his brother fiercely, remembering that sister-in-law Yu Zuking was also present at the scene. She came up with a plan. His sisters-in-law, what do you think the 3-year itch means? No matter which of you my brother marries in the end, I am going to sow discord between you. It's almost like I'm saying openly that my brother is going to cheat on you. Hey, I'm so smart. As expected. As soon as these words came out, Liu Zuking and Ba Izumo looked at each other. Both of them looked somewhat unfriendly. It's been 3 years. If you don't use a certain part of your body, do you think it's itchy? At this moment, Liu Zuking and Ba Izumo's faces turned red almost instantly. Zhu Qian was stunned. You were able to resolve my attempt to sow discord so easily. After getting in the car, Zhu Qian was still a little dishonest. She must be feeling resentful about her brother beating her up. In addition, my 2 sisters-in-law seemed to realize that I was a fence-sitter. So Zhu Qian thought it necessary to get closer to her sisters-in-law. Zhu Qian pretended to open the weather forecast. Hey, it looks like there's an orange rainstorm warning today. Sisters-in-law, what does that mean? Looking for something to talk about? Your rank is too low. Zhu Hui glanced at the girl. Because it's raining orange juice. Call. Zhu Qian took a deep breath. When it comes to bickering, I will never be a match for my brother Zhu Hui. He interrupted maliciously, so jokes and gags were no longer useful. So Zhu Qian switched to storytelling. Sisters-in-law. I heard a very touching story when I went back. This time it was about a dog that an old lady had raised for more than 10 years and died. The grandmother was very sad. So grandma's grandson learned to bark like a dog in the middle of the night. Hoping to make grandma feel better. Guess what the result was? What is the result? Liu Zuking and Ba Izumo were both immersed in the story, wondering whether their grandmother would be moved by her grandson's behavior. The next moment, Zhu Hua said inferently. In the end, the grandmother tied up her grandson like a dog? Chapter 120. Are you a hidden rich man? Ba Izumo pursed her red lips and chuckled. I'm sorry, I know the ending he gave is inappropriate, but I still want to laugh a little. Zhu Qian was completely angry and yelled at her brother next to her. Zhu Hui, you should stop now. Let me tell you. I went to see a fortune teller this time. He said that I can have as much money as I want in the future. I might be a top billionaire in the future, so please be polite when talking to me. Maybe in the future, the cost of a meal from me could be equal to your monthly salary. Zhu Hua raised his eyelids. The mute fortune teller told you this in sign language. Bullshit. He's obviously not dumb, he's blind. Pretty. Zhu Hua gave a thumbs up. No wonder he's blind. This kind of fortune-telling liar can only fool a little girl like you. How much more money do you need? Are you a fucking beggar? Impossible. He is very famous for fortune-telling in our area. He said that I will be very rich in the future. I can have as much money as I want. So I will definitely be very rich in the future. Zhu Hua rolled his eyes. Is it possible that he meant that you will become a beggar in the future, so you can get as much as you want? Now the carriage, which had originally had a solemn atmosphere, was filled with laughter and joy. However, Zhu Qian was the target of ridicule, and she herself could not be happy. She could only glare at her brother angrily. How could you treat a runaway Disney princess like this? Is a princess valuable? There are only princesses in KTV. I suggest you become a prince. Just find a guy named Wang on the street and call him daddy. And you will be the little prince. They laughed and talked all the way. Zuhua was annoyed that Su Qian had cheated both sides and used him as a bargaining chip. Not only did he deceive himself and Liu Zuking, but he also deceived Ba Zumo. So he kept mocking the girl along the way. Su Qian had something to hide and tried several times to find topics to get closer to Liu Zuking and Ba Zumo. However, he was always frustrated by his brother Zuhua. When they were almost at Jinshui Bay, Su Qian suddenly realized something was wrong. Hey, where are we going? Didn't we just pass by Kanjwu Street? Shouldn't we go home and put our luggage down first? Oh, we are going to find a place to sell you. Zuhui responded as if nothing had happened. However, this sentence did not scare Su Qian. She pointed at the changing scenery around her and saw that they were about to reach the urban area of Zhongchen. She was immediately startled. Brother, you haven't moved, have you? Otherwise, how can we say that Su Qian is the younger generation of the Zhu family, and Zuhu's biological sister who is not related by blood? If this little brain of hers were used in the right way, my aunt wouldn't have to worry about her grades anymore. After saying this, the Panamera slowly stopped at the entrance of Jinshui Bay. The decoration and security of the entrance alone can be seen at a glance. This was obviously an upscale residential area, and Su Qian was shocked. My brother moved to a place like this? Bizumo didn't stay any longer, and gave a warning before leaving. Think carefully about what I said. This position of president will definitely do you no good. You still have a chance to regret it now. If Mr. Wan Fatty Shen make the news public, there will be no turning back. After saying that, Porsche drove away. Zuhua looked at the taillights of the Porsche going away, and silently said 3 words to Mr. Daya in his heart. Sorry. So that Liu Zuking can have a reasonable and legal identity and live on this land. He must sit in the position of president to accomplish what he wants more easily. So I have no choice but to reject your kindness, Mr. Ba. Liu Zuking is still pregnant with her own child. Although the Ice Lotus Empress shows signs of pregnancy later than normal women, this does not mean that Zuhua, the prospective father, can ignore the child. Sooner or later, the baby in Liu Zuking's belly will be born. That little life also needs to be registered, go to school, and work. When you are sick, you need to see a doctor. When you are hungry, you need to eat. As he grows up, he needs to get married, have children and start a new family. So even if it's not just for Liu Zuking's consideration, even for the sake of the child, Zuhua needs to give the Ice Lotus Queen a legal identity. Damn, this is Jinshui Bay. Several of my classmates live in this community. Most of them have local household registration in Zhongcheng to be able to settle here. Even so, if you want to buy a house here, you still have to queue up for a lottery. Brother, the rent here is not cheap. What are you thinking of renting a place like this? The next moment, Su Qian suddenly started chattering. This immediately brought Zuhua back to his senses. He was too lazy to hide the matter of the house from his sister and told her the truth. I didn't rent it, I bought it. Bought it. Hearing this, Su Qian's eyes widened. Brother, today is not April Fool's Day. What? That's the point of you lying to me? My aunt and uncle can only get you a down payment on a car, not to mention buying you a house in Zhongcheng. Zuhua smiled and did not continue arguing with his sister about this issue. He turned around and said to Liu Zuking, I think we can prepare to move in the next 2 days. Let Su Qian warm up the house for us tonight. Oh, Liu Zuking didn't know what greenhouse meant. She just blinked her bright starry eyes. I have been busy decorating the house in Jinshui Bay recently. It is estimated that it will be completed by the end of this week, and Zuhui also wants to see what stage the decoration has reached. In fact, to such a well-decorated house, you can move in directly as long as the furniture is in place. Liu Zhen was afraid that formaldehyde would affect the baby Liu Zuking's belly. It took 2 weeks and we hired several professional formaldehyde removal teams. The hardware is basically complete now. I just need to see if the soft furnishings, bed sheets, quilt covers, toilets and plumbing are finished. After entering the residential complex, the group headed straight towards building No. 3. Su Qian kept chattering and asking questions along the way, but Zuhua was too lazy to answer. Seeing is believing. Hearing is not, but he still underestimated Su Qian's perseverance. Unable to get any answer from herself, Su Qian turned around and asked Liu Zuking. She was convinced that her sister-in-law Liu Zuking, who loved her dearly, would not lie to her brother and his gang. But Liu Zuking also gave the same answer as Zuhua. This house was indeed bought by Zuhua. Your aunt has been renovating it recently. You will be able to see it later. The house has 5 bedrooms. Your brother has reserved 1 room for you. Su Qian was a little confused. What's going on? Is today a special day? Why did even sister-in-law Liu Zuking make such an unrealistic joke? But after going upstairs, she completely believed it. Who would rent such a large area for rent? Is it really a 5-bedroom apartment? Nearly 200 square meters? As soon as Su Qian entered the house, she was like a wild dog on the loose. He looked east and west, moving back and forth between the rooms. Hey, Zhu Qian is here too? Li Yuzhen and Lao Zhu were supervising the construction in the house. The old couple worked hard all their lives but still could not leave a house for their son. Unexpectedly, in just 1 month, Zhu Hua was able to buy a house in Zhangcheng with full payment. As parents, they were unable to create better conditions for their son Zhu Hua, but at least I can help him decorate the house and implement it well. So the old couple came over every day to supervise the work. The tiles in the house were carefully selected by Li Yuzhen and Zhu Mingyuan after several trips to the decoration market. School is about to start, so the little calf is coming. Zhu Hua smiled and joked. Seeing Li Yuzhen wiping the dust off the kitchen range hood, Li Yuzuking also fetched a basin of water and took the initiative to help. Go away. I'll do the rough work. I can't let a pregnant woman do it all by herself. Zhu Hua, keep an eye on your young wife. Zhu Hua tugged at Li Yuzuking's sleeve. Okay, then don't join in the fun. If my mother wants to do something, let her do it alone. Otherwise, she won't be able to rest if she doesn't find something to do during the day. She won't even be able to sleep well at night. But mother, when the time comes, we can ask a professional cleaning team to clean it up a bit, and the effect will be the same. The air conditioner installer will come over in a couple of days. The house will still be covered in dirt inside and out. It's no use cleaning it up today. Hearing this, Li Yuzhen hummed stubbornly. I don't care if it gets dirty, I'll just clean it again. This is your first house, so I feel like I have to do something for you. Aunt, is this really the house my brother bought? You paid in full? Where did my brother get so much money? Could it be my uncle's private money? Zhu Qian asked a few questions in rapid succession. Li Yuzhen was about to answer the question while working. Who knew Zhu Qian would pout her red lips again? But it be that you two, aunt and uncle, are actually the hidden rich people in Zhangcheng. That you have never told my brother in order to cultivate his growth over the years. You guys only chose to show your hand after my brother graduated? The next moment, Zhu Qian added more drama to herself and said happily. Damn. And does that mean I'm also a rich kid? Aunt, if anyone bullies me in the future, I should be able to arrogantly announce my family background and scare the other person into apologizing like crazy. Right? Hearing this, the corners of Zhu Hua's mouth twitched wildly. Are you going to film the crooked mouth dragon king here? My cousin's mother is really a dramatic actress. Even if my parents really have some background, it has nothing to do with a little girl like you. When he thought of this, Zhu Hua said with emotion. It's really unfair for you to go to medical school. Really? I think so too. What do you mean by that? Are you going to spend money to send me abroad for further studies after you've laid your cards on the table with me? Then I'm going to Stanford. Still Stanford? I'll send you to heaven to enjoy happiness first. Chapter 121. Let you experience the pain of losing your loved ones. Stop joking. The truth is, your brother did someone a big favor, so someone asked him to act as the chairman of a company for a period of time. As it happens, your sister-in-law has some accomplishments in this area and provided some ideas. So someone is willing to cooperate with your brother. By the way, I gave your brother this amount to show my sincerity. As she spoke, Li Yuzhen raised a finger at Zhu Qian. A number of 100 million is still a bit scary when it comes out of your mouth. Even Li Yuzhen took a long time to digest it. What's more, Zhu Qian has a quirky personality, and speaking out may not necessarily bring any benefits. What if this little girl really becomes arrogant and takes advantage of her brother's wealth to bully her classmates in school? My brother? Had he helped someone, got a company, and my sister-in-law has some accomplishments, which led to someone willing to cooperate with my brother. When Zhu Qian heard what her aunt said, she felt like she was struck by lightning. Their expressions started to become a little strange. Why does this plot sound so much like a cool novel? As by doing someone a big favor, you can get a company for free? And you joined the company and found that this platform was just enough for you to display your talents. Wait, brother, what's the name of your company? It's not an illegal fundraising enterprise with outstanding debts, right? Or is it a bankrupt company that's already on the list of persons subject to execution? The boss ran away and planned to let you take the blame? Damn, I didn't expect that even a little girl like Zhu Qian knows that there is no such thing as a free lunch. Zhu Hua smiled bitterly. Although the R&D department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory was somewhat different from what she had described. But to be honest, it's not much better. If it weren't for Yuzu King's beauty, Zhu Hui would most likely have become Mr. Shen's running dog. Or after being tough for a while, he will be attacked by all the senior executives. R&D department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory in Zhangcheng. Rest assured, I was not deceived, nor did I incur debt for no apparent reason. If I were to be cheated, it wouldn't really be considered. The last few sentences have not been finished yet. Zhu Qian had already taken out her cell phone and started frantically searching for information about the Shen family pharmaceutical factory on the internet. Oh my god. Brother, so you are worth more than $1 billion now? I have a rich brother. Big sister, did you not hear the last few words I said? The corner of Zhu Hui's mouth twitched. The next moment, Zhu Qian said excitedly. And your company now has $1 billion project that you are responsible for. That's awesome, brother. Does this mean that I will be the little princess of your pharmaceutical factory from now on? My brother is the CEO, so besides you, I am the most senior person in your pharmaceutical factory. How did you learn mathematics? Liu Zuqing, Lao Zhu, and my mother Li Yuzhen. Which one does it rank ahead of a little girl like you? You actually said that besides me, you are the biggest one in Shen's pharmaceutical factory. I'm going to be a real princess soon. Zhu Qian was so excited that she didn't notice the helpless looks from Zhu Hui and Li Yuzhen. Mother and son. Your Highness, there is something I want to discuss with you. Okay brother, from now on I will listen to you no matter what you say. You are so awesome. With your help, I will see who dares to bully me in school in the future. Wakakayakaka. Zhu Qian. This little fence-sitter perfectly embodies the characteristics of the younger generation of the Zhu family. Quick adaptability. In a blink of an eye, I got confirmation from my aunt, immediately faced the reality, and adapted to my new identity. However, this new identity seems to be self-proclaimed. Zhu Hui joked with a smile. My brother is a little short of money recently. Can our little princess go to your house to help him get some money? You see, my brother is still decorating his new house. What? To my house? Brother, do you want me to go to Disney to develop and make money for you? Zhu Qian has always dreamed of being a princess. Although we know that in reality, princesses always marry Mr. Wang who drives a BMW, rather than the prince who rides a white horse. Her WeChat nickname is still Disney Runaway Princess. But Zhu Hui shook his head. No, we're going to KTV. At this moment, the air suddenly became quiet for a moment. Aunt? My brother bullies me, do you cab? Immediately afterwards, the sound of Zhu Qian howling like a ghost was heard in the room. Zhu Qian knew who was the most capable of controlling her brother. Although her sister-in-law Liu Zuqing could also control her brother, it was obvious that Liu Zuqing still had resentment towards her. She directly placed her savior on her aunt Li Yuzhen. You two brothers should control yourselves a little. You are already grown-ups, but you still quarrel like little kids all day long. Aunt, my brother told me to sell my butt. I didn't say that. When did I ever say something like that? Stop spitting blood on me here. Aren't you the one who keeps talking about the princess all the time? I just asked you to go where you should go. When did I ever ask you to sell your ass? Hearing this, Zhu Qian felt even more aggrieved. He glared at his brother Zhu Hui angrily, waiting for his aunt Li Yuzhen to give him an explanation. But Li Yuzhen naturally couldn't spoil the brother and sister. Okay. You two are disgusting, aren't you? You keep talking about butts, chicken butts or duck butts? You two are adults, why are you so careless when you talk? Go play, I'm busy cleaning the kitchen now. After saying this, Zhu Qian bit her red lips tightly with her pearly teeth. She just felt more and more aggrieved, and rushed into the kitchen and walked out with a kitchen knife. Aunt, you all bully me since you don't care about my brother. Today you will let you experience the pain of losing a loved one. But Li Yuzhen still didn't buy it. Don't scare me with suicide, I'm not your mother, I won't fall for it. Zhu Qian grew up under her care. Li Yuzhen knew exactly what kind of person this little girl was. If she was really so fragile, she would commit suicide after being bullied by Zhu Hui. Under her aunt's strict demands, she would have collapsed and gone to heaven long ago. Zhu Hui was also a mean guy, knowing full well that Zhu Qian wasn't happy. He's just covering his mouth and laughing foolishly. Wouldn't it be enough if the little girl could just coax him a few words? Li Yuzhen thought so and still didn't take Zhu Qian's threat to heart. But at this moment, Zhu Hui's voice suddenly sounded. We can talk it over. It's not time to resort to knife and gun, Mom. This time I'm not kidding. You really need to come out and persuade Zhu Qian. Or there will be blood. What? Is Zhu Qian serious? Li Yuzhen was also startled this time and quickly opened the kitchen door to look outside. That shouldn't be the case. What did that little girl Zhu Qian go through this summer? Would she commit suicide after being teased a few times? The next moment, Li Yuzhen came out with a look of surprise on her face. In the living room, Zhu Hui had a sad face. What the hell? She said she wanted you to experience the pain of losing a loved one. She wasn't talking about committing suicide, she was talking about killing me. Under Li Yuzhen's gaze, the corners of her mouth twitched wildly. The sharp kitchen knife was held in Zhu Qian's hand, just right on Zhu Hui's neck. Zhu Qian, convex. Chapter 122. If there really is a prince, does the princess need to run away? Li Yuzhen slapped her forehead helplessly when she saw this. Alright. Why bother with the two brothers? It's just a few nasty words, not enough for you to kill him. Zhu Qian gritted her teeth. He told me to sell my ass. Li Yuzhen sighed, pointed at her son's nose and scolded him. Zhu Hui, you said you are also a bitch. How can someone say that about his own sister? Zhu Hui shrank his head and glanced down at the kitchen knife in Zhu Qian's hand. Doesn't she want to be a princess all the time? Kate Evie is the birthplace of princess culture. These words ignited Zhu Qian's anger again. You also said. Zhu Qian angrily pressed the blade inward, scaring Zhu Hui so much that his hair stood on end. Damn, this is for real. Brother, have I loved you in vain all these years? Okay, stop making trouble. You two should be quiet for a while, and let me tidy up the room. How about letting Zhu Qian stay in Jinshui Bay tonight? It's just right to separate you two siblings, so that you won't be unhappy with each other and cause a death or something like that. Li Yuzhen is still very resourceful, although old Li has not been able to fully comprehend the doctrine of the mean that old Zhu has been speaking over the years. But I did learn a lot. After saying this, Zhu Qian's attention was successfully diverted. Let me live in the new house on the first day. Yeah, how's it going? Is it good for you? Seeing that the farce was coming to an end, Liu Zuqing came over with a smile and took the kitchen knife from Zhu Qian's hand. In fact, she could tell from the beginning that Zhu Qian had no ill intentions. If Zhu Qian really wanted to hack her foul-mouthed brother to death here, she would not give Zhu Hui the chance to continue showing off. She was just pretending to threaten so she could vent her emotions. The next moment, Zhu Qian glanced at Li Yuzhen timidly. But isn't this 5-bedroom apartment a bit too big? I'd be scared to stay here alone at night. How about letting my sister-in-law stay here with me? Zhu Qian looked towards Liu Zuqing expectantly. Liu Zhen still doesn't know that Zhu Qian calls Ba Zumo's sister-in-law. Otherwise, he would definitely curse this traitor who is a traitor. However, when she heard that she wanted Liu Zuqing to accompany her, Liu Zhen immediately shook her head and refused. No, your sister-in-law is the giant panda of our family now. She is so precious. She is pregnant and formaldehyde is not good for the child. What? Zhu Qian's eyes widened when she heard this. So if formaldehyde is bad for kids, then it must be good for me. Auntie, look. Are you speaking human language? No wonder today is my first day sleeping in the new house. It's not because I am important in this family, but because I am the least important. Let me do some poison testing and help absorb the formaldehyde. Don't you have a few classmates in this neighborhood? Well, those classmates don't have a good relationship, and they are not very familiar with each other, so they seldom interact. Let me think. How about letting Bai know? How about letting brother Lin Hao? Forget it. He is a bit creepy. I am afraid he will climb into my bed in the middle of the night. I can't let brother Lin Hao take advantage of my pure and innocent body. Zhu Qian held her chin in the air and pondered for a while. Seeing this, Liu Zuqing pursed her red lips and chuckled. Aunt Li, how about letting me stay and keep her company? No. Li Yuzhen's attitude was very firm. In fact, formaldehyde has little impacted. It's okay to inhale a little. Let my sister-in-law accompany me. What nonsense are you talking about? Your sister-in-law is pregnant. Formaldehyde is not good for the baby. Do you want your brother to give birth to a child with 3 heads and 6 arms to be satisfied? I saw that my mother and cousin were about to have another argument. Seeing this, Zhu Hui reluctantly pulled Liu Zuqing, who was hesitant to speak. Okay, stop arguing. I have a more suitable candidate, my secretary Hirong. He just graduated not long ago, but he has a high emotional intelligence. As for your personality, you are somewhat similar to Zhu Qian. Especially the two of you seem to be quite compatible. One WeChat account is called Disney Princess on the Run, and the other is called There Is No Prince in Reality. What a perfect match. Zhu Qian twitched the corner of her mouth. Brother, can you tell me what the connection is between these two online names? How are they a good match? Even if her name was Jurassic Runaway Dinosaur, I would understand if you said they were destined to be together, but what kind of crappy name is this? Also, why doesn't she believe that there is a prince in reality? Zhu Hui chuckled and made up something nonsense. If there really were princes in real life, would Disney princesses need to run away? Nima. A dark line suddenly flashed across Zhu Qian's forehead. I really want to refute, but I really can't think of a suitable excuse at the moment. Okay. Then it's decided. Let Zhu Qian sleep here tonight, and Zhu Hui's secretary will accompany the little girl. I'm actually a little worried about her living here alone. So it's just right for her to have someone to accompany her. After arranging all this, Li Yuzhen waved her hand and sent Zhu Hui away. Take Xiaoyu for a walk in the yard to familiarize herself with the environment. Don't let her, a pregnant woman, stay in a house filled with formaldehyde for long periods of time. It's not good for the baby. After these words were spoken, even Liu Zuqing herself felt helpless. Although my mother-in-law's concern makes me feel warm, This kind of overbearing behavior is indeed a bit unnecessary. However, Zuhua did not dare to go against his mother's wishes, and pulled Yuzu-king and Zukion-kion downstairs. A few people strolled in the yard like this. The conflict between the brother and sister can be said to have come and gone quickly. Soon, Zukion-kion forgot that her brother had just made her cry, and excitedly took Zuhua's arm and pointed forward. "Hey brother, look, there's someone setting up a fortune-telling stall in the neighborhood over there." Hearing this, Zuhui was stunned. When Yuzu-king heard the word fortune-telling, she seemed very interested. The reason why she will appear on Earth at this turning point in her life is because of the prophecy of Tian Tongjing. Therefore, the Ice Lotus Empress was curious about everything that could be predicted. Does your world have fortune-tellers? Seeing Zukion-kion taking the lead, Yuzu-king then lowered her body and asked Zuhui quietly from behind. The environment is hot in the summer, and although Yuzu-king's clothes are not very cool, they are so close. From a certain angle on Zuhu's side, he could see a hint of white under Yuzu-king's collar. "Hey, I'm talking to you, where are you looking?" The next moment, Yuzu-king noticed Zuhu's strange gaze and immediately pinched him with a red face. Maybe even Yuzu-king herself didn't realize it as she spent day and night with Zuhua. She seemed to no longer have a subjective aversion to physical contact with men. "What did you say?" Zuhua came back to his senses and asked in a daze. This really annoyed Yuzu-king. "If you look at me with that obscene gaze again, I will gouge your eyeballs out." Zuhua quickly chased after him and explained. "No, I just noticed that you don't seem to be wearing anything underneath." Snap! As expected, what greeted him was a slap from Yuzu-king. The Ice Lotus Queen blushed and glared at him fiercely. "Can you dare to speak any louder? Do you want me to get you a speaker?" "I didn't say anything. I understand that girls don't wear brass in summer because they feel too hot. What's more, your skirt has a bra cover for comfort." Snap! The next moment, there was a clear 5-finger mark on the other half of Zuhu's face. Yuzu-king gritted her teeth and glared. "Vile, filthy, shameless, mean, and vulgar. I don't want to talk to you anymore." "No way, sir. So you're angry? You weren't like this when you were in Mulberry Village. When did you suddenly become so irritable?" Zuhui covered his cheek and muttered a grieved lie, complaining. "You are the one who doesn't wear it, it's not me who stopped you from wearing it. Why are you so angry with me? Why are you so angry?" At this moment, Yuzu-king's steps of leaving paused again. It was obvious that her ears were turning red, and the next moment the Ice Lotus Empress turned her head coldly. Snap! Chapter 123. One sentence scares away a group of people. "Brother, will you die if you don't act like a jerk? Aren't you?" Yuzu-king slapped Zuhu a few times and then angrily distanced herself from the young man. Judging from the posture, he should be a little angry. Although Zukion-kion didn't know what mistake her brother had made, she thought it was probably related to his bad mouth. So he ran over without mercy, eager to add insult to injury. Zuhu glared at the girl. He knew that Yuzu-king had excellent hearing, and it was difficult to explain anything to his sister. "Do I have to tell Zukion-kion that your sister-in-law doesn't wear a bra? Brother, why is it that even though I'm in college, my mom still likes to tell me what to wear? Actually, when I came out, I was wearing a very pretty pink skirt, but when my mom saw me like this, she refused to let me go and insisted that I change into jeans before she would allow me to come to Zhongcheng. And she always tells me not to wear skirts that show my knees. Even when I'm in Zhongcheng, she'll call me every day to check what I'm wearing. If she finds me wearing a miniskirt, she'll scold me." Hearing this, Zuhu chuckled. "After all, it's my daughter who is traveling far away alone. How can we as parents feel at ease?" The more Zukion-kion dressed up, the more worried her aunt was that she would run into bad people. Forcing Zukion-kion to change into jeans was also to protect her from another perspective. It's just that this love, which comes from a mother's desire to protect her daughter, is a little overbearing. Even if Su Mingyuan, who is famous for his generosity and wisdom, had a daughter, Lao Zu might also be worried. But his protection may come in a different form. For example, deliberately hiding all the toilet water in the house. In the summer, the streets are full of girls, slender white legs, but the price of wearing skirts for beauty is a pile of big mosquito bites on the legs at the end of the day. If the price of looking good is pain and itchiness that keeps you tossing and turning all night and unable to sleep, perhaps the single Zukion-kion will weigh whether she should pay such a high price for beauty. Of course, all this is based on the premise that Zukion-kion is single. If Zukion-kion had a boyfriend, that would be a different story. 7 out of 10 girls of this age are love-brained. In order to look their best in front of their boyfriends, there are many women who don't eat or drink for several days and then wear short skirts to lose weight. What kind of aesthetic is my mom's? Jeans and sweatshirts are so old-fashioned, brother. What kind of pants do you think I can wear to look younger? How old are you? Still look young? You are very young, okay? Haven't you asked this question before? Diapers. Answer me properly. And how about trying playing basketball in overalls? Zhu Qian. Zuhua laughed and touched Zhu Qian's head. Maybe my aunt thinks you don't look good in a pink skirt after all. What's the visual impact of the chopstick legs? Chubby girls are popular now. Hearing this, Zhu Qian became even more unhappy. Brother, you are talking nonsense. My sister-in-law also has chopstick legs. Why don't you say anything about her? Hey, Zhu Hui was stunned. How do you know your sister-in-law has chopstick legs? After Liu Zuqing appeared in reality, she wrapped herself tightly almost all day long. Zhu Hui had never seen her without pants, so how did Zhu Qian know? Hey, last time I bought my sister-in-law pink floral dress. Do you remember? When my sister-in-law was changing her clothes, I couldn't help but take a peek. As she spoke, Zhu Qian still revealed a look of longing. Wow, my sister-in-law has such a great figure. Wipe. It is hard to guard against thieves in your home even if you are on guard day and night. Unexpectedly, the charm of the Ice Lotus Empress can not only attract the fierce and ruthless opposite sex, but also attract the infatuated girl Zhu Qian. Snap. The next moment, Zhu Hua flicked his sister's head. Okay, stop being such a fangler. Your sister-in-law is mine. I didn't say I was going to steal your sister-in-law. Zhu Qian rubbed her forehead in dissatisfaction. By the way, where's brother Lin Hao? Aren't you two conjoined twins? You go everywhere together, don't you? Why didn't I see him today? We were chatting a few days ago. What conjoined twins? It's as if your brother Lin Hao can't take care of himself. By the way, what are you two talking about? Zhu Hui glanced at Zhu Qian. Lin Hao. This show-off likes to tease little girls whenever he has nothing to do. Zhu Hui knew that Lin Hao's feelings for Zhu Qian might simply be that of an older brother for a younger generation, and he didn't have any other thoughts. But you still have to be on guard. Don't let it end up like the classic joke of, I treat you as my brother and you become my brother-in-law. At that time, Zhu Hui might really get so angry that he would drag Lin Hao to die together with him. He bragged to me that when you were in middle school, he got into a fight and was beaten up, but he managed to scare off a dozen hooligans. He even wanted to teach me a few tricks to prevent me from being bullied in school in the future. Prevent Zhu Qian from being bullied. That's not necessary, as Liu Zuqing will be with me after the start of this semester. If Zhu Qian encounters any danger, this sister-in-law will definitely not stand idly by. With the support of the Ice Lotus Empress, it would be good enough if Zhu Qian didn't bully others. But you have misjudged one thing. Your brother Lin Hao is not bragging. He really once scared away a dozen hooligans by himself. At that time, a group of people beat him up, and he stood up and patted his buttocks in order to save face. He directly said something cruel, and with just one sentence, he scared away the group of people in an instant. What? Can one sentence scare away a group of people? What? Zhu Hui chuckled. Damn it, this human body is still a little too weak. At this moment, even Liu Zuqing, who was not far away, couldn't help but laugh. As expected of the pretentious young man Lin Hao, when he said this, people who didn't know him would think he was a time traveler. No, they thought his brain was damaged and they were afraid of paying the money. Nowadays, if you didn't see it with your own eyes, who would believe that there are time travelers in the world? What's more, when they fought, they were a group of hot-blooded young men. Even if there really is a time traveler, he would never dare to say 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west. There is a high probability that he will be beaten to death by these reckless people. Zhu Hui secretly glanced at Liu Zuqing not far away. Seeing the smile on the woman's face, Zhu Hui also breathed a sigh of relief. Although Liu Zuqing has a bad temper, she rarely holds grudges and can be coaxed a little. But when the two of them were alone, Liu Zuqing would not easily give Zhu Hui a chance. So there was one more Zhu Qian, although the girl did not play any other role in it. But it also indirectly provided Zhu Hui with an opportunity to make jokes. Young man, I see that you are very lucky. Do you want to come over and calculate when you can get married with the person you love the most? If the calculation is not correct, you don't have to pay. At this moment, not far ahead, the fortune teller who had attracted Liu Zuqing and Zhu Qian's attention at the beginning suddenly waved at the three of them. He sat under a tree. Although there were many curious onlookers gathered around, no one had come to him for fortune telling yet. At first Zhu Qian thought that person was talking to someone else. It was not until she saw the fortune teller waving his hand again that Zhu Qian pointed at herself in surprise. Father, he is calling us. Did the fortune teller see that this princess has extraordinary bones? So he wants to show me the way to the immortal? So, it seems that I will become rich. Your sister. Zhu Hui rolled his eyes and leisurely took 2 steps towards the tree. Sir, how much does it cost to calculate your life? Rude. Hearing this, Zhu Qian glared at her brother unhappily. Brother, fortune telling depends on what you want to know: wealth, love, or career. It's not like you can just stand here and have others tell you everything at once. Do you understand, brother? Chapter 124. How about you teach me? Hearing this, Zhu Hui curled his lips. As a highly educated young man, he was an atheist. Moreover, even if the Ice Lotus Empress Liu Zuking appeared in the real world, it could be explained by the concept of a parallel universe. Is there anything else that can only be explained using metaphysics? Young man, fortune telling doesn't talk about money, it only talks about fate. The fortune teller sitting on the ground smiled softly. Although he noticed Zhu Hui's expression, he still smiled and showed great professionalism. However, Zhu Hui and the other two were originally driven out by my mother Liu Zhen to take a walk. Liu Zhen would definitely be unhappy if she went upstairs, so she might as well just wander around outside for a while. At this thought, Zhu Hui also became interested in easing the fortune teller. Sir, let's not talk about money, let's talk about fate. Which yuan is it? 1,000 yuan. Brother, what's the point of bullying a fortune teller? Zhu Qian stomped her feet in displeasure. If the calculation is not accurate, no charge. Besides, I am not a person of honor. There is no rule that I have to charge $1,000 for just a few words. You guys can decide how much to give if you want to give. Give if you don't want to give. You don't have to give. TSK, this fortune-telling liar is quite easy to talk to. Only then did Zhu Hui restrain his thoughts of teasing others. And please help me calculate the fate between me and my girlfriend. Even if it's about love, if you can calculate it correctly, I will give you a 50 red envelope. Anyway, feudal superstition like fortune-telling is just a way to have fun by spending money. Although Zhu Hui can't be said to be well off now, that if he could buy a few nice words by spending a few dozen dollars, he would be happy and relaxed. And tell me your birth date. If you don't know your birth date, please tell me your date of birth. The time must be accurate to the minute. Zhu Hui chuckled. I know my birth date and time, I'll write it down for you. By the way, master, if we're calculating for the people, do you need my girlfriend's birth date and time? When he said this, Zhu Hui actually didn't care at all. Because in fact, even Liu Zuking herself might not know her birth date. Zhu Hui just asked casually. The next moment, the fortune teller lowered his head and fiddled with Zhu Hui's birth date and time, and spoke lightly. Do you know her age? When these words were spoken, everyone except Zhu Qian, Liu Zuking and Zhu Hui were all stunned. Generally speaking, no one would think that a boy in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship would not know the girl's age. I don't know his horoscope, but at least I should know his birthday. But the fortune teller made a firm statement. It was as if he already knew something. The next moment, the fortune teller slowly spoke. Your relationship is not intense, but it is heating up steadily. Love grows over time. What you expect is just a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Things I'm looking forward to? Zhu Hui noticed the fortune teller's teasing look and his face suddenly turned red. He wasn't talking about onto, was he? I think everyone can understand hieroglyphics, right? But at this moment, the fortune teller suddenly changed the subject. But you two will definitely face a calamity, and at the moment, the outcome seems unclear. In other words, you will need to overcome this calamity together. After getting through this, perhaps the bright moon will appear after the dark clouds have been cleared, and the right result will be achieved. If you can't get over it, this may become the countdown to your farewell. Disaster. Liu Zuking was stunned for a moment. The fortune teller nodded. He glanced at Liu Zuking meaningfully. And from what we can see right now, this catastrophe seems to be related to you. Your friend should be looking for you with a mission. So this catastrophe is not long or short, but it is actually not far away. From the current perspective, there is still at most 1 or 2 years of preparation time. 1 or 2 years of preparation time. What are you going to do? This fortune teller's words are confusing. Although Zhu Hui had to admit that he seemed to have some skills, he still couldn't help but. Master, could you please explain it more clearly? Do you mean to say that she will have a difficult birth in the delivery room? Or do you mean to remind us to take good care of the fetus? The secrets of heaven cannot be revealed. These things can only be understood but not expressed in words. After saying that, the fortune teller pointed at Zhu Qian and suddenly said with a smile, but this little girl seems to have good fortune recently, and it's a windfall. Unexpected wealth. Does that mean I can get it for free without doing anything? Did I win the lottery, or maybe? Zhu Qian's eyes instantly became starry. But she hadn't finished her words. The first few people who gathered around the fortune teller curled their lips in displeasure. Are these 3 guys agents? This fortune teller is too unprofessional. People actually believe his nonsense. Yeah. Besides, he said that the emotional disaster happened within a year or two. Who would be so stupid as to suspect that it was a pregnant woman with a difficult labor? That's right, even if the girl is pregnant now. After 10 months of pregnancy, according to the time predicted by the fortune teller, the child would have been born a long time ago. Why would it take another year or two? Windfall? Isn't this just telling others that you are going to win the lottery? What if this little girl doesn't get rich in the end? Can we come over and smash your stall and report you as a liar? Before Zhu Hui and the other two could speak, The onlookers around them became filled with indignation. When Zhu Qian heard this, she immediately shouted angrily to the people around her. You guys don't have to believe it if you don't want to. The fortune teller didn't force you to believe it. Besides, fortune telling is something that you can believe in if you believe in it, and it won't happen if you don't believe in it. Everyone just wants to feel happy. Why do we have to fight so hard? Several onlookers curled their lips and said with disdain. Just say you are a stooge. Why do you need to find any excuses? TSK. This girl is so unprofessional. This really made Zhu Qian very angry. Zhu Qian, why are you here? At this moment, a girl in the crowd suddenly recognized Zhu Qian and shouted. After seeing the other person's face clearly, Zhu Qian was also stunned for a moment. King Yao? Why are you here too? Didn't I tell you? My family is from Zhongcheng. I live in Jinshuiwan community. Where else can I be if not here? As she spoke, the girl called King Yao took 2 steps forward. The first thing that catches your eye is a pair of long white legs. The girl was dressed coolly. With her long burgundy hair casually draped behind her, she was wearing simple clothes, but there were dazzling LV logos in several conspicuous places on her clothes. After saying this, King Yao glanced at Zhu Qian and the fortune teller with disdain. But you, Zhu Qian, are a student of our medical school after all. When did you get involved with this kind of charlatan and even act as a shill to cheat people together? You have hands and feet, so why do you have to be a liar? It's really a disgrace to our medical school students. No, you misunderstood. I'm not a liar. I'm not in the same group with this fortune teller. I just can't stand people mocking fortune tellers like this. Zhu Qian quickly waved her hands and shrank her head. King Yao is one of the few students in the class who has a local household registration in Zhongcheng. People in Zhongcheng always look down on outsiders. What's more, King Yao lived in a middle to high-end residential area like Jinshui Bay, so naturally she looked down on 8 or 9 out of 10 classmates in the class. Zhu Qian was also among those she despised. Not in the same group? King Yao looked at Zhu Qian, then glanced at Zhu Hu and Liu Zuking. Since you said you are not in the same group, then tell me why you appeared in Jinshui Bay. I remember you said that you have a cousin who works in Zhongcheng and lives in an old-style residential building on Kangwu Street. Why are you going to a high-end residential area like Jinshuiwan for no reason? Are you here to pick up rich men? Or did you do some unspeakable door-to-door service? Fishing for a rich guy? Door-to-door service? Hearing this, Zhu Hu, who had remained silent, frowned. Beauty, what you said is a bit too much. Please be careful with your words. I am Zhu Qian's cousin. We live in this neighborhood now. Why can't I be here? Could it be that the public activity area of Jinshui Bay belongs to you? After these words came out, King Yao was stunned. Zhu Qian's cousin lives in Jinshui Bay? Yes, we live in Jinshui Bay. Zhu Qian stiffened her neck and groaned. As soon as these words came out, King Yao came back to her senses and curled her lips in disdain. Then tell me, which building in Jinshui Bay do you live in? I'll visit you when I have time. Building No. 3, floor 9. Building 3, floor 9? I'm dying of laughter. Is it fun to brag? Before he could finish his words, King Yao suddenly interrupted with a sneer. I heard from Leng Qian last time that your cousin is quite good at showing off. It's really better to meet him in person than to hear about him. He brags without thinking. I live on the 9th floor of Building No. 3. Although the house opposite my house was sold this month, the owner is the famous chairman of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory. Are you trying to say that your cousin is the boss of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory? Or the door opposite? Zhu Hui frowned. However, as soon as these words came out, there was an uproar all around. Chairman of Shen's pharmaceutical factory. Those who can live in Jinshui Bay are bosses with strength and background. Although the research and development department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory is in decline. But as the saying goes, a lean camel is bigger than a horse. A company worth hundreds of millions is not something that ordinary small company bosses can compare to. Countless people looked at Zhu Hui. Could it be that this young man is the chairman of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory? The next moment, those people shook their heads. Show could this be possible? Leng Qian said that your cousin is cunning and likes to take advantage of others. At that time, I wondered who could scare Leng Xiaochen. Now it seems that he is nothing more than a small thug. A sly-talking scoundrel who relies on being a front for a charlatan to swindle people. When the name Leng Qian was mentioned, Zhu Hu was stunned for a moment before he reacted. The first time Zhu Qian came to see him, the family went out to eat skewers. Just then, 2 little girls came up to provoke me. The person who supported the little gangster girl at that time seemed to be some rich second-generation guy, but he was scared to death by Zhu Hui and Lin Hao's actions. In order to express their apologies, the 2 little girls drank a lot of wine. One of them seems to be named Leng Qian. Head out of here with your cult friends, or I'll call the police. The next moment, Kai King Yao glanced at Zhu Hui with disdain, pointed at the fortune teller who was slowly packing up his things on the ground and sneered. Look. Your friends have already cleaned up the mess. Do you still want to save face and brag? Zhu Qian was so angry that she fumed and stomped her feet. I repeat. He is not our friend. Get out of here or not. If you don't, I'll call the security guards to handle it. Kai King Yao crossed her arms across her chest, looking down at him. You will be embarrassed then. 3, 2, 1, snap. A countdown has just ended. Suddenly, Zhu Hui appeared in front of Kai King Yao, raised his hand and slapped her mercilessly. I'm sorry. We don't know how to roll. How about you teach us how to roll? Chapter 125, An existence that cannot be provoked. Snap. A crisp and loud slapping sounded in the open space. Zhu Qian was shocked. Brother, don't be impulsive. You, Ray, in trouble now. King Yao's father is the chairman of the largest beer group in Zhongcheng, Xile Beer. He's worth at least tens of millions, and there are so many suitors in school that they can line up from the south gate to the north gate. If I provoke Kai King Yao and this woman retaliates like a mad dog, my sister-in-law and I might not have a place to stand in school. Hearing this, Zhu Hui raised his eyebrows. It turns out he has some background. No wonder he is so arrogant. But it seems like it's still a little off. Seeing how aggressive she was just now, Zhu Hui thought that the entire Jinshui Bay belonged to her. The next moment, Kai King Yao roared angrily. How dare you hit me? Security, someone come. There's a rioter here. Let me tell you. The security guards here are all veterans. You, Ray, screwed kid when the security guards come over later. Any one of them can beat you to a pulp. Don't leave if you dare today. I will let you see what it means to be someone you can't afford to offend. An existence I can't afford to offend? Hearing this, Zhu Hui chuckled. I even dare to sleep with the Ice Lotus Queen from another world, so who else can I not afford to offend? Threaten me? It's as if I'm afraid of threats. Well, I'll give you a chance. Apologize to Zhu Qian now and promise not to cause trouble for my sister in school in the future. I won't bother with you today. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I won't be ruthless and cure your temper today. Can you cure my temper? When Kai King Yao heard this, she covered her red and swollen cheek and roared fiercely. Come on, if you have the guts, try to move me again, and see if you can get out of this Jinshui Bay successfully. Snap. Noisy. The security guards haven't even arrived yet, and you dare to provoke me? I really don't know what's wrong with your brain. The next moment, Zhu Hui slapped him. A team of security guards finally arrived. The leader was the property manager, who was also the security captain. Jinshui Bay is a mid to high-end residential area, and the people living here are all well-known figures. So the security guards will occasionally take the initiative to note down the appearance and habits of some owners. I was afraid of accidentally angering the owner. Miss Kai, what happened? The leading security captain was shocked when he saw Kai King Yao looking aggrieved. The conflict here actually involved the little ancestor Kai King Yao. If I don't handle it well, I might end up losing my job. The next moment, Kai King Yao pointed in the direction of Zhu Hui and others. It was them. There was a charlatan telling fortunes in the neighborhood. They were his agents. I told them to get out, but not only did they not leave, they even beat me up. You are absolutely crazy. You actually dared to beat someone up in Jinshui Bay just for illegally entering our community. You guys should be sent to the police station. How dare you beat someone up? And what do you security guards do? Don't you know to check the identity of outsiders entering the community? All kinds of cats and dogs are released into the community. I'm telling you, you stinky security guards are also responsible for the beating I got today. Hearing this, several security guards looked unhappy. What are you looking at? Hurry up and control them and avenge me. Especially this brat. Give him a good beating. Break his hands and legs and throw him out. I will take the responsibility if anything happens. Forehead. Hearing this, the security captain hesitated. Anyone who is able to enter Jinshui Bay must have undergone identity verification, unless they are the owner or the owner's friend. Outsiders generally cannot enter at all. With this thought in mind, the cautious security captain also looked in the direction of Zhu Hui and the others. He had no impression of Zhu Hui, but he was stunned when he saw Liu Zuking. Why is it your family? He had a deep impression of Liu Zuking and Li Yuzhen. A first reason is that although Li Yuzhen is often cold and aggressive towards her son Zhu Hui, she is very nice to outsiders, especially the grassroots security guards who protect the property safety of the community owners. So Li Yuzhen was renovating recently. Because he was carrying a lot of stuff, Mr. Li had to keep asking the parking lot security guard to open the door for him. In fact, this is the security guard's duty, but Li Yuzhen felt bad about it. After finishing her work every day, Li Yuzhen would run to the small supermarket to buy cigarettes for the security guards. Although it is not a good cigarette, this is the first time that an owner cares about them. The grassroots. Over time, the security guards were naturally impressed by the owner. Needless to say, Liu Zuking has an outstanding appearance, and few men would not feel ashamed of themselves in front of her. Miss Liu, this? Several security guards looked at Liu Zuking in embarrassment. This is my boyfriend, he was the one who beat me up, but the situation is not as that ignorant idiot described. We are not in the same group as the fortune teller. I just wanted to join in the fun. This woman jumped out and started talking nonsense aggressively. So my man couldn't help but take action. Is that a problem? The next moment, Liu Zuking glanced at the security guards with her starry eyes. Boyfriend? Miss Li's boyfriend is Miss Li's son, so, is he the owner of the 9th floor of building No. 3? Chairman of the R&D department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory. The security captain swallowed hard. Are you Mr. Zhu? Yeah. It's me. Several security guards had obviously heard of the name of the owner of the 9th floor of building No. 3. Li Zhen introduced Li Zuking as her daughter-in-law to everyone else. Of course, the rest of the people also knew it. MSLA's son is the real owner of this 5-bedroom apartment. What are you still dithering about? Did you hear me telling you to take action? Break this kid's limbs and throw him out? I'll be responsible for anything that happens. Seeing that the security guards did not move, Kai Qingyao shouted angrily. The security captain smiled bitterly and shook his head. I'm sorry, Miss Guy. We can't help this matter. Can't control it? Kai Qingyao was stunned for a moment, then became furious. As the property management keep you guys as guard dogs just for free? I told you to protect the owner. But you dared to go against my will. Do you believe that my father will fire all of you tomorrow? But unfortunately, no matter how furious Kai Qingyao was, the security guards remained indifferent. This made Kai Qingyao so angry that she cursed them as watchdogs and useless people. But she couldn't do anything to Zhu Hua for the time being. Qingyao, what happened? At this moment, a burly figure suddenly walked towards this side. Brother, you're here. Someone beat me up, do you care? Hit you? This is Jin Shui Bei, who dares to hit you? The burly man was stunned. It was them. This man slapped me twice. I asked the guard dogs to break his hands and feet and throw him out, but they did nothing. I was so angry. Slapped Kai Qingyao twice? Kai Shaiji was shocked when he heard this. You know, Kai Qingyao is the apple of their family's eye. Who dares to hit this little ancestor? Normally, her father treated her like the apple of his eye. Kai Shaiji's cold gaze then fell on Zhu Hui and others. The security captain originally wanted to step forward to explain, but he was pushed away by Kai Shaiji. Boy, you dare to hit my sister. You are very brave. Not only will I beat her, I will also ask her to apologize to my sister, otherwise, your Kai family will also be implicated by her. Think about it yourself. Chapter 126, I fucking want you to apologize. Zhu Hui glanced at Kai Shaiji and spoke lightly. Wow, as the words fell, Kai Shaiji couldn't help but smile. He doesn't know how high the sky is or how deep the earth is. Even Kai Qingyao forgot the pain on her face and laughed so hard that she fell backwards, holding her stomach. Countless onlookers shook their heads. Isn't this kid too boastful? What is the size of the Kai family? That is one of the top 100 companies in Zhongcheng. How can it be trampled underfoot with just a few words? The next moment, Shaiji looked at Zhu Hua with interest. Our Kai family will be implicated. Who do you think you are? The Kai family is in the beer business. XILE beer is well known throughout Zhongcheng and even the northwest. There are many industries involved. Can you implicate them with just one word? Kai Shaiji thinks Zhu Hua is funny. He hasn't met such an ignorant young man for a long time. And you watchdogs, you watched my sister being bullied and yet you didn't stand up for her. Bang! After saying that, Kai Shaiji kicked the security captain in the stomach with a cold face. The security captain was in pain and couldn't express his suffering. Master Kai, this is Mr. Zhu, the chairman of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory. The property has regulations that we cannot interfere in disputes between owners. What? Is he really the chairman of Shen's pharmaceutical factory? Hearing this, Kai Qingyao was shocked. No wonder these security guards watched her being beaten but did not dare to intervene. However, Kai Qingyao soon regained some of her composure. So what even if he is the chairman of the Shen's pharmaceutical factory? In the Shen family's companies, the only people he couldn't afford to offend were those with the surname Shen. The others had better step aside, especially since my brother had already shown up. I will get this place back today no matter what. Brother, step on him. However, upon hearing this, Kai Shaiji did not move. But only frowned. Boss Zhu, the boss Zhu who worked with Yao Wang and Han Zichai to produce Beauty of the Moon and Shame on the Flowers. The next moment, Kai Shaiji waved his hand. Little sister, it seems that I can't get this place back for you today. The Shen family's R&D department has recently received $1 billion investment, and now it is backed by President Han Zichai, and it is in the limelight. If you want to deal with them, you have to wait for Dad to give the order, otherwise it will be easy to offend President Han. Hearing this, Kai Qingyao's face darkened. She didn't expect that even her brother was afraid of Zhu Hui, which made her even more unhappy. Should I just keep silent today? Don't worry, I will get you back at your feet in the future. It's never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. After saying this, Kai Shiji glanced at Zhu Hua. Today's matter ends here. Don. T think that our Kai family is afraid of you. It's just that my father is not here. So I won't bother with you. Just think of it as my little sister being blind and accidentally provoking you from now on. Our two families will not interfere with each other. After saying this, Kai Shiji wanted to take Kai Qingyao away. However, Kai Qingyao's eyes revealed a lot of dissatisfaction. Zhu Qian, wait, when I get to school, I'll find someone to take turns with you. Hearing this, Zhu Qian, who was beside Zhu Hua, trembled suddenly, and there was a hint of fear on her pretty face. At this moment, Liu Zuqing, who had remained silent the whole time, sneered. Excuse me, you two, did I tell you to leave? What do you mean? Kai Shiji paused slightly and narrowed his eyes. In his opinion, he had made such concessions today, and Zhu Hua would understand if he knew the current situation. There is no benefit at all for both sides to fight to the death. He continued to be aggressive and really pissed himself off. He, the eldest son of the Kai family, was no pushover. On the other side, Zhu Hua patted Liu Zuqing's bare hands, indicating that he would handle it himself, and said calmly, I said, apologize. Your sister bullied my sister like this, and threatened our Zhu Qian. She wanted to leave after getting to slap SNT. That too easy for you. Qingyao was obviously not convinced. If she wasn't scared off today, this woman would definitely cause trouble in the future if she wasn't around. No one could guarantee that Zhu Qian wouldn't suffer a setback. In order to solve the problem once and for all, Zhu Hua must give these brother and sister a slap in the face today. At this moment, Kai Shiji's eyebrows were twisted together. What else do you want? Zhu Hua curled his lips. Let her apologize to my sister, and I'll pretend nothing happened. Apologize? Don't even think about pushing your luck. Qingyao is the apple of her father's eye, so the humiliation she suffers is only temporary. Ask her to apologize. Zhu Hua, don't be so shameless. I want to keep things quiet for Mr. Han's sake, not for your sake. If you push too far, I don't mind breaking up with you. Dare your face? Zhu Hua laughed and took 2 steps forward. I'm going to say this right now. If you don't apologize, I'm going to ban your Kai family today. Ban the Kai family? Kai Shiji's eyelids twitched wildly, being provoked by Zhu Hua. He could no longer bear it. Idiot, even if you are the chairman of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory, you are not qualified to say such things. You are just the CEO of a small, broken company. Besides, who in the whole Chongqing knows a nobody like you? You want to shut down our business with just a few words. Why don't you just kill yourself? Do you really think that you can show off in front of our Kai family just by relying on Han Zhi's support? Do you really think you are someone important? Zhu Hua said calmly. If relying on President Han alone is not enough, what about adding Huanan Hai? When these words came out, Kai Shiji was stunned. South China Sea? The richest man in Zhongcheng, Huanan Hai. Stop making me laugh so hard. Do you know the richest man in Zhongcheng? Can you get the richest man to back you up? The next moment, the Kai brothers and sisters were all smiling. Qingyao was laughing so hard that she was shaking all over, and she didn't even realize she was revealing herself. I just think that a clown like Zhu Hua is so ignorant. He knew nothing about the power of the Kai family. If you can ban the Kai family, I will even sleep with you. No need to stay with me. I don't like arrogant women. Go ahead and slap yourself 100 times. After saying this, Zhu Hua did not speak again, but took out his cell phone and called Huanan Hai. Soon Huanan Hai answered the call. He and Shen Xinjin still need to use Zhu Hua, so as long as Zhu Hua does not have excessive demands, Huanan Hai can basically satisfy them. Although Zhu Hua was not clear about this, he understood the ill intentions of Mr. Hua and Shen Xinjin. So he knew that the two of them would not obey him in everything. At least within the principles, we will respond to requests. Mr. Hua, can I ban a company by using my power as the chairman? Hearing this, Huanan Hai on the other end of the phone was slightly stunned. Unless you are one of the top 10 in Zhongcheng, you can choose any of the ones outside the top 10. Hearing this, Zhu Hua relaxed. Then ban Zhongcheng Kai family, the Kai family that owns XILE beer. Can you give me a reason? Hearing this, Zhu Hua smiled and put the phone into Kai Shiji's hand. Answer the phone. Damn, I'm dying of laughter. What's going on? Huanan Hai is going to imitate you and threaten me. Who are you trying to scare? You're even asking Huanan Hai to help ban it. Why don't you just say you're Huanan Hai's father? Huanan Hai on the other end of the phone looked embarrassed instantly. Hello? I'm Huanan Hai. If you are Huanan Hai, I am Huanan Hai's grandfather. Stop pretending, I'm dead. After saying this, Kai Shiji threw the phone back into Zhu Hua's arms. At this moment, Zhu Hua's expression began to become playful. If you don't seek death, you won't die. You really know how to seek death. Boy, ban me. I will become a pauper in a minute. My reputation will be ruined. Not long after he finished speaking, Kaishiji's cell phone suddenly rang. Hello, Dad? What the hell did you do? Why did Mr. Huo order us to be banned, and all the companies in Zhongqing that have cooperated with our family have terminated their contracts? What on earth did you and Kai Qingyao do? Did you offend Hua Nanhai? Hai Shiji was stunned. Kai Qingyao was standing beside him, looking down on Zhu Hui with a domineering attitude. There are two types of people I admire most in my life. One is a fool like you who pretends to be cool, and the other is the idiot who cooperated with you on the phone call. Who are you acting for? How can you easily ban a giant like the Kai family? If you really push me to the limit, believe it or not, I'll ask my dad to give President Han some advice. Maybe President Han will cancel the cooperation with you for my dad's sake. My brother wants to keep things quiet, so just be happy. Zhu Hui didn't say anything, but just stared at the brother and sister coldly. The next moment, Kai Shiji hung up the phone. Zhu Hui said calmly, "When will you apologize?" "Apologize to your mother." "Brother, have you told Dad that I was bullied and asked him to find someone to deal with this tin? He's been so pretentious. If we don't deal with him, won't it seem a bit weak?" The next moment, Kai Shiji squeezed out 3 words with an ugly expression. "Apologize?" Kai Qingyao was stunned when she heard this, then she pointed at Zhu Hui's nose and laughed. "Did you hear that? My brother asked you to apologize." Snap! As soon as he finished speaking, Kai Shiji suddenly slapped Kai Qingyao in the face. "I asked you to fucking apologize." Chapter 127, Brother and Sister Break Up. Wow, as soon as these words were spoken, countless onlookers were shocked. They originally thought that the head-on confrontation between the Kai family and Zhu Hu would end with Zhu Hu suffering a defeat. After all, even the Zhang Chenshen family pharmaceutical factory and XILE are not that far apart. Unexpectedly, Kai Shiji would give up the confrontation at the beginning because he was afraid of Han Zhi. Just when everyone thought the farce was over, Zhu Hu had jumped out again and acted aggressively. At this time, many people thought that this kid was too ignorant of the immensity of heaven and earth. After all, the Kai family is a business that has been established for more than 20 years. XILE beer is famous all over the country. Even if it has been on the decline in recent years, it is not something that Zhu Hui can ban with just a few words. But the final result surprised countless people. "Brother, you hit me?" Kai Qingyao was the first to come back to her senses and looked at her brother in disbelief. Kai Shiji said dejectedly with an embarrassed look on his face. "Apologize. My father called just now and didn't say anything else. Just say that if this matter cannot be resolved, the consequences will be. Perhaps the Kai family and XILE beer will soon be eliminated from history." So Kai's father reprimanded Kai Shiji with the harshest words. He also said that no matter what, the other party's anger must be calmed down, no matter who the other party is. At this moment, Kai Shiji knew that he had really hit a wall. "Apologize? Why should I apologize to them? Does Dad support your statement? Does he really know Hua Nanhai? You don't think he can ban our company, do you?" Snap! Kai Shiji slapped him again and roared. "He can ban our company. Mr. Hua has made the announcement himself. If the consequences of this incident cannot be resolved today, perhaps starting from tomorrow, the Kai family will no longer exist, so apologize, so that you can still enjoy the same luxury in the future as you do now. You have to pay the price for provoking others yourself. Apologize. Otherwise, I will ask my father to impeach you from the family and send you to be Mr. Zhu's bedmate." Although Kai Shiji knew that Zhu Hu was the chairman of Shen's pharmaceutical factory, he had never called him Mr. Zhu before. It was not until this moment that Kai Shiji truly lowered his proud head. "Bed with me." Upon hearing this, Kai Qingyao stared in disbelief at her brother who had loved her so much in the past. Finally she bit her lips with tears in her eyes, and bowed deeply to Zhu Qian under her brother's murderous gaze. "I'm sorry, I was wrong, Mr. Zhu. Classmate Zhu Qian. I was too short-sighted and I didn't recognize the real talent. Please be magnanimous and let the Kai family go and give us a chance to live." At this moment, Kai Qingyao's thoughts of revenge completely disappeared. What qualifications do I have to take revenge on Zhu Hui, whom even my father couldn't afford to offend? Even if she relied on her charm to let those suitors take turns to vent their anger on Zhu Qian, what good would it do? The final outcome will only be 10,000 times more tragic than it is now. The Kai family cannot afford the cost of angering Zhu Hui. "Brother, will I forgive her or not?" Instead, Zhu Qian looked at Zhu Hui with confusion. "As you wish. Zhu Qian is still too kind." The girl couldn't bear the gap caused by Kai Qingyao's 180-degree change in attitude. Although she was also unhappy with Kai Qingyao, she saw Kai Qingyao being slapped twice by her own brother and forced to apologize. Zhu Qian couldn't help but feel some sympathy again. This is the difference between the girl and Zhu Hui. Although Zhu Hui is not a cold-blooded person, but in his heart, the principle is always that I will not offend others unless they offend me. If someone offends me, even if he dies, it has nothing to do with me. It's a very simple truth. If the person in power today was Kai King Yao, would she let Zhu Hui and the others go so easily? Maybe the final outcome would be that she would find someone to take it out on Zhu Qian. He might even find someone to beat Zhu Hui up in revenge, relying on his father's power and influence to bully others. So in Zhu Hui's eyes, such people are not worthy of sympathy. But Kai King Yao, let's keep our distance from each other from now on, that's it. Zhu Qian bit her red lips with her pearly teeth. After saying this, he made a look at Zhu Hui, obviously wanting to leave this farce. Seeing this, Zhu Hui nodded slightly, but said something to Kai Shiji before leaving. From an entrepreneur's perspective, you did the right thing. But from a brother's perspective, you are not a man. After saying that, the three of them walked away. From today on, Kai King Yao will most likely no longer have this habit of showing off. Of course, at the same time, a relationship between Kai Shiji and Kai King Yao can be said to have completely broken down. However, the fortune teller who appeared as the fuse at the beginning of the scene had disappeared without a trace. A day passed like this. In the evening, the little girl Zhu Qian took the initiative to invite her brother and sister-in-law to drink. Zhu Hui couldn't beat Zhu Qian, so he had to agree. Zhu Qian talked for most of the meal. Perhaps it was because what happened in the morning gave Zhu Qian some insights. The little girl spoke frequently and said many golden sentences. Zhu Hui and Liu Zuqing couldn't help laughing. However, Liu Zuqing did not refute Zhu Hui's actions too much. She had killed demons and monsters. Together, they are more than half of Zhongqing's permanent population. Liu Zuqing had long been numb to the empathy and sympathy of these ordinary people. This is normal after all. If she kills an enemy, she will have to bear the guilt, and her mind will be filled with stupid thoughts such as the other party's crime does not deserve death and she can just let him go. And Liu Zuqing wouldn't be alive today. Boss. Another bottle of beer. Okay, you've had too much to drink. Zhu Hui glared at the boss and then glanced at Liu Zuqing in embarrassment. Let's send her to the house in Jinshui Bay first. And then we can go back. Good. After all, there is a difference between Zhu Hui and his cousin Zhu Qian. Fortunately, Liu Zuqing is not an ordinary woman, and can easily pick up Zhu Qian. When he brought Zhu Qian to the door of his house, the secretary Hiram was already shivering with cold. Zhongcheng is a coastal city after all, so the temperature difference between day and night is quite large. In addition, it was already the beginning of autumn. And Zhu Hui, the unscrupulous boss, made his secretary wait at the door for more than half an hour. It would be strange if Hiram was not cold. Boss, why did you come just now? I'm almost freezing to death. Hiram looked at Zhu Hui with tears in his eyes, and sniffed his red, frozen nose with a wronged look. I'm sorry, my cousin ranked too much. I have to trouble you to take care of her tonight. Chapter 128, Are you worried that I will leave you? Is there a bonus? Zhu Hui gave Hiram a blank look without saying anything. The little girl then shrank her head in disappointment. At this time, he noticed from the corner of his eye that Zhu Qian, who was drunk, was actually being held easily in Liu Zuqing's arms. Hiram was stunned for a moment. Miss Liu is so strong. Stop talking nonsense and go into rest. There is hot water in the main bathroom. The other water heaters are not turned on. If you want to wash up, go to the main bathroom. Zhu Hui didn't give her a chance to ask more questions. Zhu Qian's bedroom is the innermost one. The bed is not small. It's enough for the two of you if you don't want to sleep with her. You can sleep in the living room. After giving a few instructions, Zhu Hui and Liu Zuqing went downstairs and walked towards Qingjiwu Street. It's so cold in the middle of the night. Who would want to stand in the corridor and chat? In addition, Liu Zhen made more than a dozen phone calls to her just to do it. If the two of them don't go back, I'll be worried to death. On the way back, Zhu Hui originally wanted to take a taxi, but Liu Zuqing raised her hand to interrupt Zhu Hui. It's not far to walk back anyway. Why don't we take a walk and talk? Zhu Hui was stunned. Hawk, where did you learn that word? Liu Zuqing curled her red lips. After all, I have been in your world for a month or so, and have read so many books. Is it difficult for me to learn a few common words? Hearing this, Zhu Hui chuckled. That's true. The next moment, Liu Zuqing suddenly turned around, fixed her eyes on Zhu Hui and asked, I want to know what position I hold in your heart now. This question came somewhat suddenly, but on second thought, it does fit with Liu Zuqing's straightforward speaking style. Zhu Hui was stunned, not understanding the meaning of Liu Zuqing's sudden question. Maybe it's the irreplaceable person? As he spoke, Zhu Hui's expression suddenly became gentle. After returning from the hot spring hotel that day, we slept together every night even though we didn't do anything. I felt at ease in my eyes. You are already my family. I don't ask you to stand at the door and look out when I go out in the morning. Nor do I ask you to warm me a bowl of hot soup when you come back at night. I just hope that in this life, which is neither too long nor too short, you are the first person I see when I go out in the morning. and the last person I see before I close my eyes when I come back at night. No matter how many times the flowers bloom and fall, or how many times the sun rises and sets, you will always be by my side. Always by my side." Hearing this, Liu Zuking's expression softened a little. "You're so smooth talking. When I lost my memory, I guess that's how you tricked me, right?" Zhu Hua laughed dryly, and both of them deliberately avoided the experience in Mulberry Village. "I have something to tell you. It's actually related to what the fortune teller said today. There are some things I think you need to know." Fortune teller? The fortune teller's words were mostly nonsense. The only thing people could remember was that he could tell Zhu Hui at a glance and didn't know Liu Zuking's actual age. But these can also be explained as coincidence. "You don't want to tell me your real age, do you? Don't worry. I can accept it even if you are 1800 years old." When these words came out, Liu Zuking was stunned at first. Then she glared at Zhu Hui with a sullen face. "Go away, you are so unruly, can you be more steady?" After being scolded, Zhu Hui became a little more serious. At this moment, Liu Zuking suddenly took the initiative to grab Zhu Hui's hand. "You should have known this before. I am from another world. Are you human? Aren't you Zulian? Can you please have a few words? This kid Zhu Hui is just a mean guy." Seeing that Liu Zuking was showing signs of getting angry, he finally stopped trying to act funny and nodded obediently. "In this world, I am the leader of the demon tribe." "Leader?" Zhu Hui actually had some guesses about this a long time ago, so I wasn't too surprised. If she were not in a high position of power, Liu Zuking would not have developed such an arrogant personality. You can tell this just by looking at her temperament that belongs only to someone in a high position. The next moment, Liu Zuking continued calmly. "The world I live in is not as peaceful as yours. Your world, although it is not unified, has different tribes because of different races. A tribe gradually developed into a country and developed its own national culture. Indeed, the situation on Earth today is just as Liu Zuking described. Whether it is CN or USA, they have different national cultures. It seems to be correct to describe it as a group derived from a tribe. It is precisely because of the concept of the country that laws, systems and institutions have emerged, forming the current society. Unfortunately, in my world, it is probably still in the first step, that is, the tribal stage. No matter if it's the demon race, human race, or devil race in that world, none of them have their own system." Liu Zuking glanced at Zhu Hui. "I wonder if you can understand what I mean." Zhu Hui nodded slightly. "If Snow Lotus can become a spirit, then other strange creatures can also be accepted. You mean to say that the demon race does not have a clear belief in national culture? So if the leader changes, even many of the systems you established before will collapse in an instant." Liu Zuking nodded. "Good. If one day the news of my demise is heard among them, the rest of the powerful demon race will be able to overturn the rules I have set in a matter of minutes. And at that time, the Snow Lotus clan will also be expelled from the top demon clan families. In this way, the so-called Snow Lotus clan would become the top family in the demon clan precisely because the demon clan has a leader like Liu Zuking. That's why when one person succeeds, the whole family will benefit. Right? You mean, you're a little worried about those relatives and friends? Friends and relatives?" Liu Zuking chuckled. "There is no such concept in my world. Snow Lotus is a plant, not a social animal, although I have 2 younger sisters. At best they can only be considered twin lotuses. After transformation, we have different blood flowing in our bodies. For me, what's the concept of relatives and friends?" Zhu Hui nodded, not quite understanding. He didn't understand what Liu Zuking's purpose was in suddenly revealing all these words today. "I just said that in that world, the world is divided into 3 parts. The human race is the weakest, but extremely cunning. Although the human race itself is not a big threat, after thousands of years of land disputes and wars, countless races on the land of Tianchuan continent have been exterminated, and only the human race has survived, and has continued to stubbornly compete with the demons and monsters until now. As for the demons and monsters, because of their strong reproductive abilities, they have been fighting for power for thousands of years, and they are also at odds with each other externally." Liu Zuking rubbed her brows. "I have a clear mind. Although the human race is weak now, if the demons and monsters continue to ignore the human race, it may not be long before the human race becomes stronger. Just look at the fact that the rulers of your world are humans, and that's enough to make it clear. So no matter which of the 2 races of demons and monsters wins in the end in this struggle that has lasted for thousands of years, I am sure that in the end, the human race will rule the profound Sky continent. Profound, Tuan continent." Zhu Hui silently memorized the name in his heart. Ever since he met Lin Kingle and Ji, he understood one thing from Liu Zuking. That was the love they had in their dreams. And it was Liu Zuking's experience in the world of mortals. At that time, Liu Zuking had no memories of the Ice Lotus Empress. That's why Zhu Hui took advantage of the opportunity to establish a relationship with him. But for now, the demons still regard the monsters as a thorn in their side, especially since Yu Ziyuan, the leader of this generation of demons, has already broken through the heavenly Tao. Even if I am at my peak state, it is difficult for me to fight against Yu Ziyuan, not to mention that I have lost half of my cultivation after coming here. Zhu Hua didn't know how strongly Yu Zuking was at her peak, but he can be sure that the things like climbing walls and flying with swords and TV dramas are real. It was a piece of cake for the Ice Lotus Empress. Her goal. At this moment, Zhu Hua's Adam's apple rolled unconsciously. He couldn't imagine how terrifying Yu Ziyuan was. But the next moment, Zhu Hua breathed a sigh of relief. But luckily, as long as you live in our world now, Yu Ziyuan won't be able to find you with your most important friend Lin Qingdelin Ji by your side. You don't have any reason to go back, right? Hearing this, Liu Zuking rarely showed a half-smile expression. Are you worried that I will leave you? Chapter 129, The Most Important Family. Are you worried that Liu Zuking will leave you? Zhu Hua didn't know what Liu Zuking meant and became a little nervous. It started from the time he was willing to serve as the chairman of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory. It seemed like everything was for Yu Zuking. If the Ice Lotus Empress had not appeared in his life, perhaps Zhu Hui would prefer to be a lazy guy. You can live a good life if you just give up. So who would work hard for no reason? Somewhat. Hearing this, Liu Zuking shrugged her shoulders. Right now, I am not actually worried about the people of the demon race in Shanchuan continent. Their lives are no different from grass to me. What I am really worried about is my destined enemy. I'm afraid he might do something bad to you. Faithful enemy. Bad for me. Could it be the demonic Moon Lord? Hearing this, Liu Zuking nodded. In fact, these things are too far away from the real world where Zhu Hua lives today. Liu Zuking had never thought of confessing to Zhu Hua so early. But what the fortune teller said today made Liu Zuking prepare for a rainy day. She also began to worry. Seeing Liu Zuking nodded slightly, Zhu Hua raised an eyebrow. But isn't that demonic Moon Lord from your profound Tian continent? Even if he is your destined enemy, these two worlds are a great distance apart. Can the demonic Moon Lord find you? Have no idea. Liu Zuking sighed. It's just that I'm very worried. I'm very worried that this guy will suddenly appear. He has endless tricks. I wouldn't be surprised even if he came to this world. I am very afraid that he will destroy our current life, to be honest. Although living with you is very dull, I prefer this kind of dull life filled with fireworks. Hearing this, Zhu Hua suddenly felt sorry for the woman. According to Liu Zuking's cold personality, if it didn't really involve the people or things she cared about, even if the other person was lying dead on the street, the Ice Lotus Empress would probably not feel any ripples in her heart. This shows that Zhu Hui also exists in her heart. Perhaps in Liu Zuking's past experiences, 7 out of 10 were about killing and cold-blooded rule. Even if she became the Ice Lotus Empress admired by countless people, I guess Liu Zuking has never been truly happy from the bottom of her heart. Because at that time, she had never thought about what happiness was. During this time in the real world, whether it is the nagging mother-in-law Liu Zhen or Zhu Hua's playful personality, all of this made Liu Zuking feel like opening her heart and relaxing for the first time. When her spirit was in the profound Tian continent, it was like a taut string. He is placed with high hopes by countless ancestors and regarded as a patron saint by countless people. But no one has ever considered Liu Zuking's feelings. No one has ever thought about whether Ice Lotus Empress Liu Zuking really likes to live like this. Although my interactions with Zhu Hui were dull, they were all ordinary daily routines. But Yu Zuking can feel warmth and happiness from the trivial fragments of life. Are you afraid that someone will destroy our current living situation? Liu Zuking nodded. She was probably really worried. There were indescribable complex emotions written between his brows. The next moment, Zhu Hua said seriously, "And I promise you that if anyone wants to hurt you, he must step over my body. Even if the demon Yu Ziyuan comes, I will face it with you. Even if I'm just a cannon fodder, he has to kill me first. Even if I die, I will buy you time to live. Even if it's only for a second." After these words were spoken, Liu Zuking was stunned for a moment, then lowered her head and stammered, "Stop talking nonsense, ba ba ba. No, that's what I really think. This kind of curse cannot be cast casually in the Tianquan continent. Once a person makes this kind of oath, it usually doesn't take long for him to get into trouble. I don't want to be a widow for you. And promise me that you will never leave me." Zhu Hua chuckled. For some unknown reason, he suddenly had the courage to hug Liu Zuking's shoulders. Unexpectedly, the woman did not resist. After a slight struggle, she leaned hesitantly like a little bird in Zhu Hua's arms. "Do you want to know what my mentality was when I first came to this world?" Zhu Hua nodded, and Liu Zuking began to tell the story. "At the beginning, after finishing my earthly training, I suddenly felt that not only did my aura not have the intention of breaking through the heavenly Tao, but my realm was even a little disordered. At that time, I found out that I was pregnant. I was shocked and mobilized the Tiantan realm to spy on your life. I found out that you actually betrayed me in the near future. In a rage, I lost my balance and tore through the void, and came to your world. I swore at that time that I would make you, a heartless man, pay the price. That night, the two chatted almost until the early morning. As Liu Zuking was chatting, she felt sleepy and finally fell asleep in Zhu Hua's arms. If the monsters on the Tianquan continent saw this, they would definitely be shocked. Liu Zuking was extremely alert to everything. Even if there was a maid in the room, she would never be able to sleep, but she actually slept so soundly in Zhu Hua's arms. This shows that she really opened her heart to Zhu Hua. And also shows that Liu Zuking was really unprepared for Zhu Hua. When Zhu Hua held Liu Zuking and pushed open the door of the house on Kangwu Street, the lights in the living room were still bright. You can guess without asking that Liu Zhen must be worried that her son and daughter-in-law have not had enough rest. Zhu Hui was originally planning to come over and say hello. Who would have thought that I would actually turn off the lights in the living room, which clearly meant that I didn't want to talk. Zhu Hui could only chuckle and secretly sigh that the old lady was really too arrogant. He was clearly waiting for me, but when he saw that his son was safe and sound, he became a little angry again. He carried Liu Zuking to the bed. Zhu Hui stared at the beautiful face that was enough to make any man crazy, and he was in a daze for a long time. In fact, I never thought that I could find such a beautiful girlfriend. It is my honor to know you and get to know you. Liu Zuking, although your happiness is simple, I will do my best to protect this ordinary happiness. After saying this, Zhu Hui hesitated for a moment. He lowered his head and gently touched those red lips. I don't know if it's an illusion. At this moment, Zhu Hui felt that her delicate face was filled with a touching and gentle smile. Zhu Hui did not take any further action. I just tiptoed, closed the door, and went into the bathroom to wash up. No one noticed that in the dark room, the Ice Lotus Empress ears turned red. Until the surroundings are completely quiet, she opened her bright eyes again and murmured to herself. Zhu Hui, thank you, it is my honor to meet you. You are also my most important family member. Chapter 130. Postponed release. Nothing happened that night, and when they woke up in the morning, they were back to normal. However, Liu Zhen always felt that something was not right. A pair of eyes looked back and forth between Zhu Hu and Liu Zuking from time to time. After all, Liu Zhen is over 50 years old and has a lot of experience. Even if we can't analyze anything special, something definitely happened between the two people. However, everything about Zhu Hu and Liu Zuking remained the same, and Liu Zhen herself didn't know what had changed. But she was sure that last night was not like usual. Did you two do something bad last night? Why did I feel like you two were acting weird when I woke up this morning? Strange? Zhu Hu felt guilty. After all, he didn't know that Liu Zuking had woken up later. Mom, what are you talking about? What else can happen between us? Last night, that little girl Zhu Qian drank too much, and we wasted time sending her back to Jinshui Bay on the way. We thought we could just walk back and relax, so we dawdled a little late. Besides, we are both adults after all, and we have children. What else are you worried about? Liu Zhen glanced at her son suspiciously. It's because I don't know what's wrong. That's why Liu Zhen couldn't tell the exact place. But after all, last night was the first time Liu Zuking opened her heart to Zhu Hui. Whether in the eyes of Zhu Hui, who was guilty of a crime, or in the heart of Liu Zuking, who had excellent facial control, a relationship between the two has made substantial progress, which is tacitly understood. This is a collision of souls. And people of Liu Zhen's age probably won't understand it. It's fine as long as you two didn't do that last night. You should think it over clearly. Xiaoyu is a pregnant woman. If you mess around, you will end up with the extinction of the Zhu family. And if you hurt the baby or cause miscarriage at a time like this, you should consider whether you can afford the consequences. I knew that I was going to use that matter to threaten me again. Am I so hungry and thirsty? Zhu Huan nodded helplessly. Don't worry, even if I'm out buying sex, I won't do anything stupid at this critical moment. Snap? Zhu Hu thought this sentence would put his mother at ease. Unexpectedly, just as he finished speaking, he was slapped twice on the back of his head. One slap came from his mother Liu Zhen, and the other slap came from Liu Zuking, who was sitting quietly next to him. Liu Zhen glared fiercely. What nonsense are you talking about? Don't you know your limits? In half a year, you'll be a father. But why are you so immature? How dare you say anything? Oh, I was just giving an example. Liu Zuking said calmly. I don't think you are giving an example. I think you already had this idea in mind, right? It's just that you blurted it out today and said what you really thought. Faced with the two women attacking from both sides, Zhu Hua had no choice but to bite the bullet, pretending to be deaf and dumb while gulping down his porridge. He took a bun and trotted downstairs. If he stays any longer, I'm afraid I'll have to accuse him of something he doesn't deserve and give him a good beating. The agate green Mercedes Maybach is already waiting quietly downstairs. When Zhu Hui saw Hu Zaiji, he greeted him with a wry smile. Hu Zaiji saw the big boss, disheveled and chewing a bun, and he roughly guessed what had happened. He already had a family and a career, so he knew that status was not important in family relationships, especially when you live with your parents. I didn't expect that Mr. Zhu, who is so good at handling things in the company, would be afraid of parents. Mr. Zhu must have been criticized at a family struggle meeting early in the morning, right? Hu Zaiji chuckled in his heart, but remained expressionless on the surface. He took the initiative to help Zhu Hui open the car door. When passing by Jin Shui Bei, Zhu Hui thought of Zhu Qian and called his cousin. Zhu Qian on the other side was obviously not awake yet, and her tone was a little soft. "Brother, what are you doing? It's not nice of you to disturb someone's sleep so early in the morning. My mother and your sister-in-law are at home if you are hungry. Come to my house for dinner." Jin Shui Bei is only about 3 traffic lights away from Kinjwu Street. "Remember to eat on time in the morning. I am going to work." "Good." The next moment, Zhu Hui was about to hang up the phone. Unexpectedly, on the other end, the voice of the secretary Hiron with a heavy nasal tone came. "Ms. Zhu, don't forget what I asked you to do." "Huh?" Zhu Hui narrowed his eyes. What does Hiron want to ask Zhu Qian to do? The two of them only stayed together for one night. Could it be that they had developed some kind of battlefield friendship? Although Zhu Hui guessed that Zhu Qian was very good at making friends. But I didn't expect that the two women could become close friends in just one night. "Oh, by the way, brother. I woke up in the middle of the night last night and woke up Sister Hiron. We played games in the house until about 5 in the morning, and Sister Hiron didn't rest all night either. Why don't you give her a day off today? If that doesn't work, can you just ask for a day off for my sake?" "Wow." Zhu Hui raised his eyebrows. The young secretary Hiron is amazing. It hasn't been long, but I have learned to find the boss's weak spot and know, but it is easier to ask for leave by starting with the people around him. However, Zhu Hui admitted that he was in the wrong after all. It was very unkind of him to make his secretary Hiron wait in the cold wind for half an hour last night. In addition, he also knew that Zhu Qian was not honest and liked to make trouble. I guess as soon as she wakes up, she will make a mess in the house and it will be difficult for Hiron to even rest. Okay. I approve. Let Hiron have a good rest today. Consider it as a day off for her so that she can play with you. After saying this, Zhu Qian and Hiron on the other end of the phone cheered. Zhu Hui smiled and hung up the phone. "Hiron and my cousin are really suitable to be friends. These two girls have similar personalities, and their preferences and work styles are also very different. If Zhu Qian can learn a little more calmness from Hiron, it will be worth my efforts to make them friends." Hearing this, Hu Zaiji in the front row nodded. Although Hiron is young, it is rare for her to have such execution ability among the young people who had joined the company. In addition, Hiron has solid professional theoretical knowledge, but lacks some practical ability. From the current perspective, with a little training, it can be considered qualified as a secretary to the board of directors. Zhu Hui nodded, but didn't comment further. Hiron is not Zhu Hui's confidant for the time being. After all, when Zhu Hui first extended the olive branch, the secretary Hiron did not choose Mr. Zhu at first. Instead, it was Hu Zaiji, the ignored tool man, who sent a letter of allegiance that evening. Although Zhu Hui knew that he had made drastic reforms at the last meeting and obtained $1 billion cooperation, which impressed countless senior executives, this probably also made Hiron more hesitant about Mr. Shen. But unless Hiron really wants to stand on his side. Otherwise, Zhu Hui would never entrust the young secretary with such an important task. Admittedly, it is not easy to find a capable secretary among the young people, but if Hiron continues to remain neutral, Zhu Hui had no choice but to give up on this young secretary in his work. Perhaps he inherited the genes from old Zhu. Zhu Hui is very clear about public and private affairs. Just then, Zhu Hui's phone suddenly rang. "Hello? President Han?" The call was from Han Zhi. Zhu Hui was actually slightly surprised for a moment. Although the two sides have established a cooperative relationship over the past half-month. But after the second round of stability testing, Han Zhi was busy getting the assembly line into production. The two rarely communicated on the phone. If there is something, Han Zhi will basically step on the accelerator and go directly to the R&D department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory. At this moment, Zhu Hui narrowed his eyes. Something must have happened. "Mr. Zhu, I have something bad to tell you. The release of The Moon Shocks the Flowers, originally scheduled for the Mid-Autumn Festival, may be postponed." Chapter 131. Do you dare to be more stingy? Why? As soon as these words came out, Zhu Hui frowned. Although the moon is so beautiful that the flowers are ashamed, it has not been deliberately promoted. However, because the Shen family's R&D department got a new boss, it also started an unprecedented $1 billion cooperation. In the entrepreneurial circle, this skin care product, which has not yet been launched on the market, has been shrouded in mystery. Countless people know that behind Han Zhi is the king of medicine in Zhangcheng. If Han Zhi were to consider cooperative investment, it would definitely not be done without a purpose. What's more, the entire process of Shen Wenwen's recovery from disfigurement was even investigated. Therefore, in the entrepreneurial circle, the beauty that eclipses the moon and the flowers has become famous. For some reason, the Food and Drug Administration rejected our 3-round test request, saying that there are many new drugs on the market recently. We need to get in line. The earliest we can do this is to go through 3 rounds of stability tests by the Food and Drug Administration on the 20th. What? Hearing this, Zhu Hua frowned. Previously, Zhu Hua and Han Zhi had planned to launch the product during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Therefore, Han Zhi also notified the circle on a small scale and held 2 or 3 media interviews, all of which revealed the intention to launch the product during the Mid-Autumn Festival. If it is postponed now, the impact will be huge. Boss Han, logically speaking, you are also one of the top companies in Zhangcheng. The Food and Drug Administration knows that you have been working in this industry for so many years. They should not make things difficult for you, no matter who they are. Besides, even under normal circumstances, it would be easy for you to cut in line. How could this happen? Indeed, logically speaking, the Food and Drug Administration should not make things difficult for us. Han Zhi was also silent for a moment, and said with a little helplessness, "But I made many calls and it still didn't work. I think it's not the rules that are restricting it, but someone is interfering." Is there someone interfering? Zhu Hua's tone was a little unfriendly at first. After all, Han Zhi is in charge of publicity and the assembly line. But at this moment, I heard these 4 words. He probably figured out who was behind this. You know who it is without asking. I haven't offended many people in Zhangcheng since my debut. If it was the owner of XILE beer yesterday, Tai King Yao's father, the other party would be blocked by himself in minutes. Just to scare him. It is clear that Zhu Hua is not just a simple pharmaceutical company boss. If you take revenge without knowing Zhu Hua's true background, you will only die faster. So it definitely wasn't him. Right now, the only person who can stand up against me in Zhangcheng is that guy. It seems that he hasn't given up the idea of impeaching me. Are you talking about? Han Zhi on the other end of the phone was stunned. And the next moment his tone gradually became colder. Zhu Hua made the final decision. Yes, who else could it be except that idiot Mr. Shen? Boss Han, this matter is not your fault. Let me handle it. Don't change the launch date of the new product. I will take care of it with the Food and Drug Administration. After saying that, Zhu Hua hung up Han Zhi's call without explaining to President Han how he was going to settle the matter. Anyway, Zhu Hua learned a saying from Lao Tzu since he was a child: there are always more solutions than problems. What's more, Zhu Hua now has countless methods in his hands. With this thought in mind, Zhu Hua sneered and said, "Since Hua Nan Hai and Fatty Shen want to use me for something, wouldn't it be a bit unfair to them if I don't give them a good time? The Food and Drug Administration can deny face to Mr. Han, who is worth tens of billions, but do they dare to deny face to Mr. Hua, who is worth hundreds of billions or trillions? Moreover, he is a guest of honor at BA Hua Bank. In fact, at this level, MRJN seems to be more useful. Today I am going to use the power of the tiger to bully others. Uzaiji, turn around. Let's go to the Food and Drug Administration now." Uzaiji didn't hear the content of the call clearly and was a little confused. "What are you doing, boss? Go show off. Genius, a genius. Wang Yang, I really didn't expect that you have such a talent for mischief. With my reputation, it would not be easy for the Food and Drug Administration to block the production license of Beauty of the Moon. I didn't expect you to find another way and talk to the inspector." Master Shen's face was flushed, and he patted Wang Yang's shoulders twice excitedly. It really is a wave that is stuck on Han Zhi's lifeline. It seems understandable that the Food and Drug Administration has delayed issuing the production license for Beauty of the Moon and 3 rounds of stability tests, under the pretext that there are so many drugs waiting in line for testing. Sure enough, it was just as Zhu Hua had guessed. The shadow of Mr. Shen is behind the blocking of the production license of Beauty of the Moon, and shame on the flowers. Wang Yang also had a smirk on his face. Second Master. This is not difficult to understand after all. Even if those leaders who are familiar with you have received benefits on the surface, you and Mr. Han are both Chongqing enterprises. If you fight each other internally, they should have sat on the mountain and watched the tiger. It is certainly not appropriate to interfere recklessly. But if you contact the inspectors and ask them to explain the difficulties, those leaders will naturally have an excuse, and this will not embarrass your friends at the Food and Drug Administration. It can also make Han Zhi suffer a loss without being able to speak out. Everything still has to be done according to procedures after all, no matter how famous Han Zhi is. Does it mean that others have to wait in line for production permits, but she can rely on her reputation to get the green light and jump the queue? Hearing this, the smile on Mr. Shen's face widened 3 points. Having you alone is better than having thousands of troops. I have seen countless young talents over the years, but to be honest, I don't think of them as highly as you. You are a good talent. Very good, Wang Yang. You are very good, and you will definitely achieve great things in the future. Wang Yang smiled flatteringly. Thank you for the compliment, master. All of this depends on your cultivation. I am just a young sapling. Only under your protection can I have the opportunity to thrive. It is said that there are many good horses, but few good horse trainers. A good horse trainer like you who has a keen eye for talent is truly rare. Business mutual praise. If Su Hui were here, he would probably laugh out loud. Lao Zhu, a cadre who had worked in the system for decades, could tell at the first sight that Wang Yang was a man of ill intentions. People like Wang Yang, even if they can achieve something in this life, most likely they will do it through shady means. It is obvious that Wang Yang has spent all his energy on evil ways. Mr. Shen has high hopes for him. I'm afraid he will cry miserably in the end. The next step is the most important part. Since Han Zhi is willing to invest such a huge amount of money and price and beauty of the moon and shame on the flowers, it is enough to explain everything. The next moment, Mr. Shen looked at Wang Yang. They must get the formula from Zhu Qian at all costs, and then register it before Zhu Hui. We have an advantage. Wang Yang chuckled. Don't worry, I've asked my friends to find out Zhu Qian's schedule. That girl has come to Zhongcheng because school will start next week. I'll go contact her right now and try to get the formula for Beauty of the Moon within a day. Well, this matter is the top priority of the whole plan. It all depends on you. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Zhu Qian woke up, glanced at Hirong who was still sleeping beside her, and rubbed her swollen head. Yesterday, I saw my brother slap Kai Qingyao and his sister in the face. Although it felt great at the time, when I was about to leave, I saw Kai Qingyao looking aggrieved. For a moment, Zhu Qian felt a conflicting feeling of sympathy. After all, she is a young girl who is ignorant of the ways of the world and has not yet entered society. I remember my brother told me to go to my aunt's house for dinner after I woke up. Zhu Qian yawned again. Just then, she found that there were more than a dozen missed calls on her mobile phone. There were 7 or 8 text messages below the missed calls, all of which were quick reply messages in the content. The other party introduced themselves. Wang Yang, why does this name sound familiar? Zhu Qian was stunned for a moment. The next moment, another call came in. Hello? Hello? Did you call the wrong number? I don't think I know you. Beautiful lady, please wait a moment. Although you don't know me, we know a mutual friend. Zhu Hui is your cousin, right? Zhu Qian was stunned at this. Are you my cousin's friend? No, I'm Zhu Hui's cousin actually. We are related. My mother is Zhu Mingyuan's sister and Zhu Hui's aunt. No wonder I said the name sounded so familiar. At this moment, Zhu Qian slapped the back of her head. Of course she had heard of the name of the pretentious little Prince Wang Yang. Zhu Hui and Zhu Qian have been close since childhood. During the holidays, if their aunt and uncle plan to go out and enjoy life alone, they will leave Zhu Qian at their aunt Li Yuzen's house. This is why Zhu Qian and her cousin Zhu Hui are so familiar with each other. Although Wang Yang seldom dealt with Zhu Hui, every time they met, they ended up parting on bad terms. That's why Zhu Hui would also tell these kinds of stories about stupid relatives as a joke. In this way, Zhu Qian formed some impression of Wang Yang. Are you looking for my brother? Or me? Looking for you. I'm downstairs. Building 3, Jin Shui Bay, right? I'm looking for you because I have something important to discuss with you in person. Want to discuss important matters with me? Zhu Qian always felt that she and Wang Yang were two completely unrelated people. What is this guy discussing with me? You come down first. I heard the last sentence had a pleading tone. Zhu Qian said helplessly, then please wait a moment, I'll pack up and go downstairs. After saying this, the girl thought about it and decided to send a text message to her brother Zhu Hui. Brother, Wang Yang is here to see me. If you have anything to remind me, reply quickly. If you need my help, send me a red envelope quickly. Although it is not clear why Wang Yang took the initiative to go find himself instead of his cousin, but Zhu Qian had a hunch that it was most likely related to Zhu Hui's company's business. Because when chatting yesterday, Zhu Hui also mentioned the farce that would happen during the investment attraction, on the first day when he became the chairman of the Shen family's RD department. When he was 18, he heard those golden words that slapped people in the face, which made Zhu Qian exclaim WTF. At the same time, Zhu Hui just arrived at the door of the Food and Drug Administration. As soon as I got off the car, I received a text message from Zhu Qian. Why did Wang Yang go to see Zhu Qian? Seeing the content of the text message, Zhu Hui was also confused. However, he couldn't figure out Wang Yang's purpose. So he gave the girl a red envelope of 2 yuan. The next year I thought, it's almost mid-autumn festival anyway, so I should send more. So I added another 50-cent red envelope and left a message. First, see what that guy wants from you. The next moment, the screen flashed. The other party received your red envelope. Zukion Kion, to pieces? Brother, do you dare to be more stingy? As soon as the message was sent, a push notification flashed on the screen. The other party withdrew a message. Of the 2 original red envelopes, only one was left, which had been opened. Before another Wumao member Zukion Kion could even click, she was withdrawn by Zhu Hui. Zukion Kion. Chapter 132, No Good Intentions. After the girl went downstairs, she saw Wang Yang, who was sweating profusely in a small suit. After all, it was summer, and Wang Yang was wrapped up in a fully armed outfit. It's a lie to say that if you calm down you will feel cooler. Hey, brother Wang Yang, after my brother rejected your investment, did you go and sell insurance? I saw Zukion Kian walking towards this side leisurely. A hint of displeasure flashed across Wang Yang's eyes. This little bastard made me wait for so long, and he even dared to tease me? It was about to break out. Wang Yang suddenly remembered that the girl in front of him was most likely the one who provided Zhu Hui with the recipe for Beauty of the Moon. If he offended Zukion Kian and didn't get the recipe, Mr. Chen would probably chop Wang Yang into pieces and feed him to the dogs. With this thought in mind, Wang Yang put on a kind expression. Eon Kian, good afternoon. I hope I didn't disturb you from studying. You disturbed me while I was studying? The school hasn't started yet, and I don't hold books every day. Brother Wang Yang, let's talk business. We are not very familiar with each other. What do you want to talk to me about? Hearing this, a look of embarrassment flashed across Wang Yang's face. In fact, he and Zukion Kian had never had any dealings with each other before. Although they are related, the two people are completely unrelated relatives. It's like this. It's quite hot outside at noon. Why don't we find a place to eat? I'll treat you, and we can talk while we eat. Oh, okay. I haven't eaten anyway. Wang Yang quickly said enthusiastically. Why don't we go to the steak buffet at XINGKOU? There are fewer people there at noon. Wipe. I'll eat steak with you. People who don't know me might think that this princess is blind and has fallen for you. XINGKOU is too close to the university town. I don't want to go to the school. Let's go to Guanqian International Shopping Center. Zukion Kian is used to talking to her brother Zhu Hua. This is not the tone of negotiation. It suddenly seems like the guest is taking the initiative. However, Wang Yang was guilty and needed help, so he actually agreed obediently. Seeing this, Zukion Kian glanced at Wang Yang in confusion. Could it be that this perverted and pretentious guy has set his eyes on this princess? Could it be that he failed to persuade his brother Zhu Hui to invest? Is Wang Yang planning to marry into the family of the crooked-mouthed Dragon King? Thinking this way, it seems very possible. If he could capture me, it would be equivalent to capturing the little princess of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory. Could it be that Wang Yang is planning to use a roundabout tactic to make us closer? Okay, Guanqian International Shopping Center is also fine. Do you want to eat anything? We are all relatives. And we love each other as a family. If you want to eat anything, please don't hesitate to ask me. Fuck. Who the hell loves you? Zukion Kian widened her beautiful eyes. This statement is ambiguous. Why do I feel more and more that Wang Yang has ulterior motives? What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something on my face? Wang Yang saw Zukion Kian staring at him blankly. He also smiled and put on a big boy smile that he thought was sunny and handsome. Zukion Kian's face suddenly darkened. Brother Wang Yang, I mean, can we keep a little distance? My mother taught me since I was a child that boys and girls should keep a safe distance. What? We were 1 meter apart. 2 meters is the safe distance. Move over there. Wang Yang didn't know what Zukion Kian meant, but he still did as she said. Before getting in the car, Zukion Kian didn't give Wang Yang the chance to open the passenger door and act like a gentleman. He quickly got into the back seat. Or did you say you wanted to go for dinner? Guanqian International Shopping Center. Oh, fine, and be polite to me today. Eat whatever you want. If I didn't make a reservation in advance, we could go to Zhangbian Pavilion for dinner. Going to Zhangbian Pavilion for dinner is just a pretentious courtesy, which makes it seem more solemn. Wang Yang didn't tend to spend tens of thousands on a meal. However, he never dreamed that the consumption in the ordinary private rooms of Zhangbian Pavilion and the dining area of Guanqian International Shopping Center were basically at the same level. After all, Wang Yang is not a native of Zhangcheng. Although he had been there for some time, Wang Yang became Mr. Shen's lackey as soon as his investment was rejected. During this period of time, I have been serving Master Shen Irai. So this kid hasn't had time to get to know the major gold-spending dens in Zhangcheng. Along the way, Wang Yang was organizing his words and thinking about how to start the conversation. As for Zukion Kion, she was frantically sending messages to Zuhui, expressing her inner doubts and speculations. But Zuhui is not that idle. Only 12 words were replied. Show me the evidence it's true. Damn it. Although these 12 words seemed a bit irresponsible, they at least made Zukion Kion feel a little relieved. If Wang Yang really intends to do something, the little girl has her brother who is fearless and reckless behind her to help her. Soon, the car arrived at Guanqian International Shopping Center. Let's go to the 4th floor. I want to eat seafood. Eating too much seafood is bad for girls' health and can cause cold uterus. Oh, I haven't had my period for several months. Hearing that Wang Yang was still showing off his warm man persona, Zukion Kion responded directly and coldly. Wang Yang. Until the two of them sat down at the dining table, Zukion Kion remained alert. She always felt that Wang Yang had bad intentions in asking her to meet him today. Since you covet my beauty, even though I don't seem to have lost anything today, but just because you have impure thoughts, is it okay for me to cheat you out of a meal? With this thought in mind, Zukion Kion ordered nearly 20,000 yuan worth of seafood in one go. Australian lobster, geoduck, deep-sea cod, basically all of them. Wang Yang didn't pay attention to the menu, otherwise he would have cried. Tell me, what do you want from me? Hearing this, Wang Yang's face flashed with a trace of entanglement, but he finally gritted his teeth and said seriously. And I'll tell you the truth, is this product you developed. What? Hearing this, Zukion Kion was stunned. What is so beautiful that it shames the moon? What the hell? You want to marry into the Zhu family just because you can't make an investment? And then, will you achieve greater success by taking down the princess, who is the director of my pharmaceutical factory? Zukion Kion was ready for everything. If Wang Yang said anything ambiguous, he would refuse it outright. I didn't expect Wang Yang to say such a thing. But this was exactly Zukion Kion's confused reaction at the moment. Instead, it made Wang Yang even more certain of his guess. This woman definitely didn't expect that I would know that she had developed a product that could make the moon and flowers ashamed. She was so surprised when she heard what I said. The expression on her face reflected everything. Although he is a genius, he is still too young and hasn't learned how to hide his emotions, Wang Yang thought with some pride. The next moment, he smiled at Zukion Kion and said, Don't pretend. I know that Zuhui's company's new product, Beauty of the Moon and Shame on the Flowers, was developed by you, right? I didn't. You're still saying no. If it really wasn't you, why are you so guilty that you even stutter when you speak? Wang Yang narrowed his eyes. As if a pair of wise eyes saw through everything. He knocked on the table, his eyes fixed on Zukion Kion's cheek. Zukion Kion's pretty face was reflected in his pupils, as if he had already seen through the deception on the girl's face. Zukion Kion opened her mouth and suddenly wanted to say something, but in just a moment, thousands of years flashed through her mind. Come to think of it, Wang Yang actually came to me today regarding the R&D department's matters. She misunderstood that I was a developer of new products in the R&D department. Then what was his purpose in contacting me? The next moment, a few words flashed through Zukion Kion's mind. Corporate espionage. Otherwise, how can we say Zukion Kion is the new generation of the Zhu family? Zukion Kion's face was filled with shock. Wang Yang mistakenly thought that I was a researcher of the company's new product in the R&D department, so he wanted to pry something out of me? Is he trying to steal the product formula? Thinking of this, Zukion Kion glanced at Wang Yang. This guy looks uneasy and guilty, it's almost certain. The next moment, Zukion Kion suddenly felt inexplicably nervous. After all, other Zuhui's company now has a market value of more than 1 billion yuan. If I accidentally say something wrong today, will it lead to my dismissal as the director of a pharmaceutical factory? As soon as this thought came to her mind, Zukion Kion almost couldn't help but slap herself. Oh, that's not right. Even if I said something wrong, it seems to be okay. Before yesterday, I didn't even know that my brother had become the chairman of the Research and Development Department of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory. What secrets could I know? While thinking, the expression on Zukion Kion's face gradually changed from confusion and surprise at the beginning to a hint of amusement. It is said that there are benefits to being a commercial espionage worker. Wang Yang looks stupid and not very smart. Should we trick him? On the other side, Wang Yang had no idea what Zukion Kion was thinking. Seeing the girl's expression changing back and forth, he couldn't help but pat her on the shoulder. This action frightened the little girl so much that she shivered immediately. Don't touch me. In an instant, Zukion Kion stood up suddenly like a frightened deer. Wang Yang was also shocked by this action, so he smiled bitterly and said, Well, can we talk about business now? Forehead. Serious business? Zukion Kion coughed. And I have to go to the bathroom first. After saying this, Zukion Kion quickly walked towards the bathroom. She wasn't sure about what to do next and planned to report to her brother Zuhui. The whole story is not complicated, and Zukion Kion is not a stupid person. I could immediately analyze it from Wang Yang's tone. This guy simply mistook the developer of Beauty of the Moon for himself. Although Zhu didn't understand why Wang Yang had such an out-of-the-box guess, she still sent everything, including her own analysis, to Zhu Hui. Zhu Hui, who was standing at the door of the drug administration, saw the text message and was stunned. What the hell is this? What does this have to do with anything? Why did Wang Yang think that the developer at Beauty of the Moon was Zhu Qian? Why did Wang Yang look for Zhu Qian to steal the recipe of Beauty of the Moon? These two questions seem a bit vague when taken separately. But putting all of them together, Zhu Hui's mind moved and he recalled that the production license of Beauty of the Moon was blocked by the Food and Drug Administration. He understood everything in an instant. No wonder Wang Yang's family dared to speak so arrogantly to me. After that day, it turns out that I am not in decline, but I have found another job. So, Master Shen is colluding with Wang Yang. Zhu Hui quickly came to the conclusion. On the other side, Zhu Qian finished reporting the situation and returned to the table. Seeing Wang Yang looking at him eagerly, Zhu Qian rolled her eyes and glanced at her phone. Zhu Hui, since he wants the formula, just give him any formula. With Zhu Hui's permission. Zhu Qian's expression was covered with a layer of ill intention. Brother Wang Yang, since you already know everything, I won't keep you in suspense. Did you come to me this time to ask for the formula for Beauty of the Moon and shame on the flowers? Chapter 133, How much did you say? Is. Hearing this, Wang Yang's heart tightened uncontrollably. The next moment, Wang Yang said with a slight tremor, You are willing to sell me the formula of beauty that shocks the moon? As long as the price is right? As she spoke, Zhu Qian glanced at the seafood that were being served on the table one after another and swallowed hard. Seeing this, Wang Yang quickly pointed at the Australian lobster. Yes. Let's eat and talk at the same time. Look at me. I was so busy with my own business that I forgot that you have an e. As he spoke, Wang Yang was about to get a piece of Australian lobster for Zhu Qian. However, Zhu Qian quickly waved her hand and said, I can do it myself. At first, she misunderstood that Wang Yang had improper thoughts about her, but she still kept it in her heart. Therefore, Zhu Qian subjectively dislikes Wang Yang very much. The next moment, Wang Yang asked anxiously, Well, Miss Zhu, I'd like to ask, how much did Zhu Hui pay for this formula when you sold it to him? Huh? How much did he pay for selling it to my brother? Oh, no money. Zhu Qian spoke incoherently while eating heartily. What? As soon as these words came out, Wang Yang's face turned green. Damn, this kid Zhu Hui is so lucky. If Zhu Qian was his cousin, why would Wang Yang still be so lowly and serve as a lackey for Master Shen? Zhu Qian, have you ever thought about working on the assembly line at the Shen family pharmaceutical factory? We have 5 social insurances and 1 housing fund, and the annual salary starts at 200,000 yuan if you work for 3 years. You will get a car, and if you work for 10 years, you will get a house. It can be said that you will earn a lot of money, have little work, and be close to home. This is the ultimate dream that countless young people pursue throughout their lives. Wang Yang had the idea of poaching some of the employees. After all, it is better to teach a man to fish than to give him a fish. If I had Zhu Qian, I would be considered to have truly served Master Shen faithfully. Since she was able to develop a special medicine like Beauty of the Moon and Shame of the Flowers, it means that Zhu Qian is a goose that lays golden eggs. But Zhu Qian shook her head. I have no plans to go to work for the time being, so just tell me, how much do you plan to spend on the formula for Beauty of the Moon? Ergle. Are we finally talking about the most important thing? Wang Yang was a little nervous, and his Adam's apple rolled unconsciously. 5 million, what do you think? What? How much did you say? Zhu Qian thought that this prescription would cost no more than a few 100,000 yuan. When she heard this number, she was stunned and stared at Wang Yang with wide eyes, thinking that he was wrong. Isn't it just a folk remedy that can beautify and nourish the skin? How much is this thing worth? Wang Yang actually asked for 5 million right away. Wang Yang was also shocked by Zhu Qian's reaction. However, he couldn't see Zhu Qian's expression, and thought the girl was angry because the price he offered was too low. That makes sense after all. This is a product that Mr. Han is willing to invest 1 billion to produce. How is it possible to get it with just 5 million? The next moment, Wang Yang gritted his teeth. I won't keep you in suspense. Let's put it this way. Zhu Qian, we all know each other. Let's take a step back. I know that this ointment will definitely make a lot of money if it goes on the market. But that only works if it can be put on the market. To tell you the truth, your cousin Zhu Hui's production license has been blocked by us. It's unrealistic to expect him to make money for you. Why not sell the formula to us? The price is 50 million. What? Zhu Qian was so frightened by the astronomical figure of 5 million that she was in a trance. At this moment, when he suddenly heard Wang Yang add another 0, he felt his legs instantly lose strength, and even the Australian lobster in his hand didn't smell good anymore. If you have 50 million, how many Australian lobsters can you buy? Seeing Zhu Qian still looked horrified. Wang Yang's tone was slightly filled with impatience. 50 million is really not a small amount, Zhu Qian, you should stop while you're ahead. Okay, that's a deal. The next moment, Zhu Qian made the final decision. She felt like her heart was about to jump out. Bang, bang, bang. The deer were running around in waves. How could she know the recipe for a beauty so beautiful as to shame the moon and the flowers? The prerequisite for Wang Yang to make a deal with her is that Zhu Qian can produce the prescription for the medicine that can make the moon hide and the flowers ashamed. But the key point is that Zhu Qian had never even heard of the name of this ointment before today. Where can she get the recipe? So Zhu Qian planned to write a formula for ibuprofen sustained-release capsules. Anyway, Wang Yang couldn't understand it either. What's more, spending 50 million to purchase Beauty of the Moon is an act of stealing trade secrets, which is illegal in itself. In the end, even if Wang Yang found out that he was cheated, he had nowhere to seek justice. You agree? Nonsense. There aren't many fools willing to spend 50 million on an ibuprofen formula these days, and I'd be a fool if I didn't agree. Zhu Qian spoke without thinking, subconsciously. Hearing this, Wang Yang looked strange. But, oh, it's okay. Congratulations, Mr. Wang Yang. How are we going to pay the 50 million? Zhu Qian secretly cursed herself for speaking too quickly. Here is the passbook, check it. If there is no problem, we will hand over the prescription and sign the contract. There is 25 million in the passbook. The other half of the balance will be given to you after our product is officially produced. Is that okay? It doesn't matter whether it's 25 million or 50 million. As long as it is in tens of millions, it is a windfall for Zhu Qian today. But Wang Yang, are you overthinking it? Is the product officially in production? If you produce ibuprofen and intend to sell it to others as a skincare product, you will probably be sued and go bankrupt in minutes. But it has nothing to do with her anymore. Who made Wang Yang want to harm his brother Zhu Hui? Zhu Qian sneered. The next moment, she quickly wrote down the chemical formula of ibuprofen sustained-release capsules. Wang Yang was stunned for a moment, thinking to himself that it was indeed professional. I can actually write down such professional chemical formulas. Well, it seems that I will make a great contribution this time. At this moment, Wang Yang couldn't help but smile. By then, Mr. Shen will make a fortune, and as the biggest contributor, Wang Yang will definitely get some benefits too. Is this the recipe for beauty that shocks the moon? Then I wish us a happy cooperation. Wang Yang was delighted and asked Zhu Qian a few more questions. By the way, Zhu Qian, do you want to eat anything else? I'll order some more for you. Oh, no, I have something else to do right now. Please pack up the things I ordered. Pack? Do you need me to give you a ride? Zhu Qian said inferently. Okay, then you can take me to the nearest Bua bank. Wang Yang. Chapter 134. No company will invest in you anymore. It's no wonder that this little girl is Zhu Qian. If it were an ordinary person, facing such a huge and terrifying astronomical figure of 500 million, it would be a lie to say that they were not nervous. I didn't expect Zhu Qian to be able to bargain. On the other side, at the entrance of the Food and Drug Administration, Zhu Hui smacked his lips and glanced at the text message that Zhu Qian sent him. But if you put it this way, then Master Chen Yu is probably a bit stupid, right? He believes whatever Wang Yang says. And he actually gave Wang Yang such great authority. He was asked to buy a formula for a beauty that could shame the moon and the flowers, and he could use 50 million yuan at will ascend. He worried that Wang Yang would run away with the money. It turns out that there are idiots every year, but there are especially many this year. These days all the idiots gather together for warmth, right? But there was one thing Zhu Hui guessed wrong. It's not that Zhu Qian's psychological quality is so amazing, but the number of 5 million alone scared the girl at the beginning. Seeing that Wang Yang had lost his composure and patience, he offered a reserve price of 50 million. Zhu Qian came back to her senses and nodded in agreement. Even when Zhu Qian received the check, her heart was pounding so hard that she felt like it was about to jump out. It is estimated that Mr. Shen will start the production in a hurry tonight. If Zhu Qian wants to withdraw the money, she must do so today. 25 million is not a small amount. If Zhu Qian went to withdraw the money by herself, there would probably be a lot of twists and turns. With this thought in mind, Zhu Hui called MRJ in. MRJ in. My cousin is going to your bank to withdraw money later at the Bua bank in front of Century Avenue. The amount is quite large, and I'm afraid the salesperson might cause trouble. So I'm calling you in advance. Ever since he got MRJ in SVIP card last time, Zhu Hui has not stood him up. After the first batch of Beauty of the Moon and Shame on the Flowers came out after 3 rounds of stability testing in the RD department, after Jina used it, old Jin also witnessed the miraculous effect of Beauty of the Moon and Shame on the Flowers with his own eyes. While he was shocked, he also understood one thing. Just relying on the product of Beauty of the Moon and Flowers, I'm afraid that the research and development department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory will be famous all over the country. This further strengthened MRJN's desire to make friends with Zhu Hua. Hearing that Zhu Hua took the initiative to ask for help from him, the other party immediately patted his chest and made a promise. Don't worry, my friend Zhu Hua, I will have someone take me to the BI Hua Bank on Century Avenue right now to personally supervise the withdrawal of money. Do you need to apply for a large amount bank card for your sister? This will also make it easier for her to use the funds? Well, that's fine. Thank you for your hard work, MRJN. Although the 25 million will not fall into his hands, but it is definitely enough to disgust Mr. Shen. When Mr. Shen realized that the 25 million was just to buy a formula for ibuprofen, I wonder how interesting his expression would be. Zhu Qian still doesn't know what her brother has done for her behind her back. The girl's mind was full of getting the money out as soon as possible. After all, if something goes wrong, Wang Yang can always call the bank to freeze the check. She didn't know yet that her brother Zhu Hua was also helping her behind the scenes. But more than 25 million. Zhu Qian really became a wealthy woman. I'm afraid that in the entire department of their school, the net worth of all the students combined is not as terrifying as hers. On the other side, Zhu Hua finished his phone call with MRJN, and Hu's IG happened to walk towards the young man. Mr. Zhu, the leadership meeting of the Food and Drug Administration has ended and their office director asked us to go in and discuss something. Okay, let's go. Zhu Hua has been at the Food and Drug Administration for nearly an hour. However, it was a pity that we arrived early, as the senior management of the Food and Drug Administration were in a meeting when we arrived. For now, Zhu Hua could only wait for them to finish the meeting. An enterprise of similar size to Shenji, a pharmaceutical factory, may not rank high in the capital circle, but it is still a popular commodity in the eyes of the Food and Drug Administration. After all, such local enterprises provide employment for thousands of people. If either the RD department or the assembly line of Shen's pharmaceutical factory goes bankrupt, it will have a certain degree of impact on Zhongcheng officials because it will cause a large number of people to lose their jobs. Re-employment will lower GDP. Therefore, as the chairman, Zhu Hua naturally could not just find a receptionist to discuss matters. He wants to find the director of the Food and Drug Administration. Soon went up to the second floor. In an office, Zhu Hua met a middle-aged man who was about 30 years old. The man's hair was combed neatly, and a young man who looked like a secretary stood next to him. Zhu Hua took the initiative to greet him. Hello, Director Liu. Hello, Mr. Zhu. Mr. Shen and I are old acquaintances. I didn't expect that Mr. Shen would hand over the research and development department of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory to a young man in his early 20s. It seems that Mr. Zhu must be very promising at a young age and has some outstanding qualities. Director Yu made a polite remark. However, although he was being polite, he looked Zhu Hua up and down with an arrogant gaze. Noticing that there was nothing special about the young man, he silently withdrew his gaze. The next moment, Director Yu glanced at Zhu Hua and Hu's IG. I'm sorry, I was in a meeting just now and kept Mr. Zhu waiting for a long time. Is there anything you want to discuss with us today? Old fox, asking questions even though you already know the answer. Yes, I want to know why our new product, the Moon Shocks the Flowers, was blocked from obtaining a production license. The production license is blocked? Director Yu frowned pretentiously upon hearing this. Is there such a thing? The RD department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory is one of the few local pharmaceutical companies in Zhongcheng. It has always been the target of our policy support. How could someone block Mr. Zhu's production license? Keep pretending, you better keep pretending. Zhu Hua crossed his arms and watched Director Yu perform a one-man show. He heard from Han Zhi that Director Liu and Mr. Shen were high school classmates. It is very likely that these two people are in collusion and have conspired to block the production license for Beauty of the Moon. Now Director Liu has the nerve to ask this question even though he already knows the answer. The next moment, Director Liu said to the secretary next to him, Xiao Zhang, go investigate immediately. It was obvious that the two had rehearsed their remarks. Without even moving his feet, Xiao Zhang immediately said, Director Liu, I have verified this matter. Clearly it was Mr. Zhu who misunderstood. We didn't intentionally block your company's production license. It's because the quality inspection department has too many products waiting in line for production licenses, so we can't conduct 3 rounds of stability tests on your products right away. But don't worry. It will probably be around the middle of this month before the 3rd round of stability tests for Beauty of the Moon begin. When the results come out, as long as there are no problems with the quality inspection, we will definitely issue you a production license as soon as possible. Hearing this, Zhu Hu narrowed his narrow eyes. Director Yu coughed and said, Mr. Zhu, it seems that this is the situation. You have misunderstood. We have no conflicts with you, and we have not maliciously blocked your production license. It's just a coincidence. There are many pharmaceutical products that need to wait for license approval in August this year, so I can only trouble you to wait for a while. Wait? What if I say no? The next moment, Zhu Hu sneered. He simply didn't bother to continue practicing Taikai with Director Liu. No? What does this mean, Mr. Zhu? Director Liu noticed Zhu Hu's attitude and raised his eyelids. A young man in his early 20s, who just became the chairman of a pharmaceutical company on the verge of bankruptcy. Wouldn't he be so proud that he really thinks that the sky is the most important and I am second only to you, right? Other companies are waiting for license approval. The entire Food and Drug Administration is not just for Mr. Zhu's company. Are you trying to speak in an official tone to me? Zhu Hui had a cold face. How much money did Mr. Shen give you to choke me? I don't understand what Mr. Zhu is saying. You know the consequences of choking me. I'll give you another half a minute to think it over before you speak, because I think you may not be able to afford the price. This sentence obviously had a threatening meaning. Wow, in an instant, the expression on Director Liu's face became more vivid. He stopped pretending and sneered. I can't afford it? Boy, I called you Mr. Zhu twice only for Mr. Shen's sake. You don't really think you're some big shot, do you? When Hu Ziji heard this, he couldn't help but take a step forward. However, Zhu Hu stopped him by waving his hand. No problem. Director Liu, I just want to ask you one question, whether you really have other products waiting for quality inspection or you are just making excuses now. Can we let the moon shame blowing girl cut in line today? As long as you get the license today, I will forgive you for the rest. I don't want to make things too awkward. I hope Director Liu will give me some face. Still want some shame? Director Liu curled his lips. Mr. Zhu, this is the rule. You really can't cut in line. Besides, let me be frank, Mr. Zhu. Even if Mr. Shen and I really block you on purpose, what can you do? What can you do to me? Just bow your head and face the reality. What a high-minded little brat. I am just shameless. What can you do to me? Director Liu, are you abusing your power and bullying others? I'm just bullying you by taking advantage of my power. How about I bully you? Zhu Hu narrowed his eyes. Have you thought about the consequences? That's the rule. Very good. The next moment, Zhu Hu sneered. And I will also learn from Manager Liu and bully others by taking advantage of my power. From today on, no Zhongqing Pharmaceutical Company will invest in the Drug Administration. I say that. Chapter 135, Lin Hao, who asked you to come here? You're saying that no pharmaceutical company in Zhongqing will invest in the Drug Administration? After the words were spoken, the four people in the room fell into silence. When Director Yu came to his senses, he couldn't help but sneer. If the situation wasn't wrong, Director Yu really wanted to curse out that you are such an arrogant boy. Ignorant boy. For units like the Drug Administration, most of their target tasks are investments from Zhongqing pharmaceutical companies, so the Drug Administration will occasionally issue one or two support policies for local companies. This seems to indicate that official leaders support the development of local enterprises. In fact, it is also to meet the indicators required of them from above. Over the years, Director Yu has become close friends with senior executives of major pharmaceutical companies in Zhongqing. Zhu Hu said in a few words that he would cut off investment from pharmaceutical companies. Director Liu just thought that this kid was dreaming and talking nonsense. Good. Zhu Hu narrowed his narrow eyes slowly and nodded slightly. I said, from today on, no one, including the laboratory of the Food and Drug Administration, will receive a dime of investment. If anyone does, it means they are going against me, Zhu Hui. Go against you, Zhu Hua. Upon hearing this, Director Yu was already laughing so hard that he was bent over. Who do you think you are? Can you make the entire Zhongqing Pharmaceutical Company obey your orders with just one word? Since Mr. Zhu is so capable, I will see if you can do what you say. However, today we still have to follow the rules. Mr. Zhu wants to get a license today. Sorry, no way. Zhu Hu nodded. I'll wait for you to come and beg me. After saying this, Zhu Hu pushed the door open and left. Hu Ziji's eyes lingered between Director Yu and Zhu Hu for a moment. Although he also felt that Zhu Hu's words just now were a bit presumptuous. But for no reason, a thought that shocked Hu Ziji flashed through his mind. He always felt that the final outcome would be that Director Liu of the Food and Drug Administration would bow his head. After leaving the Drug Administration, Han Zhi also called and asked a few brief questions, but Zhu Hu had just told President Han to start the operation of the assembly line. You can handle the licensing issue yourself and you will get the result in 2 days at most. After hearing Zhu Hu's promise, Han Zhi didn't ask any more questions. Although he has the king of medicine in Zhongcheng behind him, the Drug Administration is an official organization after all. If you insist on not giving face, even if the king of medicine comes forward, it will be useless. MRJN, how many pharmaceutical companies in Zhongcheng rely on loans to operate, and currently have economic transactions and debt disputes with your Beihua Bank? Uzaiji really wanted to see how Zhu Hui operated, and of course the young man was not idle either. After getting in the car, the first call I made was to the old man of the Jin family. When MRJN on the other end of the phone heard this, he was obviously stunned. How many pharmaceutical companies do business with us? Almost all pharmaceutical companies have cooperation with our Beihua Bank. You also know that Beihua Bank is a local bank in Zhongcheng after all, so the conditions for local enterprises to apply for loan approval here are much more relaxed. Besides, because it is a local bank, it is also convenient for them to check withdrawals, deposits, and bank statements, so basically all Zhongcheng companies have cooperation with Beihua Bank. Even if there is no cooperation, few Zhongcheng companies dare to offend Beihua Bank casually. It was obvious that MRJN guessed that Zhu Hui was probably going to cause trouble. So let me explain the situation briefly. Just for a product like Beauty of the Moon, Old Master Jin thought it necessary to make friends with Zhu Hui's more. Jinio's beauty was restored by her beauty that could scare the moon and the flowers just for this favor. Old Master Jin would not go against Zhu Hui's will. What's wrong, Mr. Zhu? Has a pharmaceutical company offended you? Zhu Hui chuckled. I don't know yet, but I need their help to do something if someone disagrees. I may have to take advantage of your status as the guest of honor of the Jin family to bully others. Don't worry, Master Zhu, just like what I said last time at Beihua Bank. A Jin family will always be Master Zhu's friends. Zhu Hui didn't say any more nonsense. He said a few polite words of gratitude and hung up the phone. The next moment, he asked Uzaiji to arrange a meeting for him with several CEOs of local pharmaceutical companies in Zhongcheng. During this period, as the news of Han Ziyichai's billion-dollar cooperation gradually spread, countless pharmaceutical companies also wanted to find out about Zhu Hui. Irong has turned down countless dinner parties. Uzaiji didn't expect that Zhu Hui would take the initiative to contact those people today. Half a day later, Uzaiji reported to Zhu Hui with a grim face. Mr. Zhu, I don't know if Director Liu is deliberately blocking them. The bosses of the pharmaceutical companies wanted to have dinner with you every day before, but after I called them today, for some reason, they all avoided you as if they were the plague god. Either they had other things to do at the company, or they were not in Zhongcheng in the end. They didn't make the appointment. Hearing this, Zhu Hui sneered. Director Liu is quite interesting. He said he didn't believe me, but his actions were honest. He was afraid that I would interfere. I guess these people have made an appointment to a Director Liu today. Go check Director Liu's schedule for the evening. Soon, Uzaiji found out that Director Liu had invited more than a dozen pharmaceutical company bosses to a dinner at the Binjung Hotel that evening, which was not unexpected. Director Liu's move can be considered as taking precautionary measures. That's perfect. I don't have to go looking for them one by one. I'll just show up uninvited tonight and let Director Liu see if I have the ability to make him apologize to me. After saying this, Zhu Hui pushed open the office door. Just now, the security guard called the chairman's office. It was Mr. Kai, the chairman of Happy Beer, who came to apologize yesterday with his daughter Kai Qingyao. After going downstairs, Zhu Hui saw Kai Qingyao and his daughter as expected. Kai Qingyao's face looked a little ugly. She no longer had the arrogance and conceit of yesterday. Instead, she kept her head down. Sir, this is our President Zhu. At this moment, the guard pointed at the young man who was coming towards Kai Qingyao's father. Even Kai Wanli was surprised by Zhu Hui's young face for a moment, and only came to his senses and took the initiative to greet him. Zhu, it was me, Kai Wanli, who failed to educate my son yesterday and caused you trouble. I have already severely criticized Kai Qingyao. I hope you can forgive the mistakes of others and let bygones be bygones. Hearing this, Zhu Hui chuckled. He is not a petty person. If Kai Qingyao and Kai Shiji had not danced so happily yesterday, Zhu Hui would not have wanted to move out of the South China Sea. Mr. Kai, you are too polite. There is no conflict or dispute. It's just some verbal disputes and a misunderstanding. I will call Mr. Hui tonight and ask him to revoke the order. After hearing these words, Kai Wanli burst into tears of gratitude. This young man is very sensible in what he does and does not become arrogant because of his favor. Seeing that he took the initiative to apologize, Zhu Hui immediately gave him a way out. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Zhu. To be honest, I was confused when I saw Mr. Zhu just now. To be able to become the president of the Chamber of Commerce at such a young age, I think Mr. Zhu must have some outstanding qualities and was recognized by Mr. Hui. Now it seems that Zhu Hui is worthy of the position of chairman of the Chamber of Commerce just for his generosity. Everyone can flatter Zhu Hui during this period of time. Countless people from top to bottom in the company have come to flatter him for no reason. He has already gotten used to it. Mr. Kai. You're welcome. After saying this, he was about to turn around and leave. However, Taiwanli held Zhu Hua back with a sullen smile. Mr. Zhu, if you have time, let's have a quick meal together. Let's eat, forget it. No. Mr. Zhu, I owe you a favor this time, please do me the honor of having a meal with me. I also want to have a drink with you, the young hero, to show my appreciation. Hearing this, Zhu Hui could only nod helplessly. Okay, let's go, forget about drinking. I have something else to do tonight. There are no big restaurants near the RD department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory, so if you want to eat, you have to go into the city. But Zhu Hu is indeed not busy today. The RD department is usually quite idle. In addition to 2 regular meetings in the morning and evening, each department is required to report on its work content. Most other matters can be handed over to the people below. At most, Zhu Hui was just responsible for signing. Zhu Hui is in the company, and it seems like he is really busy. But if you ask me how busy he is, I'm not really. It seems that whether he is there or not has little impact. If he is there, he can find something to do. If he is not there, it won't have much impact on the operation of the company. This seems to be the case with most functioning companies. Zhu Hui didn't let Hu Zaiji drive for him, and soon the group arrived at the dinner place. When getting off the car, Zhu Hui noticed the 4 big words Binjiang Hotel. What a coincidence. Wally, who was standing next to him, was stunned when he heard this. Mr. Zhu also has friends eating at this restaurant. No, I just wanted to show off here tonight, but I didn't expect you to bring me here first, which just happens to give me more time. Wally was stunned for a moment when he heard this. Show off? Just then, a voice suddenly sounded not far away. Lin Hao, who asked you to come here? Do you know what this place is? Are you qualified to eat here? Chapter 136, Fuck you. As soon as the word Lin Hao came out, Zhu Hu immediately looked over there. Speaking of which, Zhu Hui hasn't seen Lin Hao for more than half a month. Although they bought a new house in Jinshui Bay, Zhu Hu and his family still lived in the old community on Kanji Street during this period. Lin Hao was clearly upstairs, so he shouldn't be there if he looked up. But Zhu Hui had hardly met Lin Hao in the past half month. He also wondered if something had happened to Lin Hao. However, when asked by Zumo, the boy seemed to be fine. To work on time every day and clock in normally. Zhu Hui just thought that their schedules were out of sync and didn't take it seriously at all. At this moment, Lin Hao was standing outside the Binjiang Hotel with his teeth gritted. In front of me was a woman dressed in jewels. Xin Ru. I have a dinner appointment with a client here today. I'm not here to look for you. We've been apart for more than 2 years. Do you think I'll still cling to you? Oh, I don't care what you're here for, but the thought of staying under the same roof with you makes me sick, so you'd better get out of here. Xin Ru? Zhu Hui frowned. The next moment, he slapped his thigh and came back to his senses. He remembered that Lin Hao did have a girlfriend named Xin Ru 2 years ago. This woman spent a lot of money, and even Lin Hao, who was running a convenience store in the dormitory at the time, could not afford it. He often had to ask his roommates for money to buy instant noodles. Later I heard that Xin Ru ran away with a man who drove a BMW. Lin Hao drank for 3 days. I drank for 3 days and vomited for 3 days. In the end, Zhu Hua wanted to seek justice for him, but the woman had already dropped out of school. I heard that she was pregnant with her boss's child. In 2 years, I didn't expect a person to change so much. Although Xin Ru was also wearing all branded clothes 2 years ago, it was not so exaggerated, so Zhu Hua was unable to recognize her at first. Xin Ru, don't go too far. Could it be that you own the Binjiang Hotel? On the other side, Lin Hao stiffened his neck and spoke to Xin Ru through gritted teeth. As soon as the voice fell, Xin Ru sneered and said, "You think I don't know what you're doing here? I heard your mother has a terminal illness and needs 500,000 yuan for surgery. Are you here to borrow money from someone?" Lin Hao's body trembled. "How do you know? How should I know?" Xin Ru sneered. "Although I didn't open the Binjiang Hotel, I am the lobby manager of the Binjiang Hotel. I tell you the truth, those BA who are bank managers you made an appointment with are simply not going to lend money to a poor country bumpkin like you. It's not like I haven't been to your house before. How much is an old house worth? The bank won't accept the mortgage." "What?" Zhu Hui, who was not far away, was shocked. "Lin Hao's mother is seriously ill. This guy still owes money. Why doesn't he come to me?" This thought just came to my mind. Zhu Hui smiled bitterly. It was only recently that he transformed himself into the chairman of the RD department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory. Moreover, Zhu Hui never really talked to Lin Hao about his recent situation afterwards. Lin Hao probably doesn't know that he already has a brother worth hundreds of millions. However, Zhu Hui also secretly hated himself for not caring enough about his good brother. Otherwise, why would Lin Hao be so humble? Xin Ru, if you consider that you and I have had a relationship before, Just consider it as a favor from you regardless of success or failure. I want to give it a try. Give you face? Who do you think you are? Do you think you are qualified to let me give you face? Wang Xianru crossed her arms and looked at Lin Hao with a playful expression. With an old burden around. What can you achieve in your life? I saw it at the beginning, so I kicked you out immediately. Since we know each other, I'll give you some advice: just leave her alone and give up on treatment, let her take her own course, okay? The burden is obviously Lin Hao's mother. As soon as these words came out, Lin Hao's facial features were almost twisted together. Are you fucking speaking human language? What's wrong? You're still not happy. Why are you cursing at me here? I'm telling the truth. If you have the guts, go to the hospital and tell the doctor the same thing. Please help me out since we know each other. Please be kind. See if the doctor will reduce your mother's surgery fee. Wang Xianru sneered twice, and the guards nearby also looked at Lin Hao with a sneer. A loser is a loser. He even needs to take out a loan for a 500,000 yuan surgery. The worst thing is, no one will give you a loan. Lin Hao, how about this? I know a friend whose nightclub needs prostitutes. I can recommend you where to work. At $100 a day. What? You want me to be a duck? These words once again hit Lin Hao's self-esteem, and his eyes were covered with a hint of red. Wang Xianru, don't go too far. Snap. The next moment, Wang Xianru slapped Lin Hao hard on the face. That's too much. What qualifications do you have to say these two words to me? A loser like you wanted to hold my hand back then. Looking back now, it's really disgusting. Don't look at me like that. If you dare to fight back, these security guards will attack you together. Try to touch me. Lin Hao clenched his fists and his eyes were red. But there is nothing we can do about Wang Xianru. It seems that he is a department manager in Xingxi Entertainment, but his annual salary is only a few $100,000. Faced with the high surgical fee of 500,000 yuan, Lin Hao has no other options. What is even more despairing is that some time ago, in order to raise money for his mother's surgery, Lin Hao took the risk of betting on the World Cup. As a result, not only did he not make any money, he also lost all his savings. Are you still not leaving? Wang Xianru, I'm at my wit's end. What's the point of telling me? This is not a place for you to come. Wang Xianru smiled disapprovingly, as if she suddenly thought of something. How about this? If you drink this, I'll give you 10,000 yuan for our old acquaintance. How about 10,000 yuan for one drink? As she spoke, the woman took a paper cup from the side and spat into it. The other security guards also followed suit. Bai Ye Shui. It brings wealth. Humiliation. What a shame. Drink it. $10,000 a cup. If you're short of money, drink 50 cups in one go and I'll give you 500,000. Fuck you. Lin Hao slapped the paper cup away. Such a disgusting thing. If I really drank the water of 100 families in public, living in the future would probably be more painful than death. Wang Xianru saw Lin Hao resisting and slapped the young man in the face again. He also directed several security guards to control Lin Hao. Snap. Hold him down and beat him. As soon as he finished speaking, he didn't wait for the others to take action. Suddenly a stack of banknotes was thrown hard on the woman's face. Fuck you. You like to humiliate others, don't you? Wang Xianru, I have 2 million here. Lin Hao and I will each have a cup of virgin urine. If you finish drinking it today, I will give you the money. Chapter 137. Hello, I am Shen Sinjin. A stack of banknotes still has quite a lot of weight, and the stack was thrown hard on Wang Xianru's face. The woman's cheeks were instantly red and swollen from being hit. Lin Hao was also slightly stunned hearing the familiar voice. He quickly turned his head to look. Zhu Hua walked over slowly with a bag of cash in his hand and a stern face. When Wang Xianru saw who was coming, her face turned pale instantly. Of course she knew Zhu Hua. Lin Hao and Wang Xianru met in college. And Zhu Hua was Lin Hao's roommate at that time. Zhu Hua, how dare you touch me? Snap. Fuck you. As he said that, Zhu Hua slapped Wang Xianru in the face again. Don't fucking use the word touch. It's dirty to me. After saying that, Zhu Hua pulled Lin Hao up from the ground and punched him hard in the chest. Your uncle, you didn't even tell me about this huge incident at home? Don't you consider me a brother? Just now when Wang Xianru was mocking Lin Hao, Zhu Hua had already run to the bank to withdraw money. As soon as he heard that Lin Hao's mother needed 500,000 yuan for surgery, he called Kai Wanli and asked him to wait for a moment. Fortunately, there is a branch of Ba Hua Bank nearby. It was probably for this reason that Lin Hao planned to find a salesperson from Ba Hua Bank to apply for a loan, and the other party made an appointment to meet here. Lin Hao's lips moved and his eyes were red. I don't know what I can do to find you. After all, we have been brothers for so many years. Even if I don't have money, I can still find a way for you. What's more, I can still afford the 500,000 yuan surgery fee. Having said that, Zhu Hua stuffed the bag in his hand into Lin Hao's arms without saying a word. Feeling the heavy weight in his hand, Lin Hao was suddenly shocked. 500,000. How did you get so much money? Did Mr. BA give it to you? Did you promise Mr. BA to be his son-in-law, so Mr. BA I gave you a betrothal gift? Brother, you are confused. Why would you abandon your wife and children for me? A real man should not bow down for a few pieces of silver. Why are you bowing your head in front of Mr. BA? What? Zhu Hui originally wanted to say a few sentimental words. The last sentence instantly broke his defense. The corner of Zhu Hui's mouth twitched for a moment. Fuck you, this money is mine. I know. It was given to you by President BA to spend as you please. Damn it. Okay, just think of it as BA Zumo giving it to me. Before the two of them said a few words, Huang Xianru on the other side had already pointed in the direction of Zhu Hu in a rage. You two losers, do you know where this is? How dare you cause trouble in front of the Binjiang Hotel? Are you looking for death? Huang Xianru, are you deaf? 2 million, 2 scoops of boy's urine. I'm asking you if you want to drink it. Zhu Hu stared at Huang Xianru coldly. If 2 million can help him vent his anger, Zhu Hu doesn't mind spending a large sum of money to help Lin Hao get back at justice. Huang Xianru sneered when she heard this. Zhu Hu and Lin Hao are undoubtedly birds of a feather. To poor boys from the countryside. How could Zhu Hui have 2 million? What the hell, Zhu Hui? Do you have 2 million? Who do you think you are? I can. Before Huang Xianru finished speaking, a middle-aged man with a big belly suddenly walked out of the Binjiang Hotel. Baby. What happened? A bunch of people are making a lot of noise at the entrance of the hotel. Can we still do business like this? Huang Xianru saw her backer coming and immediately went to greet him crying. Honey, there's trouble. This loser is my ex-boyfriend. He has no money and no power. I was afraid that he couldn't afford the Binjiang Hotel, so I asked him to leave. I didn't expect that he suddenly got angry and made trouble at the door of the restaurant. I tried to persuade him with good intentions. But his accomplices still took action. Look at what they did to me. They asked me to drink boy's urine, and said they would give me 2 million for 2 scoops of boy's urine. Isn't this bullying? What? The middle-aged man became furious upon hearing this. Bullying my woman, boy? You are very brave. Lin Hao gritted his teeth and pulled Zhu Hui. The owner of this Binjiang Hotel is very powerful. Why don't we go first? Fuck. At this moment, Huang Xianru saw the lit shape and sneered and said, you want to leave after beating someone up? The Riverside Hotel is owned by your family, so you can just leave like that? I'm telling you, today's matter won't come down without 2 million on T. You like to act arrogant. Pummy 2 million, and I'll let you go today. 2 million in compensation? Lin Hao's heart trembled. Although he didn't know how much money Zhu Hui had, this was not the way to spend money. Huang Xianru, you should stop it. It was you who humiliated me first today, and then Zhu Hui stood up to seek justice for me. If you feel it's unfair, you can call the police yourself. Are you stupid? Before he could finish his words, the middle-aged man suddenly interrupted him. You two losers are also qualified to insult my woman? Who are you trying to show off to? You want to piss off $2 million? Just for this statement, you two must pay compensation today. After saying that, the middle-aged man noticed the purse in Lin Hao's hand, strode forward and snatched it away. During the whole process, Zhu Hui just watched with his arms crossed, with no intention of stopping it at all. If you want to die, take this money. Threatening me? If I'm afraid of a brat like you, then don't stay in Zhongcheng. This scene made Lin Hao break out in a cold sweat. However, the middle-aged man had a few security guards helping him, and they easily snatched the purse from Lin Hao. You are robbing. Lin Hao's eyes widened with anger. Huang Xianru sneered, aren't you awesome? This is the compensation you deserve. You came to Binjiang Hotel to cause trouble, and it's good enough that I didn't break your hands and feet. As she spoke, Huang Xianru opened her purse and her eyes widened immediately. It really is 2 million. Zhu Hui, you are really a boy who brings wealth. The next moment, the middle-aged man licked his lips, and seeing that Lin Hao and Zhu Hui seemed easy to bully, he directly said, the 2 million is just your compensation to Jacqueline and Wang. You also have to compensate for the hotel's losses. You want compensation? Lin Hao was horrified. Of course. You guys are here to affect our restaurant's business. Our Binjiang Hotel is well known if its reputation is damaged. Can you bear the responsibility? Okay, we'll compensate you. You name the amount. Zhu Hui, however, had a playful look on his face and agreed with a smile. Lin Hao was anxious when he saw this. Are you stupid? You want compensation? They are obviously blackmailing us. Let us call the police. No, I want to see if he dares to take my money. I dare not. What is there to be afraid of? The middle-aged man laughed. Thinking Zhu Hu was just a bumpkin nouveau rich who came from nowhere. Let me calculate for you in total. You will have to pay the restaurant's losses of about 3 million. In cash or by check. Are you sure you dare take my money? Sure. Okay. Then wait a moment. I'll ask someone to bring the money to you. Zhu Hu nodded slightly and obediently took out his cell phone to make a call. The change in style was so great that even Lin Hao couldn't accept the scene before him. What does this kid Zhu Hua mean? Are you just going to give in when being blackmailed? Hey, brother Shen. I've been blackmailed at the Binjiang Hotel. The other party asked me to pay 3 million yuan in compensation. Bring 3 million yuan here. The next moment, Zhu Hui handed the phone to the middle-aged man. What? He asked you to answer the phone. Hearing this, the middle-aged man couldn't help but sneer. Damn, do the boys who bring wealth come in pairs these days? Seeing this kid asking, do you dare to ask me for money, all the time? I thought he had some amazing background. So that's it. Hey, 3 million is the compensation for your brother causing trouble in front of our restaurant. When will you transfer the money to me? Hello, I'm Shen Jin. The restaurant owner's expression suddenly froze. Chapter 138, Get Out. What? Hearing the 3 words, Shen Jin, the middle-aged man was stunned. Shen Jin is the man that everyone involved in the real estate industry in Zhangcheng must pay homage to. Therefore, this name is naturally like thunder in the ears of these businessmen. When the middle-aged man heard the voice from the other end, he had already believed it for the most part, because he had also dealt with Shen Jin, but they didn't have much of a relationship. Hello? I'm Shen Jin. Is anyone there? Tell me the exact address. I will have someone send the money to you right now. I heard it's my brother's money. How dare you take it? Okay, no problem. In addition to the 3 million you asked for today, I will give you an extra 500,000 as long as you dare to take it. I will give you as much as you want. As soon as these words came out, the middle-aged man's body trembled wildly. Shen Sanjin was obviously calling himself an idiot. The next moment, he forced an ugly smile. Master Shen, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. The flood washed away the Dragon King Temple. I don't know what kind of bullshit flood washed away the Dragon King Temple. Didn't you say you dared to take my Shen Jin's money? Tell me the address and stop talking bullshit. Otherwise, give the phone to my brother and let him talk to me himself. Gurgle. We must not alarm Shen Jin. If Shen Jin comes, the business of Binjiang Hotel will be over. The middle-aged man's lace went limp, revealing a smile uglier than crying. Master Shen, I didn't know that he was your brother. Otherwise I wouldn't dare to blackmail him even if I had 100 guts. Blackmail? Aren't you going to compensate me? How did it become blackmail? Master Shen, I was wrong. No, didn't my brother cause you financial losses? Compensation, I'll give you the money, just tell me your address. Why is this still a dispute? The middle-aged man looked sad again. He glanced at Zhu Hui with a face full of resentment. You fucking told me you had a backer. And that backer was Shen Jin. If I had known earlier that behind this young man was Shen Jin, a tycoon in Zhangcheng who was well connected in both the black and white worlds. Middle-aged men are either tired of living or can't get over it. Otherwise, he would never dare to blackmail Zhu Hua. Master Shen, I really know I was wrong. I will compensate you. Oh no. I will apologize to your little brother. I will definitely satisfy your brother. There is no need to alarm you really. After these words were spoken, Shen Jin on the other end of the phone pondered for a while. Oh. And I'll see how you perform if Zhu Hua says no to me again today. You won't have to open your restaurant. Give the phone back to Zhu Hua. Hearing this, the middle-aged man took 2 steps back as if relieved and almost collapsed to the ground. Even so, he still forced himself to walk in front of Zhu Hua and handed the phone back with trembling hands. Little brother. Snap. The next moment, Zhu Hua picked up the phone and slapped the other person in the face with a cold expression. Wang Xianru, who was not far away, was shocked. Boy, you're looking for death. Shut up. As soon as he finished speaking, the middle-aged man hurriedly scolded the woman. A slap in the face is nothing if Shen Jin is really angered. This bloody-handed butcher and construction site boss might bury him alive in minutes. Are you convinced by this slap? The next moment, Zhu Hui asked calmly. Lin Hao, who was standing next to him, was stunned when he saw this scene. He didn't understand why the middle-aged man who was so arrogant just now started to count out a Zhu Hui after a phone call. Wang Xianru was like this. She didn't understand what was wrong with her man. Could it be that he was under a spell? Close. The middle-aged man nodded and bowed, trembling lie. On the other side, King Yao and his daughter were watching this scene. They were almost watching the whole process from beginning to end. I saw the middle-aged man's attitude change 180 degrees. King Yao couldn't help but shiver. So domineering. Not only did I feel bad for Zhu Hui, I actually had a bit of a favorable impression of him. Kai Wanli coughed. It seems that the connections behind Master Zhu are far beyond our imagination. This is why he is not panicked when encountering things, and he doesn't even have the impatience of a young man. You and your brother fell into his hands yesterday. It's not unfair. Hearing this, King Yao nodded drearily. Now, he no longer had any thought of revenge on Zhu Qian. Snap. The next moment, another loud slap was heard. This slap in the face is a punishment for you for taking advantage of others. How are you started to raise the price without asking for the details of the matter? Do you accept this? Lin Hao's Adam's apple rolled unconsciously. I just feel proud of this scene. I obey Master Zhu is teaching me that I look down on others and I am taking advantage of others' power. Zhu Hui nodded. And the next moment he pointed in the direction of Huang Xin Ru. Let her come in later to accompany my brother for drinks and apologize. After saying that, Zhu Hua was about to lead Lin Hao and Kai Wanli into the house. Huang Xin Ru suddenly broke down. She was upset why a loser stepped on her boyfriend and screamed. Zhu Hui, you're really going too far, aren't you? Chen Dongyu, what do you mean? Why are you groveling in front of this young boy? They are just two ordinary graduates of Zhongcheng University. They have no money and no power. Are you really going to listen to him, do whatever he says, and send me to a company to losers for drinking? As soon as these words came out, Zhu Hua paused again and turned to glance in the direction of Huang Xin Ru. If it weren't for the polarity reversal, people who don't understand the cause and effect of the matter might think that Zhu Hua is bullying men and women here. Huang Xin Ru, Lin Hao is my brother. You humiliated Lin Hao. Is it reasonable for you to apologize to my brother? Reasonable and reasonable. Before Huang Xin Ru could speak, the middle-aged man next to her, Chen Dongyu, nodded repeatedly. The next moment, he suddenly jumped up and slapped Huang Xin Ru in the face. Snap. Stop talking nonsense and stop drinking with Su Shidel, and otherwise, you'll get out of the Binjiang Hotel from today on. As soon as these words came out, Huang Xin Ru's face darkened even more, and she covered her pretty face with her hands, looking full of resentment. Noticing that gaze, Zhu Hu narrowed his eyes. Mr. Chen, you are performing well right now. I have to tell you another piece of news. Information? Chen Dongyu was slightly stunned. This was the first time Zhu Hu met him today. The two sides had never dealt with each other before and had no interest in dealing with each other. If Chen Dongyu hadn't received the call from Shensen Jin, how would he know who Zhu Hu was? What might Zhu Hu have in his hands? Could it be the information that I want to know? Chen Dongyu was stunned. Mr. Zhu. The next moment Zhu Hu didn't keep the secret any longer and said directly and coldly, if I remember correctly, our Miss Huang worked at Night Color for a period of time. We bumped into each other at that time. But I went there to distribute flyers. As for what Miss Huang was going there for, I have no idea. Night. As soon as these words were spoken, not only Chen Dongyu but even Lin Hao next to him changed his expression. Issei was the most famous nightclub in Zhongcheng a few years ago, where all the beautiful girls in Zhongcheng gathered. There is even a joke in the underworld that says, night is almost like heaven on earth in Zhongcheng. Zhu Hui, stop slandering me. At this moment, Huang Xin Ru turned pale and lost her composure. Ai Wali suddenly became interested and agreed with a smile. Oh, I heard that those who often went out at night in the past 2 years seem to have contracted some infectious disease. It's called plum blossom or syphilis or something like that anyway. Small rashes will appear on the body in the middle and late stages. Certain parts of the body will become unbearably itchy, which is horrible to look at. Huang Xin Ru's face changed again. She opened her mouth and wanted to explain a few words, but Chen Dongyu, with a gloomy face, had already appeared in front of her. Brother Chen, I haven't been to that kind of place for a long time. Since I met you, I have retired. I have checked and I am clean. Snap. Chen Dongyu didn't give her a chance to finish her words, and immediately slapped Huang Xin Ru hard in the face. Bitch. Chen Dongyu felt like his heart was bleeding. It's not that he loves Huang Xin Ru so much, but he thinks about the fact that he has been keeping a mistress in Binjiang Hotel without telling his wife all these years. This woman is not the female college student with a clean family as imagined. Chen Dongyu felt sick to think that he had worked in a place like Night. The thought of so many strange men doing push-ups in the same room with Huang Xin Ru was heartbreaking. Chen Dongyu was so angry that he felt dizzy. Buying a new bag every other day and spending money on expensive luxury goods. I originally thought that it was my wealth and billions that conquered Huang Xin Ru. I didn't expect that before maintaining the relationship, this woman actually made extra money by engaging in sex trade. Doesn't that mean that Chen Dongyu is the one who is being taken advantage of? He took the initiative to be this woman's long-term meal ticket and also provided her with her current job. Zhu Hui, didn't you promise me not to tell me anything? Yes, I promised you not to say anything, but you didn't do what you promised me. Zhu Hui sneered. And his narrow eyes slowly narrowed. I remember that we had a gentleman's agreement back then. I would not tell Lin Hao about this, and you would take the initiative to find a suitable excuse to break up with Lin Hao peacefully. We should cut off all ties in a way that does not harm Lin Hao and does not delay either of us. What's the result? You used the cruelest way to hurt Lin Hao. He drank for 3 days and vomited for 3 days, and now you're still so arrogant. Do you think you could endure it if you were me? Lin Hao was stunned when he heard this. No wonder Zhu Hui knew all these things a long time ago, but just kept it in his heart and didn't tell me. It turns out that Su Hui asked Huang Xianru to part ways with him amicably from the beginning, hoping that things wouldn't get too ugly. Brother Chen, Mr. Chen, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I really have never been to Yisei again since I met you. Please believe me, please forgive me, please give me a chance. I've become a fucking slut. You still want me to continue being a sucker who picks up thousands of people's worn-out shoes? Chen Dongyu was so angry that he kicked Huang Xianru away. Fuck you. Get out. Chapter 139, The Whole Story. Zhu Hui dragged Lin Hao into the Binjiang Hotel without even looking back. Since you are unwilling to toast and apologize, then let's just break up. Before, Zhu Hui might have given her some face because they were classmates, and regarded it as Lin Hao drawing a line between them. This woman is unrepentant today, and is humiliating my brother. Who can tolerate this? After entering the Binjiang Hotel, Lin Hao quietly patted Zhu Hui on the shoulder. The two have been brothers for so many years. So Zhu Hui naturally understood what Lin Hao meant. It's okay. I know you have a knot in your heart that you haven't gotten over yet, and today it has been untied. Lin Hao pursed his lips when he heard this. Thank you then. Regardless of whether the final result developed according to Zhu Hui's original idea, but at least Lin Hao did not continue to be with Huang Xianru. From this perspective, the result is also good. The one who suffered the most should be Chen Dongyu, who lost both his wife and his soldiers. I have spent at least $1 million on that woman over the years. I thought it was a new car, but it turned out to be an 18th-hand junkie shared car. Maybe it's starting to burn oil. After entering the private room, Zhu Hui glanced at the menu. Although the scale of Binjiang Hotel was far from comparable to Zhongbian Pavilion, the consumption was much more affordable. Chen Dongyu wanted to apologize to Zhu Hui, so he served a table full of signature dishes. The dishes have 5 flavors and the wine has 3 rounds. Chen Dongyu stood up with a red face. Boss Su, Boss Guy, Master Lin, you guys eat first. I won't accompany you for a while. I'll drink 3 cups as punishment. I still feel a little uneasy and want to go to the hospital for a checkup. After hearing this, Zhu Hui was stunned. The other 2 men in the room laughed out loud. Hai Qingyao blushed and spat lightly without the arrogance of yesterday. This woman looked much more pleasing to the eye, especially today. When people were toasting and talking at the dinner table, the main people talking were Zhu Hui, Kai Wanli and Chen Dongyu. Lin Hao just happened to meet Kai Qingyao and they were sitting together. Kai Qingyao was bored and started chatting with Lin Hao. Who is this pretentious young man named Brother Lin Hao that Zhu Qian mentioned? He was able to brag and talk nonsense with ease and could find a topic to start with in no time. In just a few minutes, he was chatting enthusiastically with Kai Qingyao, and Zhu Hui failed to stop him despite several eye signals. Damn it, I suddenly feel like this kid doesn't seem to have anything on his mind. If he really has something on his mind, he wouldn't be so naughty right now. I am so damn nosy today. After Chen Dongyu drank 3 cups as punishment, he pushed the door and left. Zhu Hui and he had nothing in common, so naturally he wouldn't stop him. The next moment, Zhu Hui remembered something important and poked Lin Hao, who was blowing enthusiastically. Take the 2 million back to Annie. We are brothers. If you don't accept the money, I will no longer recognize you as my brother. What? Really give it to me? Lin Hao was stunned and immediately waved his hand to refuse. You'd better accept it. What are you saying to me about the betrothal gift that Mr. I gave you? Your uncle. So you really think I'm a gigolo, right? A Qingyao next to her already revealed a gossipy look. However, Kai Wali was a very smart man. Seeing that Zhu Hui wanted to talk to Lin Hao about the topic between brothers, he pulled his daughter up and said goodbye and left. That girl is really good. Do you have her contact information? Recommend her to me. No, but she lives across from me. If you are free at any time, you can go to her house and ask for her contact information. But I have to say this first. You didn't see how arrogant that girl was yesterday. If you had, you might not want to develop a relationship with her. Lin Hao is a generous person. Feeling aggrieved is only temporary and will pass away. What's more, Zhu Hui is there to help him feel proud today. Lin Hao had long forgotten what had just happened. After all, children from rural areas are fundamentally different from children from cities. Most of them have low self-esteem and introverted personalities when they first come into the outside world. For a while, even Zhu Hui was like this. If you don't have a big heart, you won't be able to survive in this big city. Across the street from your house, isn't Uncle Wang the one across the street from you? He asked me to pick persimmons for his family a few days ago. Oh, and Uncle Wang also asked me if you've hooked up with a rich woman. He said you bought a Mercedes-Benz Maybach. Wow, you are really amazing, Uncle Wang. He also told me about picking persimmons, but I refused. His son lives in a county near Zhangcheng. He has hands and feet in holidays. It's almost mid-autumn festival. Why don't you let his son come back? Zhu Hui rolled his eyes when gossiping. Neighbors are the most trusted friends. If they really need free labor, they have to look to young people like us. Why don't you call your best friends to help you pick persimmons? Theft. He also said that you rejected him. And that you are stupid for not taking advantage of the opportunity, even promised to give you 2 bags of persimmons. But when I heard this, I rejected him. I said that I was the driver of the Maybach for Zuhue, and we both had things to do recently. Zuhue burst out laughing immediately without any outsiders in the box. The two of them could relax more during their chat. Next, Zuhue coughed twice and slowly got to the point. Start telling what happened during this time. If I don't explain it clearly to Lin Hao, this kid will probably insist on thinking that the 2 million is the betrothal gift that Bizumo gives to him to become a crooked-mouthed dragon king, alive and son-in-law. By then, according to Lin Hao's personality, he would not accept the 2 million no matter what. Half an hour later, the box was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Zuhue told Lin Hao everything that had happened during this period. This included Mr. Shen instigating the top brass to impeach him, and also Mr. Shen going to Director Liu to get the production license for The Moon Shocks the Flowers. After hearing this, even Lin Hao, who had a big heart, took him a long time to come back to his senses. Light a cigarette and out smoke. Lin Hao smacked his lips and said, "Why do I feel a little confused? So you picked up a thriving enterprise for nothing? Fuck, this feels like a TV drama. You're so fucking happy. What do you call this? Turning over and becoming a slave and singing? How can you describe it with just one word? Happy." Zuhue rubbed his brows. "So you should take the 2 million. But you misunderstood one thing: you should not seek a job that is not within your jurisdiction. In fact, if you were sitting in my current position, you would know how unpleasant it is." Lin Hao's eyes widened, wishing he could give Zuhue 2 big slaps. "You damn son of a bitch, why do I feel like you're showing off to me?" "Show off? I won't be happy if you say I'm showing off. You haven't experienced the situation I'm in now, where I'm surrounded by enemies on all sides." Zuhue rolled his eyes. "You don't really think that Shen Xinjin gave me the R&D department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory out of kindness, do you?" Lin Hao was stunned for a moment. "What else? Although it seems that you are in some trouble now, didn't all these troubles start from your plan to transform the R&D department? Even if you don't have any skills at the beginning, if you keep your head down and cooperate with Mr. Shen, it will seem like you can make a profit without losing money." Lin Hao smacked his lips. "It seems that this guy hasn't understood the ins and outs of it yet. Brother, it's not as simple as you think. You need to analyze the specific situation. The cash flow in the R&D department's account is not sufficient. Many research projects require continuous follow-up investment to produce results. Previously, the R&D department was backed by Shen Xinjin, one of the top 10 richest people in Zhongcheng." Zuhue rolled his eyes. At that time, it was not difficult for the R&D department to maintain the status quo, even if the R&D department's cash flow was interrupted for a while. Shen Xinjin could easily make up for it in minutes. So the R&D department is in Shen Xinjin's hands, and even if we don't make a lot of money, we will definitely make a profit. The next moment, Zuhue knocked on the table. "But I'm different. Now I am the chairman of the R&D department, although it is called the R&D department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory." Is his last name still Shen? It seems that Shen Xinjin gave me 2 choices, either to jump out and do it myself, or to cooperate with Mr. Shen and make a profit. But in fact, Shen Xinjin only gave the R&D department one path. When he said this, Lin Hao seemed to understand Zuhue's difficulties a little bit. "The only way Shen Xinjin left for you is to go out and work on your own? If I continue to cooperate with Mr. Shen, it will be a dead end. If I choose to continue the cooperation, where will the funds come from? How can I continue to invest in research and development? Employees need to be paid, and the R&D department needs to burn money over time. It will be easy for the cash flow to break if there are no more products produced. Mr. Shen can even use the contract to reverse-lie impeach me and cause trouble for me." Yes. Lin Hao then realized that he had overlooked the most important issue at the beginning. That means Zuhue has no money. How can he produce new products if he has no money to invest? Shen Xinjin seemed to be able to shirk responsibility without any hesitation, but he ended up dragging Zuhue into it. Mr. Shen had cerebral atrophy and thought that Zuhue was going against his will. But in fact, Zuhue had no choice. Cooperating with him would be a dead end. As expected of the big boss who made his fortune by being ruthless and merciless at the construction site. After a brief moment of coming back to his senses, Lin Hao understood Zuhue's difficulties and patted the young man on the shoulder to comfort him. But unfortunately, Lin Hao himself was just a small fry who almost kowtowed in front of the bank manager for the sake of $500,000. It couldn't provide any substantial help to Zuhue. "Money, I'll pay you back slowly after I finish the surgery. I'll just take 500. "0. You are being polite to me, kidden. What I said was difficult was only at that time. The R&D department now has a new partner and a billion-yuan investment to produce new drugs. You should take good care of your aunt first." Zuhue curled his lips. "We have been brothers for so many years. Seeing that Zhu Hua was about to nag himself again, Lin Hao waved his hands repeatedly. Okay, I won't say any more. So how are you going to deal with that Zhongqing drug administration that's choking you? Lin Hao took a sip of white wine and abruptly changed the subject. Zhu Hua then sneered. I told him this morning that since he wants to bully others, Zhu Hua, will learn from him. Bullying others with power. Chapter 140. How was the food, everyone? Director Li's refusal to listen in the morning obviously made Zhu Hua furious. Seeing the flash of hostility in Zhu Hua's eyes, even Lin Hao couldn't help but shiver. This kind of aura that is revealed unconsciously has already begun to take shape as a superior. At this moment, Lin Hao suddenly felt that in just 2 weeks, the brothers around him seemed to have grown a lot. This change may not be obvious to Zhu Hua himself, but as a brother who grew up with Zhu Hua and wore the same open crotch pants, Lin Hao could easily detect any subtle changes in Zhu Hua. Oh yeah, have you watched the news lately? News? Zhu Hua was stunned. Lin Hao coughed dryly and said, I guess you've been too busy lately. A biology college for studying life in outer space has moved into Zhongcheng, and they came to our company to attract investment a few days ago. But Mr. BEA is not interested in life in outer space, and there is no overlap with our company's business, so Mr. BEA passed. As soon as these words came out, Zhu Hua's expression changed slightly. School of Extraterrestrial Biology Research? Strictly speaking, at least in today's real world, Zhu Hua had never heard of any news of Snow Lotus becoming a spirit. In this case, does Yuzu King also belong to the outer space life? This made Zhu Hua feel an ominous premonition. As so-called Daily and Life Research Institute, isn't it just targeting Liu King? At the same time, in an underground research institute in Zhongcheng, in front of a table of people in white coats, there was an old man sitting in a wheelchair. The old man wore gold-rimmed glasses and looked elegant. Are you sure you have detected signals of alien life activity in Zhongcheng? As the voice fell, a staff member nearby suddenly spoke up. Yes, and it is the source of the activity signal you captured half a year ago. As expected. As soon as these words came out, a meaningful look flashed across the old man's face. It's just that we were in the Little Days Empire at the time, so we couldn't get accurate data between the two signal sources. After arriving in Zhongcheng, based on the information sent back by the satellite, I can confirm that the two signal sources are in Zhongcheng. Ziqi will be changed to Huaxi in the future, which is easier to read. The next moment, the subordinate continued to report. Should we contact the ancient martial arts families in China? Among the 5 great families, the Liu family is interested in cooperation. It seems that their head, Liu Wentian, is about to die. You also know that these so-called practitioners in China ultimately want eternal life. You said before that alien life may have this technology. And now I have basically confirmed that they may really have this technology. Hearing this, the old man, who had originally had a calm expression, suddenly showed a hint of surprise. What did you say? You said that alien life has the technology to achieve immortality? You know, although scientists have made countless speculations about extraterrestrial life, some even suspect that extraterrestrial life possesses various supraluminum technologies. But they are all wild suspicions. Before, humans had not even proven whether there were civilizations other than theirs after Earth. The next moment, even the staff member showed a hint of excitement on his face. Yes, Mr. Taki, according to the data, the source of the signal that appeared in Zhongcheng should have existed thousands of years ago. Thousands of years. You mean to say that if he's a human, then he's been around for thousands of years? That's right. According to data analysis, this is the case. Individual organisms with lifespans of thousands of years. In the ecological environment of the Earth, it can be said to be unheard of and unseen. It is understandable that an individual exists for decades or hundreds of years. Existing for thousands of years is almost equivalent to so-called immortality, and it even goes against the laws of nature. There was a hint of meaning in Taki's expression. And if we can capture this alien life, our Little Day Empire will very likely become the first country in the world to possess the technology of immortality. The greatest weakness of human nature is the fear of death. There is no one in this world who is not afraid of death. If you think about it this way, then even the top leaders of us will have to follow our lead. The old man licked his lips, and a smile appeared on his face. It was a strong sense of expectation and yearning for rights. Don't contact the Li family for now. What does it have to do with me whether that old man Li Wentian is dead or alive? The Li family has made a lot of money in China over the years with some life-extending needles. Li Wentian will not die for a while. Things about alien life must be kept secret, especially the fact that they may have the technology to achieve immortality. After these words were spoken, the staff nodded obediently. I see. At 8:30 in the afternoon, Zhu Hui and Lin Hao slowly walked out of the box. The hotel owner Chen Dongyu had returned from the hospital for a checkup and was standing outside the door waiting. Seeing the two people appear, Chen Dongyu did not dare to delay and stepped forward to report immediately. Mr. Zhu, Mr. Lin, the heads of the Food and Drug Administration and major pharmaceutical companies arrived an hour ago, and they are already at the table and eating. Hearing this, Zhu Hua sneered. Because of the issue of blocking my production license, I received more than a dozen calls today, all urging me to do it. I didn't even have a good lunch, but Director Liu did. Oh, the next moment, Zhu raised his chin. Take me to their box. Okay. Director Liu of the Food and Drug Administration has nothing to do with Chen Dongyu. So after Chen Dongyu learned about Zhu Hua's plan, he stood on Mr. Zhu's side without much hesitation. After all, offending Director Liu would only mean losing a customer. But if he offended Zhu Hua, he might be buried by Shen Sinjin, the bloody butcher behind him. Chen Dongyu could naturally tell what was more important. On the other side, in a luxurious box, Director Liu sat in the first seat. Next to them were several bigwigs from Zhongqing's pharmaceutical industry, toasting each other and making the place very lively. Director Liu held up his wine glass and said with a smile, "Does Zhu Hua really think that he can challenge me with Han Zhi's background? He really overestimates his own abilities. His secretary called you this afternoon, but he didn't say what the specific matter was." Several pharmaceutical company bosses shook their heads. The next moment, Director Liu felt relieved. It seemed that Zhu Hua was just taking advantage of the power of others in the drug administration. So-called stopping your investment in the Food and Drug Administration. Don't you mean going door to gifts and kneel down to beg you? As soon as these words were spoken, a burst of laughter suddenly broke out in the box. If that's the case, then that young man named Zhu Hua is really funny. Right? Young and hot-tempered. This kid is clearly young and hot-tempered. He doesn't have much ability, but he has a bad temper. This young man still needs to be disciplined. If it weren't for Shen Sinjin sending him to work, and if it weren't for luck, 7 or 8 years ago, I would have dealt with this brat who spoke so arrogantly. That's right, you dare to threaten Director Liu on the territory of the Food and Drug Administration. You simply don't know your place. The bosses of these pharmaceutical companies all have business dealings with Director Liu, so the relationship between the two sides is very good. Seeing Director Liu speak, everyone started to ridicule Zhu Hua. Bang! At this moment, Director Liu was still planning to continue making a few contemptuous remarks. Suddenly the door of the box was kicked open. A cold voice also sounded slowly from outside the door. How was the meal, everyone? Chapter 141. Think it over carefully. The door of the box was kicked open, and a young figure walked in slowly. He had a playful smile on his face, even though he was laughing while speaking. But those narrow eyes revealed a coldness, and their gaze slowly swept across the entire room, finally stopping on Director Liu. Oh, everyone is here. It saves me from having to look for them one by one. When he saw the newcomer, Director Liu frowned immediately. Zhu Hua, why did you follow me here? It's time to get off work now. If you have anything to say, please wait until tomorrow when you get to work and come to the office to discuss it with me. Mr. Zhu? Is he Zhu Hua? As soon as these words were spoken, the other pharmaceutical company bosses in the box all looked in the direction of Zhu Hua. There was curiosity, contempt and amusement in his gaze. Mr. Zhu, do you understand the rules? Today's dinner was organized by Director Liu. I remember that Director Liu didn't invite Mr. Zhu, right? It's a taboo to come uninvited. Mr. Zhu is still too young after all, and it's normal for him not to know the rules at our level. However, your sudden intrusion into the box today really offended everyone present. I suggest that Mr. Zhu drink 3 glasses of wine as punishment, apologize to us first, and then get out of here obediently. Without giving Zhu Hua a chance to continue speaking, the pharmaceutical company bosses surrounding Director Liu began to speak out one after another, their voices filled with condemnation of Zhu Hua. Hearing this, Zhu Hua moved the corners of his mouth with a forced smile. Drink 3 cups as punishment and get out of here obediently. I'm sorry, I never follow your so-called bullshit rules. There's another saying, my rules are the rules by which I act. Bump. The next moment, Zhu Hua slammed the table. So I want to discuss something with you. From today on, stop all business dealings with the Food and Drug Administration, stop your personal relationship with Director Liu, and become my vassal. But don't get me wrong, this is not a request, this is a threat. Want to worship me? Zhu Hua? Several pharmaceutical company bosses were stunned. What did this mean? Could it be that this kid wants to be the leader of Zhongqing's pharmaceutical industry? After a few seconds of silence, someone in the box was the first to sneer. Who the hell do you think you are to have us worship you? Boy, have you watched too many TV dramas? Moreover, don't forget that even when the Shen family pharmaceutical factory was in the hands of Mr. Shen Sinjin, he never made such arrogant remarks. You're a newcomer. And you want us to worship you before you've achieved anything. To be honest, you don't deserve it. The person who spoke was a bald man, and it was also his suggestion that Zhu would drink 3 cups as punishment and get out. Several bosses nearby were talking about this at the moment, and their words were full of sarcasm and contempt for Zhu Hua. This kid barged in rashly and said such stupid remarks, he must be out of his mind. Director Yu couldn't help laughing. Is Mr. Zhu drunk? The pharmaceutical market in Zhongcheng is a free market with wild growth, Mr. Zhu. Be careful not to offend your enemies if you speak so recklessly. Zhu Hua didn't waste any words and directly threw out a card. Answer me after you finish reading it. What, Mr. Zhu? Are you really planning to give each of us some gifts to make us agree to your request and cut off the financial transactions with the Food and Drug Administration? Are you kidding me? That's right, you ignorant brat. You dare to speak harshly in front of Director Liu. Threatening to bully Director Liu by taking advantage of your power. What ability do you have to represent all the pharmaceutical companies in Zhongcheng? Director Liu picked up the card on the table and glanced at it. Membership ID card of the Business Alliance. Isn't it just a membership card of the Chamber of Commerce? Director Yu curled his lips in disdain. You're not trying to tell us that because you joined the Business Alliance, you're going to use your membership in the alliance to restrict the business activities of other pharmaceutical companies, right? Boss Su, don't forget, they are also old established companies in Zhongcheng, and they are also members of the Business Alliance. The thunderous sneer sounded again. You young fool, what's so great about being a member of a business alliance? At this moment, everyone in the room was laughing. So this is the confidence of that young man? But what was surprising was that Zhu Hui also laughed. And laughed, very happily. Director Liu frowned. It's normal for us to laugh, why is this idiot laughing? So you are all members of the Zhongcheng Business Alliance. That makes things easier if you still want to continue doing business in Zhongcheng. I suggest that you consider my advice carefully. Otherwise, starting today, you are no longer members of the Business Alliance. Not a member of the alliance? Who does this kid think he is? You are such a boaster. Do you think you are the South China Sea? Zhu Hui didn't give others a chance to question him and turned on the TV in the box with a smile. On TV was a rerun of the Zhongcheng Evening News. The latest news reports that starting today, Huanan Hai, who has served as the chairman of the Zhongcheng Business Alliance for many years, will step down for personal reasons. During a round of internal voting, it was clearly determined that Mr. Zhu Hua, the current chairman of the R&D department of Xinjia Pharmaceutical Factory, would serve as the chairman of Zhongcheng Business Alliance. Recently, Mr. Zhu has not appeared in the public media, but according to Mr. Hua, the next Zhongcheng Business Alliance conference will be hosted by Mr. Zhu. Then, we will be able to see this young and promising new entrepreneur in Zhongcheng. As soon as the news came out, the entire box fell completely silent. Even Director Yu's eyes widened instantly, his face full of disbelief. What the hell? Huanan Hai stepped down and made way for someone more capable as the new president of Zhongcheng Business Alliance called Zhu Hui. But it be that this guy is the president of Zhongcheng Business Alliance? Are you kidding? Although the position of the president of the Chamber of Commerce is just an honorary one and he has no power, but as the saying goes, the higher you stand, the farther you can pee. The biggest advantage of standing in this position is that you can win over the powerful and influential people from all directions. After Zhu Hui said this, perhaps out of respect for the president of the Zhongcheng Business Alliance, other members might really not do business with these people in the field. If Zhu Hui really were to expel the other bosses in the box from the Business Alliance. So this is the rhythm of banning others. In an instant, everyone in the box felt dry mouth and tongue. You are the president of the Chamber of Commerce, how is this possible? I made a mistake, it must be a mistake. Director Li was briefly surprised, and it took him a long while to come back to his senses with a sullen face. Boss Su, even if you are the president of the Chamber of Commerce, I think you are overstepping your authority by expelling other members for your own selfish desires, right? The position of the Chamber of Commerce president should not be used to satisfy your personal needs and enrich yourself. Stop talking to me in official language. At this moment, Zhu Hui suddenly sneered and said ruthlessly, when you were choking me, I remember I should have told you that since Director Li wanted to bully others, then I, Zhu Hui, would also learn from Director Li and bully others. And I think I gave you a choice just now, right? Snap. The bald man who had argued with Zhu at the beginning suddenly became angry and slammed the table and stood up. You are going too far. Zhu Hui, even if you are the president of the Chamber of Commerce, what does it matter? You can fire us at most. But I won't let a little brat ride on my head and pee and shit on me. I won't stand it. I'll just quit working in Zhongcheng. Hearing this, several other pharmaceutical company bosses also nodded and shouted while gritting their teeth. That's right, at worst, we won't work in Zhongcheng anymore. Even if you can make us lose business in Zhongcheng by relying on your status as the president of the Chamber of Commerce, can you, as the president of the Chamber of Commerce, still be able to cover up the sky with one hand if we go to another city? And if this matter gets out, you, Zhu Hui, won't be in any good situation. You've driven away so many of our pharmaceutical companies for your own selfish desires. The GDP loss cost to Zhongcheng by those laid-off employees alone is enough to make you drool. Several bosses came to their senses. At first, I was frightened by the identity of the Chamber of Commerce president. But on second thought, even if Zhu Hui really fought to the death with them, he would also be seriously injured. If this kid didn't want to become the target of public criticism, he would never do such a crazy thing. Could it be that he wants to make sure that in the entire Zhongcheng, only their pharmaceutical factories or D department will remain as the only pharmaceutical company? Snort. If he really dares to do this. By then, the city leaders will probably have to talk to him. Hearing this, Zhu Hui curled his lips, but his expression remained calm. However, Lin Hao next to him began to feel a little uneasy, thinking to himself, damn it. How come these guys are so quick-witted? Originally, after watching the whole process, Lin Hao thought that Zhu Hui was about to succeed and make these pharmaceutical company bosses bow their heads. Unexpectedly, these old foxes are quite smart and they figured out the pros and cons in just a few minutes. Unless Zhu Hui really wants to become a criminal in Zhongcheng, he wouldn't dare to drive away so many pharmaceutical company bosses at once. The next moment, just when Lin Hao was worried about Zhu Hui and didn't know what to do, Zhu Hui sneered and said, "Everyone, even if you want to leave Zhongcheng district to do business elsewhere, there should be a prerequisite, which is to take out your money so you can try now to see if you can take the money with you. I regret to tell you that now. Even if you want to leave Zhongcheng, you have to get my consent." Wow, what? Several pharmaceutical company bosses looked stunned. The bald guy was the first to come to his senses and immediately called the account manager he was familiar with at Baihua Bank. Soon he hung up the phone with a grim face and stared at Zhu Hui. "Asshole. What did you do? Why is our company's account frozen, and there is no specific time for unfreezing? What?" As soon as these words were spoken, several other bosses panicked and took out their cell phones to call the bank manager. The next 5 minutes seemed like a century to these bosses. Director Li took a deep breath as he looked at the people at the table in front of him, all of whom looked dejected. Yes. What on earth did this green-eyed boy Zhu Hui do to make so many experienced bosses present look like this? What's wrong with you? Director Liu, Baihua Bank has frozen our company's assets. Director Liu, Baihua Bank has reported more than 20 of our company's public bank accounts lost. Director Liu, Baihua Bank urged our company to repay the 30 million loan this month. Director Liu, Baihua Bank said that it cannot pay our company's wages on time this month, and we need to advance the money to our employees ourselves. This is the real bottleneck. Everything Baihua Bank does seems to be reasonable. But whether it is freezing assets or urging to repay loans quickly, you don't need to think about it, you should know who did it. Although it is hard to believe, it is obviously Zhu Hui's work." At this moment, Director Liu swallowed hard. "Gurgle, I just felt that the young man in front of me was so unfathomable. How did you do that? Why did Baihua Bank obey Zhu Hui's orders?" Snap. Zhu Hui didn't waste any words and threw out another VP card. This thing is no stranger to the other bosses. Being a guest of honor at Baihua Bank is equivalent to the rights of the head of the Jin family. Yes. Zhu Hui actually has such a close relationship with the Jin family. Countless people were breathing rapidly and felt dry mouth and tongue. The next moment, Zhu Hui knocked on the table. The door was pushed open again and 7 or 8 people came in. They were all security personnel of Binjiang Hotel, led by Chen Dongyu. Zhu Hui tugged at his tie, as if he was forcing someone to abdicate. "Everyone, I told you if you want to leave Zhongcheng, you need my approval. So, now is the time for you to make a choice. Do you want to pay homage to the Mao leader, or do you want to leave in disgrace without taking a dime with you? Think carefully." Chapter 142, Encounter by Chance. As soon as he walked out of the Binjiang Hotel that night, Zhu Hui received a text message from Han Zichai. It turned out that the Food and Drug Administration had worked overtime overnight and had completed 3 rounds of stability tests on Beauty of the Moon. The Beauty of the Moon product meets national standards and is allowed to be mass-produced. Seeing the content of the text message, Zhu Hui's expression remained calm. The Drug Administration also relies on these Zhongcheng pharmaceutical companies for its survival. Every year Director Li's position seems to be very powerful, but he also has strict GDP requirements from his superiors. If there is no investment, the Food and Drug Administration cannot even afford to purchase equipment for the testing room with that little funding. So today, he relied on the background of the Chamber of Commerce president and Baihua Bank to impress everyone. With just one sentence, Zhu Hui was able to ensure that the Food and Drug Administration would no longer be able to obtain any investment from pharmaceutical companies from today onwards. He kept his word. Even for the sake of his official position, director, you had to admit defeat. You actually have such a deep relationship with the Jin family. How many things are you hiding from me? As soon as he walked out of the Binjiang Hotel, Lin Hao looked at Zhu Hu with dissatisfaction. A moment when those bosses came to their senses and planned to leave Zhongcheng to do business. Even Lin Hao couldn't help but break into a cold sweat for Zhu Hu. If Zhu Hui really caused Zhongcheng to lose more than a dozen pharmaceutical companies because of this matter, not only would the city leaders call him for a talk, even the mayor would have to talk to him. Hearing this, the young man shrugged his shoulders. In fact, I have only recently started dealing with these people, but how should I put it? MRJ knows me a favor. Besides, I am not doing this purely for my own selfish desires. Do you know what effect the product Beauty That Shocks the Moon, that is about to be launched has? It can miraculously restore the disfigurement of those who have suffered severe facial trauma. Of long-term use, the effect is almost 100. At least so far, we have conducted so many 3-round stability tests and the car has never flipped over. As soon as these words came out, Lin Hao's eyes widened. He thought that the new products of the R&D department of Shen's pharmaceutical factory were nothing more than some ordinary medical supplies. I didn't expect that Zhu Hui, who had crossed over into skin care products, could come up with such a miracle drug. In this way, from another perspective, if this Beauty of the Moon and Shame on the Flowers is put on the market, it can also be a new hope for those who have skin damage and disfigurement due to various reasons, or have burn scars on certain parts of their body. Good. Zhu Hu nodded slightly. It was for this reason that when MRJ heard that Zhu Hu wanted to use his face to bully others, he agreed without saying a word. Some of them are grateful for Jina Ofarong, but more of them value the product Biokuaishua. It's really unbelievable when you think about it. My best brother has become a big boss with assets worth hundreds of millions in just half a month. The next moment, Lin Hao patted Zhu Hu's shoulder indignantly. No matter what you say today, you have to treat me to a good meal. This is the price you should pay for your apology for hiding it from me for so long. Didn't we just eat at the Riverside Hotel? Zhu Hui was stunned. Lin Hao said unhappily. There were 2 strangers present when we were having dinner just now. How could I relax? Moreover, when I heard that you had something important to do later, I didn't even dare to drink too much now. Let's find a food stall and have a drink. By the way, Zhu Hui, can you please ask Lao Zhu for me? When will the evening news be rebroadcast tomorrow? At this moment, Lin Hao seemed to suddenly remember something and gave Zhu Hui to dry laughs. What Lao Zhu? He's my dad. You should call him uncle. After saying this, Zhu Hui raised his eyebrows, feeling that this boy had some bad intentions in asking this. What do you want to do? Lin Hao chuckled. I'm going to record the whole process and post it on my Moments to show off. I've even thought of the copy brothers who are open crotch pants with me. Don't forget each other when you become rich. Oh, your uncle. I think if the girls that Lin Hao added to his circle of friends saw the news and were convinced that the new president of the Chamber of Commerce was Lin Hao's friend, they would probably go even crazier. Originally, Lin Hao would show off Mr. B.A.'s Porsche on his Moments from time to time, and now there's another childhood friend of mine who is the president. This feeling of shock is definitely no less than writing an essay titled, My Mayor Father during the high school entrance examination. Lin Hao insisted that Zhu Hui drink with him a little more, and Zhu Hui had no choice. He had no choice but to follow Lin Hao towards the food stalls in front of Kangwu Street. There was a food stall that Zhu Hui had a deep impression of because when Yu King wanted to leave for the first time, they had dinner here. Fortunately, the next day, for some unknown reason, the Ice Lotus Queen finally chose to come back. Let's go with this shop, Annie Sans BBQ. Hearing this, Zhu Hui nodded inferently and followed in. Although it is the beginning of autumn, it does not affect the nightlife of young people in Zhongcheng at all. There are still countless night owls who sit in food stalls from 8 or 9 o'clock to eat and drink with 3 or 5 friends. When Zhu Hui entered the room, he suddenly noticed a somewhat familiar figure. He was stunned. Hey, why is she here? Who is it? Lin Hao looked in the direction Zhu Hui was looking, and the corners of his mouth twitched violently. Zhu Hui pointed to a busy figure in waiter uniform. Didn't Lin Qingling make her debut? Lin Hao also smiled bitterly and shook his head. Strange, I wonder too. She's a celebrity. Why would she like to work part-time at a barbecue stall like this when she has nothing to do? She probably doesn't have many relatives in Zhongcheng, right? Does she need to work so hard to support the family? That's right, the familiar figure the two saw as soon as they entered the door was Lin Qingling. It's not that there are no relatives in Zhongcheng. It's probably that she has no relatives at all. Zhu Hui blurted out a sentence, then pulled Lin Hao to find a random seat to sit down. He knew in his heart that Lin Qingling, like Liu Zuking, came from the profound Yan continent. Even if she was not from the plant family, the probability of her having relatives or friends was infinitely close to zero. To be honest, Zhu Hui was quite afraid of Lin Qingling at first, but after seeing how shy Lin Qingling was in the company, Zhu Hui gradually put away his fear. After all, Lin Qingdelingji's current state is basically the same as when Zhu Hua first met Liu Zuking in his dream. It is as clean as a piece of white paper. How can it be offensive? Hello, we are two guests. Hey, why are you here? Manager Lin, brother Zhu Hua. At this moment, Lin Qingdelingji had already walked to the table wearing a mask. But the mask on this woman really made things more obvious. After all, with Lin Qingdelingji's extraordinary beauty, it would be hard not to be noticed even if she was thrown into a crowd. From time to time, people would look over here with curious eyes. Zhu Hui was a little surprised. You still remember me? After all, the two of them only met once. The last time Lin Hao had bad intentions in the KTV box, he was beaten up by Li Zuking. After that, Zhu Hua basically left Shengxi Entertainment, so the young man thought that Lin Qingdelingji, who had worked tasks every day during this period, had long forgotten about him. Yeah, I remember, you are Sister Zuking's boyfriend. She told me about you. So it's because of the relationship with Liu Zuking that you left such a deep impression on me. Zhu Hua smacked his lips. It made sense after all. Liu Zuking came to the set to cause trouble every day. After a while, even though Lin Qingdelingji had lost her memory, she was still able to get along easily with women. It is said that women make friends as quickly as men change clothes. Lin Qingdelingji is now like a blank sheet of paper, with nothing on her mind. It only took a few minutes for the two of them to get along well. And why do you call him brother Zhu Hui and me manager Lin? You can also call me brother Lin Hao, or you can use the reduplication, brother Lin Hao. That's so affectionate. At this moment, Lin Hao next to him suddenly interrupted with some dissatisfaction. Lin Qingdelingji was still a little shy. And when she heard this, she immediately stuttered. Alright. Stop making things difficult for Lin Qingdelingji. Be careful if her fans find out, they'll raid your house in a matter of minutes. Please get us a menu. We'll call you when we're ready to order. Go get busy now. Chapter 143, Meddlesome. Zhu Hua waved his hand to send Lin Qingdelingji away. He was not interested in why the girl appeared here working part-time. However, he felt that since they had met, it was necessary to report to Liu Zuking after returning. After all, Lin Qingdelingji was undergoing some earthly experience. It is said that beautiful women are the root of troubles. The trouble is not only for men, but can also backfire on themselves. A beautiful girl like Lin Qingdelingji would easily be targeted when she goes out. Add to that the fact that she is a celebrity, and she might cause a commotion if she isn't careful. It is worth mentioning that Lin Qingdelingji accumulated 1 million fans on Weibo within a week after her debut. It is conceivable that it is only a matter of time before Lin Qingdelingji becomes popular in the future. At the same time, Shengxi Entertainment receives emails almost every day from fanatical fans pretending to be Lin Qingdelingji's relatives. You kid, you don't still have feelings for Lin Qingdelingji, do you? There is still a little bit. As soon as Lin Qingdelingji left, Zhu Hui glanced at Lin Hao suspiciously. Hearing this answer, Zhu Hui was not too surprised. After all, Lin Hao and he were brothers who grew up wearing the same crotch pants. If he lied, Zhu Hui would be able to see it in minutes. That's true, whether it's appearance or personality. Lin Qingdelingji is countless times better than Huang Xinru. Lin Hao loves Huang Xinru to death, so it is not difficult to understand why he would fall in love with Lin Qingdelingji. Just then, a noisy sound suddenly came from not far away. Take off your mask and let us see it. I'll give you $1,000. How about that? You look too much like my ex-girlfriend. This won't work. I'm working. Beauty. How about this? You sit down and have a couple of drinks with us guys? 2 glasses of wine, $10,000. The person who spoke sounded like a wealthy man, and there were a few hooligans beside him who followed suit. Lin Hao saw Lin Qingdelingji appear at the third sister in lobby DQ, and his eyes never left the girl. Pay attention to the girl in the middle of the noise, with a red face and a look of helplessness. It is Lin Qingdelingji. Lin Hao also slammed the table and stood up immediately. Hey, what are you doing? Zhu Hua frowned and followed Lin Hao's movements. There were about 7 or 8 gangster-like men at the table. Only one of them was wearing an itsui that looked respectable, except for the cigarette he was smoking and the big gold watch on his wrist. A nouveau-rich temperament was exposed clearly. Ed, what the hell is your business? Sit down and stop meddling in other people's business. We are from Shen's heavy industry. If you want to die, you have to choose your target clearly. If you keep talking nonsense, I will drag you to the construction site and bury you in a minute. It was the man in the suit who spoke. As soon as these words were spoken, the diners at the other tables who had wanted to stand out and act like heroes could not help but lower their voices. It was obvious that they were shocked by the name of Shenjia Heavy Industry. Lin Hao gritted his teeth and glanced at Zhu Hua. Shenjia Heavy Industry is Shen Sinjin's group. Lin Hao, a mere department manager of a media company, can't afford to offend such a person. Look, that kid is scared, but brother Wang is still so powerful. And our brother Wang is still so domineering. Brother Wang is awesome. He scared the kid out of his wits with just one sentence. In this day and age, there are still idiots who don't know their place and dare to disturb our Brother Wang's leisure time. Beauty, take off your mask. Let's have a couple of drinks and consider ourselves friends. The next moment, Brother Wang in a suit started teasing Lin Kingle and Ji again. Zhu Hui took a sip of beer without saying anything more. It is dangerous for a young and beautiful girl to work as a waitress in a place like a food stall. Although I don't know why Lin Kingle and Ji appeared here, it was obviously not her first day at work. A woman's outstanding appearance will definitely cause a lot of trouble. Has she encountered similar things before? So how did Lin Kingle and Ji solve it? Zhu Hui was quite curious about this, so he held his chin up as if he was looking forward to a good show. There was no intention of taking action at all. I'm working brothers, please enjoy your meals and drinks. If you need anything, just call me during work hours. The boss lady has a rule that you can't drink alcohol. And I can't drink either. Lin Kingle and Ji glanced nervously at the people at the table. Hearing this, Brother Wang immediately said unhappily, "You can only make a few bucks working in a place like this. I'll give you 10,000 yuan and you just sit down and have a couple of drinks with us. How easy is it to make this kind of money? You should stop it. The girl has already said she can't drink. Why are you being so aggressive?" Lin Hao kicked Zhu Hui's stool in dissatisfaction and spoke again. As soon as these words were spoken, the gangster-looking men on the other side could no longer hold back. Bang! A wine bottle was thrown directly at him and smashed into pieces when it hit the ground. This sudden attack scared countless people around and made them shrink their heads. A man known as Wang Ji had a sullen look on his face. "Boy, didn't I tell you to stop talking too much and stop nagging? Why the hell are you making so much trouble? You have nothing to do but to make yourself in trouble, right? Besides, what does it have to do with you if I talk to a beautiful woman? What's your relationship with her?" As he spoke, Brother Wang slowly stood up. He is 1.8 meters tall and weighs nearly 150 kilograms. He is quite oppressive. Lin Hao's eyelids twitched. What's the relationship? Yes, I have nothing to do with Lin Kingle and Ji. What qualifications do I have to speak up at a time like this? But if it was really because they had nothing to do with each other, Lin Hao couldn't just stand by and watch Lin Kingle and Ji being bullied by a few drunkards. She's my girlfriend. Please be polite. As he spoke, Lin Hao suddenly rushed forward and stood in front of Lin Kingle and Ji. Nima. Zhu Hui smiled bitterly and patted his crown. This kid Lin Hao really hasn't changed at all over these years. Still likes to meddle in other people's business. When he was in high school, Zhu Hui, as a stay-at-home guy, didn't like going out at all, but every weekend, especially at night, Lin Hao liked to drag him for a stroll. Many times when he saw injustice, Lin Hao would take action. Because of this, the two of them often fought in society when they were in high school. Girlfriend? Fuck. This is the first time I've met someone who can easily call a horse a zebra. You said she was your girlfriend, but I said she was my girlfriend. Brother Wang curled his lips. Besides, even if it's your girlfriend, what's wrong with that? Can't he have a couple of drinks with me? Why don't you take a piss and look in the mirror to see what you look like? You still have a girlfriend. I'm telling you, I'm going to pick up this chick today. Don't even mention your girlfriend. Even if it's your wife, what can you do to me? In Zhangcheng, there is no woman that Wang Wei Gang, can't get. Chapter 144, Try moving? Fuck you. Hearing this, Lin Hao was so angry that he almost picked up a wine bottle and hit Brother Wang. However, Lin Kingle and Ji quickly pulled Lin Hao back and said with red eyes, "Manager Lin, don't be impulsive, I'll just drink it." As she spoke, Lin Kingle and Ji walked over to the table with a wronged look on her face, picked up a beer glass and was about to drink it. At this moment, Brother Wang's dirty hands were not honest, and he wanted to take advantage of Lin Kingle and Ji. Seeing this scene, Lin Hao kicked Zhu Hui's stool again. "Damn it. You ought to be in the spotlight and be a hero, but why do you always drag me into it?" Zhu Hui rolled his eyes and just crossed his arms, looking indifferent. Lin Kingle and Ji is the most important general beside the Islamic empress. If she really says that she has no means to protect herself, Zhu Hui would never believe it even if he kills her. Sure enough, just when Brother Wang's hand was about to fall on Lin Kingle and Ji, Lin Kingle and Ji dodged it cleverly by turning her body sideways without leaving any trace. Brother Wang didn't give up and wanted to try again. As a result, Lin Kingle and Ji finished the wine in her hand, and the woman's palm just dropped naturally, slapping away Wang Ji's dirty hands. Lin Kingle and Ji sniffed in grievance. "Drink? I'm done." As soon as these words came out, Lin Hao's desire to protect was overwhelming, but Wang Ji did not give up. "How about this? Beautiful lady, let's drink a cup of wine together and let this matter be over, otherwise, I will definitely beat up your little coward boyfriend today. Considering that you two know each other for a while, you don't want anyone to get hurt because of you, right?" Lin Kingle and Ji bit her red lips with her pearly teeth and glanced in the direction of Lin Hao. "Don't drink. At this moment, Lin Hao felt like his heart was bleeding. If I had known this earlier, I would not have shown up, and I would have cursed Zhu Hua to death in my heart. This guy is the chairman of the Shen family pharmaceutical factory. Could it be that he is afraid of a mere gangster from Shen family heavy industry even though he has introduced himself to the company? Wedding cup of wine. Wedding cup of wine. Wedding cup of wine. Several younger brothers started to make a fuss with red faces. Other Wang chuckled and was about to grab Lin Qinggelingji's jade smooth little hand at this moment. Lin Hao couldn't hold back any longer. Fuck you. Bang. He took a running start and rushed forward, knocking brother Wang away, and then punched him in the face. Zhu Hua slapped his forehead violently. Damn it. I wanted to take action in the first place, but I have no reason to do so. Besides, even if Lin Qinggelingji was harassed, she should have called the police herself. It seems great that you, Lin Hao, are a hero saving a beautiful girl. But the other person is just looking for trouble. You started a fight, and you were the one who started it first. Now that the agents are here, both of us are in the wrong. As Lin Hao punched brother Wang away, several younger brothers nearby could no longer sit still. Suddenly a large group of people stood up from their seats. He took whatever he had and picked up his weapon, ready to start fighting. Now, Zhu Hua had no way of just sitting back and watching what happened. That's enough. If you don't want to lose your job, stop now and apologize to that lady and my brother. I will turn a blind eye to what happened today. Go home and go your separate ways. And I can keep my job. If my brother gets slapped today, you guys won't have to show up at Shen's heavy industry.